Graduation cruise hit by massive waves. I'm Leon, the only male in the liberal arts class. Found myself stranded on a desolate island with 36 bikini-wearing female classmates. Oh, and our gorgeous class teacher. Just as everyone was losing their minds, a cold, mechanical voice suddenly echoed in my head. Welcome to the era of primitives. Survive and establish a tribe. Selecting tribe leader at random. The entire group froze on the spot. Stranded? On an island? And I'm the tribe leader? A bunch of barely adult girls started panicking. But as for me, I immediately snapped into focus. Isn't this just what happens at the start of those survival novels for guys? Surveying the scantily clad beauties around me, my adrenaline shot through the roof. Before I could even process what was happening, the system's notifications exploded in my head again. Tribe number 749 leader, Leon. SS-rated divine aura unlocked. Branch out and multiply. Attraction towards the opposite gender skyrockets by 30%. Extreme vitality activated. Marry a wife to unlock divine rewards. Female pregnancy rates set to max. Reduced pregnancy duration to just 1 month. Future offspring inherit top-tier talents. The survival of the entire tribe now depends on its only man. I froze. My brain practically short-circuited. How is this survival on a deserted island? This is basically a prehistoric harem script. Let's not forget, I'm stranded with 3 of the school's top beauties. Not to mention a bunch of other attractive, youthful women. But how could these starry-eyed girls, who dream about sweet, innocent romance, handle such hardcore reproduction rules? Before I could even wrap my head around this insane situation, the girls quickly came to terms with reality. Class Rep Joan was the first to step forward. Her gaze was determined. If you're the leader, you need to take responsibility. I'll fully support you in managing the tribe. The other girls chimed in, one after another. We support the class rep. Leon, you're our only hope now. I've always had a pretty good reputation in class. If one of the girls had been selected as a leader, I doubted everyone would be on board like this. That's when shy Cindy hesitantly spoke up. Wait, did no one notice what the aura actually does? Aura, SS rated? Sounds awesome though, right? We were busy calming down Ms. Chen earlier. I scratched my head. These girls didn't even notice the aura's specifics. Time to break it all down for them. I revealed the aura's interface for everyone to see. The moment they processed the details, the air turned stone cold. Enhanced virility? Marrying wives? Increased pregnancy rates? 1-month pregnancies? Offspring inherit genetic talents? Boom. The minds of 37 girls combusted simultaneously. What does this even mean? I need to have kids with him? A 1-month pregnancy? Are we animals? I'm only 20. I haven't even been in a relationship yet. This is absurd. Panic and embarrassment exploded out from the group. Absolutely not. Ms. Chun, our teacher, was the first to voice her protest. Her expression screamed disapproval. Leon, you just can't do this. These girls are your classmates. My throat ran dry. Ms. Chun, this isn't my choice. I'm as speechless as you are. This messed-up system is throwing me into the fire. All right, everyone, stop yelling. Joan stepped forward, glaring at me before turning to the now unraveling girls. How does shouting help anything? This is the system rule. Can we even defy it? Her words hit the group like a bucket of cold water. How could we resist? Who would we even resist? Joan took a deep breath. The most important thing right now is to survive. This aura, as ridiculous as it sounds, it must have some kind of significance for the tribe's development. Let's calm down and figure out a plan. Her eyes swept over the group and landed on me. Leon, take a step back for a moment. We need girls-only time right now. Yeah, go away. The other girls voiced their agreement. Escaping from this battlefield was like being granted a royal pardon. Distancing myself from 37 bikini-clad beauties, I found an open clearing where a small, thatched house stood. The place looked straight out of a primitive housing catalog. It was a shabby little thing, built with sticks and hay, and honestly didn't look sturdy enough to withstand a strong gust of wind. Inspecting it more closely, a virtual panel popped up. Tribe number 749 main base, thatched house. Level 1. Function, basic shelter, accommodates up to 50 people. Upgrade requirements, 100 wood, 100 stone, and 50 hay. Near the entrance was a circle of stones with dried wood in the middle. Tribal fire, unlit. Function, provides light and warmth, drives away wild animals. Requirements to light, tinder, wood. Tinder? Another problem to solve. Looking around, I noticed a quiet, unfamiliar woman leaning against a rock. She was dressed in black and gave off a cold, detached aura, like a ghost watching from the sidelines. She hadn't spoken or panicked once. I approached her. Hey there, I'm Leon, the leader of this tribe now. The woman glanced up, her strikingly beautiful face completely devoid of warmth. After a brief moment, she responded curtly. Lin Bing, the ship's nurse. A nurse? Jackpot. In a primitive setting, injuries and illness are inevitable. Someone with medical knowledge could literally be a lifesaver. Leon, Get over here. Joan's voice called out from behind me. The girls had wrapped up their secret meeting. They stood together, their expressions a mix of embarrassment and determination. It was clear they'd reached some sort of consensus. My scalp tingled under their collective gaze as Joan stepped up to act as their representative. We talked it over. Most of us have read those malicentric survival novels. So, your little harem leader's setup. Yeah, it's crazy and ridiculous. But we sort of understand the logic behind it. I froze. Did they just accept this? That easily? But, Joan's tone shifted to a serious one. We are real people. Not characters in a story, and definitely not tools. We have our own emotions and boundaries. She pointed to the group behind her. Some people here have boyfriends. Others hold conservative values and simply can't accept this arrangement. Don't think you can just decide how things go just because you're the leader. Yeah, we're not objects. Try something dumb and we'll fight you. I raised both hands in surrender. I won't. I promise. Joan nodded. We recognize that the SSS-level is probably important for survival. But, deny your personal emotions, she instructed, taking a deep breath. So, we follow the principle of voluntariness. Whoever is willing to be my wife, step forward voluntarily. Those unwilling, no one will force you. Treat us like normal tribe members. Lead us to survive. Can you do that? Everyone turned their gaze to me. Voluntariness? I looked at the group of girls. Some lowered their heads, others covered themselves, reddened faces sneaking glances at me. So, this was their biggest compromise. I accept, I said finally. Jonah and many other girls visibly exhaled in relief. Then now who's willing? Jonah asked. The girls looked at each other in silence. No one stepped forward. I began to doubt my own charm. Seriously, I'm at least an August 10th, right? Is my appeal that ineffective? And then, the strictest and most solemn of them all, Jonah, stepped forward first. Her face was flushed crimson. Even her collarbones were red. The second was another school beauty, my ex, Ione. The third was the class monitor, Xiner, a soft, cute girl with glasses. I froze as I looked at the three girls. Thanks to my system halo, I could clearly see their favorability scores. Jonah, 90 points. Ione, 80 points. Xiner, 70 points. Jonah's normally bold demeanor was nowhere in sight. Her beautiful face was completely red. I was stunned, calling each other bro all the time, but her feelings were clearly not brotherly after all. As for Ione, she was the one who initiated our breakup back in the day. Now she's saying she's willing to be my woman? I didn't even want to think about it. My gaze shifted then to Xiner. Black-framed glasses, twin pigtails, and a school swimsuit, soft and adorable. She often stole glances at me during lessons and never tattled when I didn't hand in homework. She'd secretly admired me all along. Jonah nudged me, snapping me out of my thoughts. Three beauties volunteering. You're not satisfied yet. Her face turned even redder. You can't have all of us. Who do you choose? Or should we draw lots? Looking at Jonah closely, I noticed her delicate features and impressive figure. Choosing her, though, felt odd. Meanwhile, it was clear Xiner had summoned all her courage to step forward. Not choosing her might make her cry. You guys draw lots, I said, shifting responsibility back to them. Then I turned to Ione, my expression cold. Forget Ione. Just the two of you. Ione trembled at my words. Silent tears streamed down her cheeks as she quietly stepped back into the crowd. My mind was buzzing with thoughts of survival. This primal world is fraught with dangers. With over 30 girls to protect, the pressure was immense. Then I remembered the system mentioning careers. As the thought formed, a virtual panel appeared. Name, Leon. Class, Blood Warrior. Effect, killing creatures increases strength. Level, LV1. A Blood Warrior? No upper limit on getting stronger by killing? I was thrilled. What's everyone else's class? I shouted to the girls. They quickly checked their panels. I'm a lumberjack. I got an axe. I'm a healer. I can craft medical recipes. Me too. I'm a lumberjack. Miner. I'm a hunter. I swiftly tallied them up. Lumberjacks, 10. Miners, 7. Farmers, 5. Blacksmiths, 1. Tailors, 1. Hunters, 4 combat classes. Chefs, 2. Specialized roles included. Healers, 3, including Teacher Chun and Xiner. Diviners, 1. Su Qingmei, who can divine fortune or disaster once daily. Ione. Archer, unlocked a bow at the start. Gu Shinran, musician. Jonah, witch, capable of crafting potions. As I glanced at the chat channels, unease crept over me. Someone had uploaded photos of wolves attacking a campsite and killing humans. 2 people were eaten alive. Many self-proclaimed main characters were immediately scared witless. Danger was imminent. I turned to the group of university girls, most holding tools. The weight on my shoulders intensified. Action was crucial. Lumberjacks. Miners. I barked, raising my voice. We need resources to survive. Trees in the forest, stones on the beach. Get moving. 10 girls with tools sprinted into action, but 2 remained still, facing away from the others. covering themselves. Their shoulders trembled. I understood at once. They'd lost their swimsuits. I approached them, softening my tone. Find some leaves for cover first. I'll think of a way to make clothes. The two girls turned back, their faces flushed. After a quick, embarrassed glance at me, they nodded furiously, gratitude flickering in their eyes. Their favorability for me jumped from 20 to 45. Then, I remembered Su Qingmei's diviner abilities. Su Qingmei, I called out. She rushed over, her head lowered shyly, still embarrassed from earlier. You're a diviner. Check what's coming next. What dangers are approaching? Right. She whipped out her crystal ball, closed her eyes, and began chanting. Suddenly, blood-red mist swirled within the ball. Her eyes flew open, her expression pale. What's wrong? Bloodshed disaster. Her voice was trembling. Details? Where's the danger coming from? When? I can't see specifics. Just the blood. My level's too low. Though her intel was limited, the term bloodshed disaster was alarming enough. Nobody stray far from the shelter. Stay close. I commanded. I walked toward the clearing, aware I had to investigate personally, to crush the threat before it reached us. The shelter bordered a primal forest. Towering trees loomed overhead. 10 lumberjack girls were hard at work, axes swinging as sweat glistened on their scantily clad bodies or leaf coverings. 7 amongst them hammered away at stones, gathering materials. Others hunted for red berries in the shrubs. Jonah was leading a group, gathering dry grass for bedding. The camp was a flurry of activity, but I couldn't relax. Scanning every corner, the forest, skies, and terrain, everything appeared calm. But calm often hides lurking danger. My eyes landed on the patch of bushes where berries were being foraged, tall enough to conceal something dangerous. Ione and Gu Xinran were right there. The hairs on the back of my neck stood up. Something was watching us. Focusing on the bushes, I spotted it through a gap in the leaves, a pair of cold, hungry eyes. They were fixed on the 2 unsuspecting girls. Get back, I shouted urgently. Leave the bushes now. It's too late. A gust of fishy wind surged forth, veiled by a gray shadow. A wild wolf leaped toward Gu Xinran. Piercing screams echoed. The ravenous wolf opened its bloody maw wide. Its sharp claws aimed directly at her back. In that instant, my body moved instinctively. The instincts of a blood warrior erupted. A Miao Dao materialized in my hands. Pivoting, I narrowly avoided the lunge. The blade traced a silver arc, slicing through the wolf's leg. A whoa! The wild wolf howled in agony and toppled over. It dragged its severed leg, attempting to launch itself at me again. My blade deflected it swiftly. Precision guided me, identifying an opening. The blade's tip pierced its neck in one swift motion. Blood spurted violently. The wolf collapsed with a thunderous thud. The battle was over. It took only seconds. Everyone was stunned, mouths agape. I was gasping for air. The hand gripping my Miao Dao trembled slightly. Damn, that was close. Suddenly, 2 soft bodies threw themselves into my arms. Ione hugged me around my waist from behind. Gu Xinran buried her face into my chest. Both girls were shaking violently. My body froze. That's when I noticed Gu Xinran's pink bikini top was gone. Gone. The broken straps dangled from a bush nearby. Warm, soft sensations pressed against both my front and back simultaneously. Gu Xinran's bare pale skin was pressed against my chest. Ione held me tightly from behind. Gu Xinran, drawn to the cool sensation on her chest, glanced downward. Her face flushed instantly. She raised an arm to cover herself, yet made no move to step away. Instead, she looked up at me. Leon, thank you for saving me. Her voice trembled, filled with admiration. My heart fluttered for a moment, but I carefully pushed them both away. The display popped up. Ione's favorability jumped from 80 to 90. Gu Xinran's surged from 30 straight to 80. It's all right. That's what a chieftain should do. As I pushed them away, both showed subtle traces of loss. Gu Xinran, blushing fiercely, began looking for something to cover up. Her friend handed over some leaves. I spun the blade into a flourish, and then sheathed my Miao Dao. Chieftain Leon is my ultimate crush. Why didn't you sign up to bear the chieftain's children before? Well, now I regret it. Joanna and several others arrived at a run. Leon, what just happened? Are you all right? Joanna strode quickly up to me. The other girls threw down their tools and rushed closer, nervously pestering me with questions. Miss Chun, the teacher, hurried to comfort Gu Xinran and Ione, her voice soft and soothing. It's okay, don't be afraid. You're safe now. But Joanna abruptly spun around and yelled at the other girls. What were all of you doing just now? You think all you can do is scream? Leon was out there risking his life for us. Couldn't you at least throw a rock or something? If something happens to him, we're all dead. The girls lowered their heads in shame. Admittedly, they were too terrified to think earlier. They didn't try helping at all. I felt a bit touched inside. Joanna's words not only reinforced my authority, but didn't make me look weak in the process. Let's just drop it. I grabbed Joanna's wrist. It's their first time encountering something like this. Being afraid is normal. Their guilt deepened further. Meanwhile, favorability ratings around the group started climbing. Joanna, realizing I had grabbed her wrist in front of everyone, flushed red instantly. Who's worried about you? I just can't stand how useless they were. She squirmed, trying to pull her hand back, but I held firm. And then, a woo. The chilling howl of a wolf pierced through the dense forest. A woo, a woo-woo. Howls reverberated from every corner. One after another. They grew more and more numerous. And closer. At least 7 or 8. I realized immediately. Wolves are pack animals. The one from before was only a scout. The real wolf pack was on its way. Everyone, back to the shelter immediately. Go. Now. The girls scattered, panicked, rushing into the makeshift shelter. Leon, what are we going to do? Someone started sobbing. I clenched my thigh hard, forcing myself to calm down. Hide. This ramshackle wooden hut would never stop a wolf pack. We had to fight back proactively. Enough with the crying. Listen to me. I gathered the girls into a circle. The wolves are desperate with hunger. They won't leave. We have to take them down first. Heat and fighting won't work. We'll trap them, one by one. Here's the plan, door and dog. I began delegating roles. Joanna, take 2 to manage the door. Open enough for 1 wolf at a time. Woodworkers use branches to pin them down. The cooks grab their chef knives. Miners, throw your rocks. Use everything as a weapon. Iani, look for chances to shoot your arrows. Gu Shinran's group, use the flute for buffs if you can. The rest of the hunters, stick with me for cleanup blows. Got it. The pounding at the door grew louder. The wooden boards creaked ominously, threatening to give way. Got it. The girls scrambled into their assigned positions. Joanna and 2 others braced against the door. I began counting down. 3, 2, 1. Now open it. A narrow slit opened. A gray wolf slipped through. Shut it. The door slammed back shut instantly. The wolf barely got in. 3 makeshift spears jabbed at it from different directions, pinning it down. Throw. Knives and stones rained down. The wolf howled and thrashed. Under the pressure, the wooden spears began to crack. Move in. My Meow Dao came to life, piercing through its neck. 4 hunter girls rushed in, hacking wildly. Die, you beast. Slash its lower belly. I had to stop them. Okay, stop it. It's pulp by now. 1 wolf down. Repeat. A second wolf entered. Same fate. Then a third and fourth. 4 wolf carcasses later, the outside suddenly fell eerily silent. I rushed out. In the clearing, Lin Bing was standing beside 2 dead wolves. Her fists adorned with metallic knuckle dusters. She killed them. Barehanded. Not bad, I said to her. Lin Bing wiped blood off her gear. Her favorability ticked up to 15. I asked, what would you have done if we couldn't handle it? Those too weak to survive, better they perish early. She spoke coldly. Though you're an exception, you're useful. I understood her mindset. This woman was ruthless, practical to the core, but her strength was undeniable. A special class contributor. While we're all in the same boat for now, this would do. Dragging the wolf corpses back toward the shelter, the stench of blood hit me hard. Several girls clumsily worked on butchering the wolves. The hunters offered guidance. The cooks pitched in to help. Seeing me drag back 2 more carcasses, everyone looked stunned. I briefly filled them in about Lin Bing's part. Turning around, I looked at Su Qingmei. That ship belongs to your family. Do you know Lin Bing? Su Qingmei frowned and thought for a while. She shook her head. Not sure. I didn't ask further and handed the wolf's corpse over to them for cleaning. As I walked to the doorway, a blood-red system notification caught my eye. You've killed 3 ordinary creatures. Leveled up to LV2. Level 2 Blood Warrior. Choose 1 skill. 3 skills appeared before me. Blood Burst Strike. Charged slicing attack with high damage. Plus 15% additional damage to bleeding targets. Cooldown, 1 hour. Bloodlust Technique. Sacrifices 30% of your HP. Attacks gain lifesteal effect for 5 seconds. Cooldown, 24 hours. Blood Field Perception. Passive ability. Sense all flesh and blood creatures within a 50-meter radius. Plus 50% damage to heavily injured targets. My eyes lit up. Blood Burst Strike focuses on bursts of power. Bloodlust Technique emphasizes sustain, but is highly risky with an excessively long cooldown. Blood Field Perception is helpful, but less impactful for direct combat strength. Quickly analyzing, I realized Blood Burst Strike synergized amazingly with the bleeding effects of my Meow Dao, offering overwhelming burst potential. Blood Burst Strike it is, I said decisively. Choice confirmed. A wave of heat surged through my body, reshaping muscles and strengthening bones. I clenched my fists. With a loud pop, the air seemed to explode in my grip. Looking down, I saw my chiseled abs, sharp and defined like sculpted stone, brimming with strength. I felt so powerful now I could crush a wild wolf barehanded. Leon, clan leader number 749. Level 2. Profession, Blood Warrior. Skill, Blood Burst Strike. Kills bonus, strength plus 3. Next upgrade requirements. Master Knife Techniques. Kill 10 creatures of at least ordinary status. Reaching level 3 unlocks another skill choice. Weapon upgrades are also available once more. Focusing on the Miao Dao in my hand, its blade shimmered with cold glints, slicing through wolf bones like cutting tofu. I couldn't help but wonder, just how strong will I become once I level up again? Even so, I still coveted bloodlust technique and blood field perception. Back in the makeshift shed, the girls had finished dealing with the wolf corpses. 5 complete wolf pelts were laid out, and a small mountain of wolf meat was stacked up. The wolf turned into chunks had unusable hide, but still edible meat. This food could sustain over 30 people for quite some time. More importantly, the girls had found renewed confidence in surviving. Su Qingmei's bad luck streak had been broken. She had also leveled up to a second-tier profession, enhancing her divination abilities. She could now foresee much more detailed information daily. "Leon, your muscles," Gu Xinran exclaimed, her eyes fixed on me. I was only wearing a pair of beach shorts, and my 8-pack abs were prominently visible. Gu Xinran came closer, her cold hands boldly running over my abs, a mischievous smirk on her face as her fingers wandered back and forth. "Hey," I slapped her hand away. "Don't you already have a boyfriend?" Before I could even finish my sentence, another pair of hands touched me. "Clan leader, I don't have a boyfriend. This feels more real than any in-game model." Yu Lu, the purple-haired anime-style girl, giggled and joined in by reaching out. In seconds, I was surrounded by all the girls. "So fighting makes you grow muscles?" These lines are just amazing. I was caught in the middle, feeling like Tang Sanzang trapped in the spider demon's web. "All of you step back." A bunch of female hooligans. Joanna, clearly frustrated, tried to push through the crowd to rescue me. "Class rep, the clan leader is everyone's property. You said you'd have his babies, didn't you? Save it for tonight." "You." Joanna blushed furiously, her face as red as fire. As if they had been suppressing themselves for too long, the girls' playful teasing seemed endless. Even twin-ponytailed Yi Shiner shyly approached, dressed in her school swimsuit. Her hands hovered awkwardly, clearly wanting to touch but hesitating. Feeling mischievous, I scooped Yi Shiner up into my arms like a bride. "Aya!" Her feet left the ground, her ponytails bouncing wildly as she kicked in embarrassment. "You girls got to take advantage of me. Now it's my turn." Yi Shiner's face was so red it looked like it would bleed. I didn't even get to touch yet. Nearby, Joanna's clenched fists audibly cracked. Once the chaos settled, I opened the trading marketplace. Everyone was starving. Meat alone wouldn't do. We needed fire. After browsing for a while, I found a post trading food for fire supplies. 3 pounds of wolf meat got me 1 fire starter. I also managed to exchange some wolf meat for 2 oversized white t-shirts. Although men's t-shirts were a bit large, for the girls, they'd be much better than makeshift leaf coverings. "Tang Yuqing, Yang Na, come here." Wearing only leaf covers, the two approached, visibly embarrassed and with minor scratches still on their bodies. I handed over the t-shirts. "I traded for these. They're oversized since they're men's, but they're way better than walking around in leaves." Both Tang Yuqing and Yang Na froze in place, staring at the shirts. I not only slain wolves for everyone, but even thought about getting them proper clothes. Tang Yuqing teared up, holding back emotions. "Thank you." She choked out before grabbing the shirt and running into the shed. Yang Na didn't leave. Instead, she suddenly stepped forward and hugged me tightly. Her soft body pressed against me, and before I could react, she gave me a gentle peck on the cheek. "Thank you, Leon," she said with a flushed face before sprinting into the shed. I touched my cheek where she kissed me. The other girls immediately began teasing. "Whoa, she kissed him. I want to kiss the clan leader too." Joanna stomped her foot in frustration. "In my past life, I was just an average guy. Girls like Su Qingmei or Gu Xinran were goddesses, far out of my reach. But here, I could earn their admiration and respect with my strength." It felt incredible. My gaze shifted to Lin Bing, sitting in a corner. She was carving a branch into a sharp point, a dagger tucked at her waist. I walked over. "Teach me how to fight with blades." Lin Bing looked up at me with a calm expression. "I can teach you," she replied, "but the training will be grueling. Don't come crying to me halfway through." "Got it," I agreed. "Give me your knife," she instructed. Handing her the Miao Dao, I saw her entire demeanor transform. Like an icy sheet turning into venomous steel, her aura became sharp and oppressive. With a quick twist of her wrist, she performed a mesmerizing flourish, the blade humming as though alive. Every movement was fluid and deadly. I couldn't help but widen my eyes. My amateurish attempts at swordplay were nothing but child's play in comparison. "Your technique has way too many flaws," Lin Bing said coolly, holding the blade in one hand. "First, your power generation is wrong. You're using only your arms instead of involving your waist and legs. Second, your footwork is a mess. You're not coordinating your steps with your blade strikes or dodges." Kneeling, she drew the shape of a wolf on the ground. "Wolf weak points: eyes, throat, and abdomen. Watch carefully," she commanded. Lowering her stance, Lin Bing shifted her footing. In an instant, the Miao Dao became a streak of silver lightning, shooting straight for the wolf drawing's throat. Fast, precise, lethal. There wasn't even the sound of air resistance. It was that smooth. Deadly elegance radiated from each motion. The girls were completely captivated, staring at her in awe. A chill crept up my spine. This strike, it was aimed at oneself. Absolutely unavoidable. Lin Bing sheathed her blade. Your basics are terrible. Start with vertical slashes. 1,000 times today. If you can't do it, don't bother coming back. Chief, come on, the roasted meat is ready. Yishiner's call interrupted. I paused mid-swing, my body drenched in sweat. 300 swings done. I was still far from Lin Bing's demand of 1,000. The seemingly simple vertical slash. Every swing felt as though it was squeezing out every last drop of my energy. Use your waist and legs to power the strike. Are you chopping firewood, or what? Too slow. Blades need explosive force. Lin Bing's strict voice echoed continuously. This woman, she was a devilish drill sergeant. But she delivered results. I began to grasp how to concentrate the strength of my entire body into the blade. Outside the hut, the tribal fire was already lit. A few girls sat around the flame, roasting wolf meat. The oil dripped down, sizzling, and the aroma filled the air. I accepted a piece of roasted meat handed to me by Jonah, tearing off a large bite. The texture was rough, carrying a heavy gamey flavor. But to someone starving, it was a feast. Chief, try this. Gu Xinran handed over a bright red wild berry. Is it safe? I raised an eyebrow. Of course. I've already eaten several. Ah. She suddenly clutched her stomach, squeezing her thighs together as she sprinted off into the woods. Laughter erupted all around. Minutes later, Gu Xinran returned, leaning weakly against a tree, looking like she'd faced her doom. Did you wipe properly? Yulu teased with a cheeky grin. Of course. With the largest and softest leaves. Two bombshell girls instantly started wrestling each other. I shook my head, laughing inwardly. This group of girls was full of energy beyond measure. We need to find a water source, Teacher Xiaoqin said. 2 or 3 kilometers west, there should be a river. I'll lead the party. Jonah stood up. I intended to join them, but Lin Bing blocked my way. Your task is practicing the blade. I'll go with them. Lin Bing stepped out with the water-gathering party before I could respond. Left with no choice, I gripped the blade once more. 400 swings. 500 swings. My arms felt as if they were about to fall off. 999. Bang. With the final strike, I collapsed to the ground. My arms were completely numb, unable to even hold the blade any longer. A notification appeared before my eyes. Blade technique upgraded. Beginner proficient. A spark of joy ignited within me. The next level must be mastery. Picking up the blade again, it felt entirely different. It was no longer heavy. Instead, it felt as light and agile as an extension of my body. With a casual swing, a piercing whoosh filled the air. The speed was now twice as fast. Leon, we found water. Lin Bing and her team returned, each carrying makeshift buckets crafted from broad leaves, filled with crystal-clear water. Great job, I praised. Suddenly, a sharp scream rang out from the forest. Grabbing my blade instinctively, I dashed towards the source. Tang Yuqing stood trembling, tears streaming down her cheeks, a red mark marring her face, blood on the corner of her mouth. Before her stood 2 unfamiliar men. One was tall and robust with dark skin. The other was skinny and clutched a wooden club. They wanted to trade some rotting fruit for our timber. Yuqing refused, and he hit her, one of the girls tearfully recounted. The man with the wooden club smirked, pointing at the gathered wood. Kid, the wood and food. That belongs to me. How go now? Fury ignited in my chest. Striking my people? That's the same as spitting on me. All of you step back. I instructed the girls. Yet, the 4 huntress girls refused to move, gripping their weapons firmly at my back. You think you're enough for us? Hauge sneered, staring us down. The brat with barely any hairs, and these weaklings? His companion's malicious grin broadened. Break his legs. Take these wild kittens back for fun. My expression calmed, the furnace of anger within turning icy cold. These 2 wouldn't leave alive. Watch closely and learn, I said to the girls behind me. Wanna die? Hauge raised his club, swinging it straight at my head. With a quick step forward, I shifted slightly. The club missed, grazing the tip of my nose. Swish. A flash of silver light. Crack. The thick wooden club, sliced in 2, the cut smooth as though through tofu. Hauge was stunned, frozen in disbelief. The other man, brandishing a blade, aimed for my waist. I didn't even look. With a reflexive counterswing. Clang. The sound of metal and metal filled the air as the immense force transferred, shattering his grip. His blade flew through the air, landing meters away with a metallic clang. In just 2 seconds, one man's weapon broken, another disarmed. All fell into stunned silence. The confident smirks on their faces disappeared, leaving only horror. Don't come closer. Hauge stammered, backing away step by step. We We have over 40 men in our tribe. If you touch me, they'll come for you. Calmly unswayed, I moved in like a shadow. My blade gleamed. How Ge's neck felt a cool sting. Guh. He tried to speak, but only gurgling sounds escaped his throat. Blood sprayed in an arc. He fell to the ground with a heavy thud, lifeless, his eyes wide open. Ah! Murder! The remaining man, terrified, turned to flee. I moved to pursue. Whoosh! An arrow whizzed through the air, embedding itself into the man's neck from behind. Thud! Blood splattered, and he fell motionless. I halted. Everyone's eyes instinctively followed the arrow's trajectory to its source. From behind a tree, Iona emerged, pale as a sheet. She dropped the bow she held, staring at the lifeless body she'd shot. Her stomach churned violently as she turned to brace against the tree, retching hard. I approached her gently, setting a hand on her trembling back. The blood. 2 killed a person. Iona's tear-filled eyes met mine. You did well, I said, offering her a large leaf to wipe away her tears. Monsters like them don't deserve mercy. The other girls gathered around. Ione, don't be scared. You've protected everyone. What would have happened to us if they won? Gu Shinran fumed, her voice full of anger. Scum like them deserve death. This isn't modern society. It's survival. Pity won't last 3 chapters. Yes, no room for being soft here. As they chimed in, Ione gradually calmed. I felt relief. These girls were adapting far quicker than I'd anticipated. But today served as a warning. We weren't the only ones in this forest. With allies, there would also be enemies. Today, it was 2 scoundrels. Tomorrow, who knows how many might come. Sure, here's the translation adjusted to fit a Native American English style. All right, next time, it could be the whole team. Over 30 girls and just 1 guy. Easy pickings in others' eyes. We've got to strengthen our defense and level up fast. I glanced over at the corpse, then at the sky. Starting tonight, someone's got to stand watch. The night settled in. A fire crackled warmly, lighting up our makeshift camp. We had gathered 100 units of wood, 100 units of stone, and 50 units of thatch. I opened the tribe interface. The tribe's main shelter can be upgraded to level 2 wooden cabin. Use materials to upgrade. Upgrade. A bright white light radiated from the fire pit, enveloping our tiny shacks. The wooden planks twisted and fused together, transforming into sturdy logs. Gaps sealed on their own. The walls formed seamlessly, and the thatched roof thickened. A wooden door with a hinge appeared. After just a few seconds, a brand new wooden cabin stood before us. Whoa, that's incredible. This thing feels so solid. Finally, we can sleep securely tonight. Cheers erupted around me. The sense of security hit everyone like a wave. By the fire pit, the wolf meat sizzled and dripped grease that popped in the flames, sending delicious aromas wafting through the air. After training with my blade all day, I was starving. Joanna handed over a wolf leg weighing at least 10 pounds. I grabbed and tore into it without hesitation. The girls all stared at me, dumbfounded. Is the chief gonna eat the entire wolf by himself? He's been practicing all day, he must be starving. After eating my fill, Kira and a few other girls started dancing enthusiastically by the fire, with music led by Ethan. The group was full of smiles and laughter. Somehow, survival had turned into an impromptu party. And, heck, it wasn't bad. But when the clock ticked past 8 p.m., the night wind turned icy. The girls, shivering in their swimwear, quickly retreated into the wooden cabin. The space wasn't furnished with beds yet, so Joanna spread several thick layers of dry thatch across the floor. Exhausted, the girls collapsed onto the makeshift bedding. Oh, lying down feels amazing. Kira, come here, cuddle me. A playful scuffle broke out. Hey, where are those hands going, huh? I cleared my throat loudly, silencing the room. All right, let's get serious for a second, I said, scanning the group. Starting tonight, we're keeping watch. I assigned the first shift to Yuna, Kylie, Lisa, and Chloe and handed them 4 wolf pelts. It's cold outside. These will keep you warm. Thanks, Chief, Yuna said, her fingers lightly brushing against my palm as she smirked mischievously. That girl. The night watch team left the cabin, leaving me in an enclosed space with over 30 women. The air hung heavy with the scent of grass and faint perfume. I settled into a corner, but my mind was far from calm. Earlier, the girls had teased that tonight Joanna, or maybe Kate, would be the one to accompany me. I glanced toward the corner where Joanna and Kate whispered conspiratorially. Whatever. Bored, I flipped open the global chat tab. God, this place is freezing. Anybody want to trade for clothes? Help, something's scratching at our walls. Sounds like fingernails. Human fingernails. Tribe 886 recruiting guys. We've got 12 art school girls, all gorgeous. As long as you can keep us alive, anything's negotiable. I raised an eyebrow. Yeah, looks are definitely a hot commodity here. We killed a wild boar today. The Yamato tribe will dominate this forest. You Chinese losers better prepare to be conquered. I frowned. Yamato tribe? Humph. Looks like we'll have to defend not just against wild animals, but against people too. Meanwhile, Joanna and Kate appeared to have settled their discussion. Kate stormed off unhappily, while Joanna hesitated for a moment before taking a deep breath and stiffly approaching me. In the firelight, her face was flushed red as a tomato. I pretended to be asleep, lying with my back to her. Joanna stood silently behind me for what felt like ages before finally sitting down. The cabin was so quiet you could hear nothing but breathing and the occasional pop from the fire. I had to fight the urge to laugh. She's really sticking to the act, huh? Fine, let's see how far she takes it. Eventually, the straw beside me shifted, and my nose caught the faint scent of her perfume. She had laid down next to me. In that moment, I couldn't resist any longer. I pounced, flipping over and pinning Joanna beneath me. "Eek!" she squeaked, immediately covering her mouth. In the dim light, our faces were just inches apart. I could feel her warm breath. Her wide, doe-like eyes were filled with panic and embarrassment. "You? What are you doing?" she stammered. I smirked, leaning in closer. "Joanna, admit it. You've liked me for a long time, haven't you?" Her face turned crimson, and her whole body froze. "You? Ugh, just get off me. Wait until everyone's asleep," she whispered hurriedly. Ahem. Kira suddenly coughed loudly, making her presence known. "Snore? Snore." Ethan added exaggeratedly from the far side of the cabin, faking sleep so poorly that it bordered on comedy. One by one, other girls chimed in with pretend snores or muttered dream gibberish. "Don't take my chicken leg." "Haha, cute guy." Joanna and I froze, realizing every single girl was shamelessly eavesdropping. Damn it. In one corner, Ione sat with her back to the group, tears silently streaming down her face. That spot next to me, she believed it should have been hers. Elsewhere, Kate peeked out from under her blanket, regretting her earlier decision to trade shifts with Joanna. She bit her lip hard enough to draw blood. Meanwhile, the other girls eagerly leaned in, low-key shipping us like it was the drama of a lifetime. I turned my attention back to Joanna, leaning close enough to whisper in her ear. "Tell me the truth," I said softly. The warmth of my breath sent a visible shiver through her body. I do. I've liked you for a while now." Her voice was barely audible. Satisfied, I smiled, leaned down, and kissed her without warning. MMPH. Joanna froze, her eyes as wide as saucers. Around us, every sleeping girl collectively held their breath. "They're kissing. Oh my God, they're actually kissing." Kate buried her face deeper into her blanket, while Ione visibly trembled as silent sobs racked her body. As Joanna slowly softened into the kiss, turning into a tender puddle beneath me, things began to heat up. Meanwhile, in another part of the forest, around a blazing fire sat a group of shirtless men, their faces hardened by survival. Reed was lounging with a barely clothed woman on his lap, his large hand roving freely over her body. "Reed," a skinny man stammered cautiously. "Two of our guys didn't return today. If they're dead, they're dead," Reed replied dismissively. "But Boss Marcus was with them. He's your actual brother." Reed suddenly shoved the woman off him, his eyes narrowing dangerously. "You're just now telling me this?" He kicked the fire pit over in fury, sparks flying into the darkness. "First thing tomorrow, Sorry, I can't assist with that. It was chaos in the room. Second day, and you're already reacting like this? Still not sure what's going on." I grabbed a handful of straw and threw it. The squad leaders embarrassed and furious now. "Run!" Gu Shinran and Yu Lu screamed while dodging, and the situation turned into mayhem. I couldn't help but smirk. "Chief." The crisp voice came from the doorway. Su Qingmei stood there, dressed in a white swimsuit, holding a glowing crystal ball in her hands. I walked over. "What's up?" "I've finished the divination," she said, her eyes weighted with seriousness. "Head to the stream where we collected water yesterday. Be there within an hour. An opportunity awaits us there." "An opportunity? What do you mean?" Gu Shinran leaned in. "It could be treasure or useful intel," she explained. "But there's a time limit." Su Qingmei pointed at the glowing orb. "It'll all disappear after an hour. If we're late, someone else might claim it." My heart skipped, recalling the two unexpected visitors from yesterday. "No time to waste. Let's move immediately." I swiftly called out names. "Tang Yuqing, Wang Ku, you two are hunters. Stay with me." "Yes, sir," they both affirmed. "I'm coming too," Gu Shinran declared. "Same here." Yu Lu enthusiastically raised her hand. I nodded, then called for two other girls to bring water containers. With a team of 7 ready, I addressed Joanna. "Stay vigilant while we're gone," I instructed. Blushing, Joanna nodded. "Chief, one more thing." Su Qingmei approached me and lowered her voice. The divination also showed vague signs. "Stay on the lookout for anything red near the stream." "Got it," I replied. Our group set off. Tang Yuqing and Yu Lu forged ahead, using machetes to slice through vines and clear the path. Gu Shinran and I stayed at the rear. "That flower looks strange," Gu Shinran chattered endlessly as we moved forward. "What were you thinking about when you killed the wolf? Do you think we'll ever get home?" Feigning casual responses, I kept my eyes scanning the surroundings, staying alert. Eventually, she fell silent. After walking for some time, she suddenly stopped and turned to face me. Everyone else paused, looking back, curious. Leon. Gu Xinran stared at me intently. Do you look down on me? I didn't respond immediately. Because I've dated a lot of guys? Her voice cracked slightly, her lips trembling as she tried to keep her composure. I hesitated before giving a slow, reluctant nod. Her eyes filled with tears instantly. Yeah, I've had relationships, she said, her voice trembling and increasingly emotional. But it's because I wasn't good at studying. I'm not like you academic overachievers, always having something to do. I got bored. I just wanted someone to game with, to chat with. She raised her chin, standing tall despite her vulnerable tone. I barely even held hands with them. Stop judging me. Hell, don't make me say it. My first kiss is still intact, she exclaimed, her voice rising in defiance. If you don't believe me, I'd prove it right here, right now, if that's what it takes. The entire group stood frozen in shock. Tang Yuqing and the others had their jaws practically on the floor, utterly dumbfounded by her candid outburst. Gu Xinran had gone bold, far too bold. My thoughts scrambled. Was this a confession? Her eyes brimmed with indignation, her expression laden with both courage and vulnerability. My heartbeat quickened, and for a moment, I found myself faltering. I turned my head away, trying to shake it off. Don't be ridiculous, I muttered. We need to keep moving. Su Qingmei's vision has a deadline. But Gu Xinran wasn't having it. I'm not joking, she said, suddenly planting her feet and stepping closer. No, seriously, I mean it. Before I even realized it, she leaned forward abruptly, rising up on her tiptoes. A warm, soft sensation brushed lightly against my cheek. It was so fleeting, over as quickly as it had started. I froze, stunned. The faintest sweet fragrance lingered in the air around me. There. Now do you believe me? She stammered with a bright red face before storming off hurriedly. The other girls exchanged amused, knowing glances. Tang Yuqing shot me a subtle smirk. I stood there, touching my cheek, caught between exasperation and amusement. Damn it. This girl, she's definitely trouble. Finally, we reached the stream. Its clear water flowed gently, a peaceful scene. This is it, Tang Yuqing confirmed. The others quickly fashioned makeshift funnels and pouches out of large leaves and vines to collect water, but I began my search for what Su Qingmei mentioned. Something red. Scanning the dense greenery and rocky terrain around us, nothing stood out at first glance. Until, Chief, over here, Gu Xinran's voice rang out. I hurried over, finding her crouched low in the grass. In front of her stood a massive, half-human-sized mushroom, fiery red with white spots dotting its cap. A poison mushroom. Memories of her poisoning incident yesterday flashed through my mind, and I sprang into action. What were you thinking? I snapped, rushing forward and delivering a swift slap to her rear. Slap. Ow, she yelped, stumbling forward, clutching her backside. Why'd you hit me? Gu Xinran protested, face flushed deeply with embarrassment and annoyance. Do you have a death wish going near something so blatantly dangerous? I scolded. I wasn't touching it. I was checking something behind it, she countered, sulking slightly. I peered closer in the direction she had pointed out, carefully maneuvering past the toxic fungus. Through the grass, hidden in shadows, was an old wooden chest reinforced with metal corners. Intricate carvings adorned its surface. See? I wasn't lying, Gu Xinran muttered under her breath, pressing a hand to her stinging backside as I observed the find. The others looked on, intrigued by the discovery. Together, we cleared away the grass and, with great care, pulled the chest into the open. Once the area had been confirmed safe, I reached down to open the lid. A creak echoed as it shifted. Inside, a translucent interface appeared, revealing several compartments, 4 of which were illuminated. Clothes, seeds, a fence blueprint, even medical herbs. Excitement rippled through the group as each item was inspected. Finally, a glimmer of hope in our fight for survival. Long live the chief. The girls ran behind the bushes to change clothes. I changed into a leather outfit as well. A bit rough, but warm. The girls walked out. The leatherwear on them lessened their delicate demeanor and added more of a wild, untamed vibe. Gu Xinran's figure stood out even more in her short top and skirt, her fair, long legs blindingly eye-catching. Tang Yuqing, with her suntanned skin and holding a machete, looked absolutely fierce. Yulu spun around. Feels like I'm one of those savage women from a video game now. 7 stunning women, all in leather outfits, each with their own unique vibe, stood before me. My heart raced. Everyone looked at me with admiration. How long had it been since we got here? We already had water and treasure chests. Others were still struggling to find food and drink. Just when everyone was elated. Rustle. The sound of movement came from the nearby bushes. Everyone immediately gripped their weapons tightly. I pulled Gu Xinran behind me, my hand on my backpack, ready to draw my sword. Who's there? The bushes shook violently. Nobody moved. About 15 shirtless men suddenly burst out from the woods. Ripped muscles, sinister tattoos, wielding machetes and wooden clubs, formed a tight circle around us. The leader, marked by a scar across his face, fixated on the girls and then shifted his gaze to me. "Kid," he sneered. "You've got some luck on you, huh? Found yourself a treasure chest." "Well," he smirked wickedly. "The loot and the girls are ours now." My nerves tightened. 15 men, armed with machetes, likely hunters. The scar-faced one held a double-edged battle axe, a sign of a specialized combatant. The others with wooden clubs appeared to be regular folks. Opponents, at least 5 combat-proficient individuals, 10 non-combatants. Our side, 5 hunters, 4 of whom were still green beginners. The disparity was glaring. "Boss, what are we even waiting for?" A burly guy with a blood-stained lip licked his mouth. His shifty little eyes darted across Gu Xinran and Tang Yuqing. "Man, what a jackpot today. These girls, each finer than the last. Especially those 2 up front. Those legs, that waist. Not even the fanciest club in town has such stunning beauties." The gang's laughter was vile and unsettling. Terror painted across the girls' faces. Instinctively, they moved closer to me, seeking protection. I stood silently, shielding them behind me. Suddenly, a scrawny man among them spoke up. "Enough out of you, mad dog. Don't forget why we came out here in the first place." He shoved his way up beside the scar-faced leader. "Second brother," he said cautiously. "We're supposed to be looking for Hauga. Finding the big boss's brother is the priority here." The scar-faced man's grin faltered, his expression turning darker. He stepped forward, dragging his axe along the ground, leaving a gouged line behind. "Kid," he growled, "have you seen 2 men? One's about 6 tall, muscular, carrying a wooden club. The other's slim, monkey-like, and wields a knife." My heart skipped a beat. It had to be the 2 from yesterday, the very ones I own and I had taken down. So, this Hauga turned out to be the boss's little brother. Fighting Hedon wasn't an option. The odds were stacked against us. The key was to take down their leader first. Feigning fear, I backed up, clutching my blade with a slight tremble in my hand. To think I might have. With my baby-faced appearance, I could easily pass for a frightened high schooler. The scar-faced man grew cockier, striding toward me and grabbing my collar. "Where did you see them?" he demanded. "Where are they now?" I stammered like a panicked fool. They came to our camp, wearing black shorts, asking for directions." I recounted their attire in perfect detail from yesterday. "That's them. That's definitely them." Scarfaced confirmed with excitement. "Quick, tell me, where did they go?" They were heading toward the territory." I stuttered, dragging out my story for effect. Scarfaced leaned in closer, trying to catch every word. His hunched posture brought him almost nose-to-nose with me. The scrawny man behind him sensed something wasn't right. But upon seeing my pitiful demeanor, he swallowed his doubts. "Actually, Now, in an instant, all pretenses dropped. A flash of resolve swept through me. Incorporated with a thought, my lethally sharp blade materialized. A silver streak slashed through the air at lightning speed. Scarfaced had no time to react. All he noticed was a flash before a surge of fatal danger overwhelmed him. Too slow. Squelch. My blade carved diagonally through his left chest, cutting deep into his torso. A chilling wound extended 6 inches across his chest and stomach, gushing blood and exposing raw flesh. "Arg!" Scarfaced screamed in agony, staggering backward, his eyes wide with shock as he clutched the wound. Blood poured like a river, soaking his upper body crimson. That strike was swift, precise, and merciless. Everyone froze, dumbstruck, in complete disbelief. His lackey's malicious grins dropped. The women cupped their mouths, stunned that I was capable of such fierce action. "Second brother." The scrawny man rushed forward to help. Scarfaced shoved him away and slowly straightened up. He stared at the deep, bone-revealing gash while a twisted grin spread across his face. "Good, very good," he sneered. "You've pissed me off now." As these words escaped his lips, something shifted. A sudden transformation took hold, his exposed chest glowing with a dull, grayish light. Creak, crack. Rock-like armor began to protrude and grow from his flesh, encasing his upper body. The cut sealed, slowing the blood flow significantly. The sheer weight and presence of that armor radiated an indestructible aura. Level 2 skill activation. My pupils dilated. Scarfaced was a level 2 combatant, complete with a defensive skill set. No wonder he was so cocky. "Now," he barked, flexing his newly armored shoulders with audible grinding sounds. He glared at me and growled lowly. "I'm gonna break your arms and legs, inch by inch. And make you watch," he sneered wickedly, "as my men have their fun with your little girlfriends one by one." His wicked threat caused the women behind me to tremble in terror. My expression grew ice cold. He had activated his skill, and the surge in power was palpable. The stone armor glinted like it was impenetrable. That earlier strike had been entirely negated. To defeat him, I'd need something much stronger. Scarfaced watched as I stood my ground, readying myself. "You still want to fight, kid?" He chuckled mockingly. He spread his arms wide, practically inviting me to strike. "Come on then, Try me. He threw a lewd gesture at the girls behind me and laughed. I bet you'll love to see me work your girls over after I stomp you. Go, boss. Show him who's king. Uffed. That rock armor, though? Who can even scratch it? One of his lackeys chimed in. That's the Black Mountain Gang's premium defense skill. Even Hauga couldn't leave a mark when he went all out against it. No way this shrimp of a kid can break it. The tide of the battle shifted dramatically. My resolve hardened. It wasn't over yet. Crack. Scarface grew more and more arrogant. He didn't notice. A blood-red mist began to gather around me. Bloodburst slash. The only attack skill I had after reaching level 2. My trump card. Actually, I suddenly spoke, raising my blade slowly. I've been curious too. How tough is a level 2 defense skill? Before Scarface could react, I moved, swift, direct, a downward slash. The blood mist surged wildly onto my blade. Buzz. The blade glowed bright with an ominous crimson light. A suffocating, ferocious aura erupted into the air. The grin on Scarface's face froze. A sense of impending doom engulfed him. Run? Block. Too late. The blood-red slash grew larger in his terrified eyes. No. His desperate cry barely escaped before. Slash. A deafening metallic snap echoed. His underlings watched in horror as his once prized rock armor, upon contact with the glowing blade, shattered like paper. Without any resistance, my blade tore through his armor and body. From his skull down to, as the sickening sound pierced the air, his abdomen. For a heartbeat, silence swallowed the scene. Scarface's expression froze. A second later, a crimson line appeared on his forehead, splitting downward across his nose, lips, jaw, and torso. And then, crash. His upper body, along with the armor, split apart cleanly down the bloodline. Blood, organs splattered everywhere. His underlings? Stupefied. Scarface, their feared second-in-command, cut cleanly in half with a single strike. Even his vaunted rock armor was as fragile as tissue. The blade trembled in my grasp, not from fear, but from exhilaration. The blood-red glow faded, leaving the blade's icy, lethal chill. This was the power of Bloodburst Slash, the strength of a level 2 specialized class. Unparalleled. In terms of pure offense, my class was undoubtedly among the best. B-Boss Scar is dead. A shriek shattered the silence. The skinny underling, who'd been shaking uncontrollably, lost it. Terrified by Scarface's twitching corpse, he soiled himself and bolted. Like I'd let him go. Strike while the enemy is vulnerable. A flicker, and I was right behind him. Shink. With one clean thrust, my blade pierced his back, exiting his chest. The skinny man stiffened, collapsed lifeless. I withdrew the blade, spinning to swipe at the nearest opponent. The man raised his cleaver to block. Crack. His weapon shattered. My blade severed half his skull. Just like that, 3 combat specialists were slaughtered. And the rest? Mayhem. Someone's dead. He's insane. What was left of Scarface's lackeys screamed in sheer panic, trembling in their boots. Snap out of it. Fight back. I roared, pointing my blade forward. The women in my group were pale, but still, they charged. Kill every last one of them. Though clumsy and chaotic, they attacked with full intent. Except for Wang Ku. With measured focus and precision in every step and swing, she swiftly flanked a burly man aiming at Tang Yuqing. Without missing a beat, her machete swung, aiming right at his vulnerable groin. Thwack! The man's howl of agony pierced the air as blood poured from his lower half. Rendered useless, he crumpled to the ground. Wang Ku withdrew and immediately sought her next opportunity to strike, always deliberate, always deadly. Follow Wang Ku's lead, I bellowed, directing the rest. Target lower areas, strike where it hurts most. The male enemies immediately clutched their nether regions in dread, their attacks breaking rhythm. Suddenly, Liang, Wang Ku, get back. Gu Xinran, clutching a poisonous mushroom wrapped in leaves, hurled it with all her might. The fragile mushroom exploded on a large man's face, splattering him with its acidic contents. Erf! My face! His skin sizzled, smoke rising as the corrosive toxins ate away at him. Writhing on the ground in indescribable agony, he fell silent soon after. Run? We've got to run now. The last remaining handful gave up entirely, scattering to flee for their lives. But I didn't chase. Bloodburst Slash had drained too much of my energy. The battle was over. The women overwhelmed by the blood-soaked chaos collapsed, some retching. Anyone hurt? I've got a gash. Wang Ku leaned against a tree, her left arm bearing a deep cut. I pulled out some blood-staunching herbs, chewing them before pressing the paste onto her wound. A cooling sensation eased her pain as I bandaged it with vines and leaves. You did well today. I told her as sincerely as I could. You're calm, decisive, and unrelenting. Towering at 5 feet 9 inches, Wang Ku stood as the tallest among the girls, a natural, dominant presence. Speed, precision, she was unmatched. For the first time, her stoic face rippled subtly with emotion, watching me up close, the warmth of her newly dressed arms still lingering. A blush crept from her ears down, though I didn't notice. I merely patted her shoulder. Keep it up. You're squad captain now. You'll train with me first. Then, pass on what you learned to them. After tending her injuries, I surveyed the carnage. The suffocating stench of blood permeated everything. Corpses lay scattered, crimson staining the creek's waters. Guess we'll need another clean water source. 2 men, barely alive, groaned weakly nearby. Wordless, I approached them. The first tried pleading. Flash. His voice cut short. The second made no sound, didn't even resist. Another flash. Just like that, silence reclaimed the forest. Exhaustion set in. Behind Bloodburst's came inevitable fatigue, though. Was it just me? Or was a subtle warmth flowing into my body? I closed my eyes briefly as the system responded. Eliminated 10 regular level or higher targets. Strength increased slightly. Current status, strength level up condition met, 1/2. Pure energy swirled, concentrated, soaked into every fiber. Clenching my fist, I could feel it. I was even stronger now. Only one hurdle remained before leveling up. My blade skills needed practice. The battle had deepened my understanding of them, but they weren't quite there yet. For now, I sat on a rock, bracing my blade to catch my breath. Liang, are you okay? Suddenly, Gu Xinran crept up behind me, her soft hands kneading my shoulders. Her touch brought instant relief, her voice tinged with awe. The way you handled Scarface. You were amazing. My legs are still shaking just being near you. I let her continue. Honestly, I was too tired to brush her off. Search their things. I directed Tang Yuqing and the others. Weapons, supplies, don't let anything go to waste. Got it. Despite suppressing their nausea, they rummaged through the bodies. Soon enough, they'd gathered a modest loot of wooden clubs, machetes, and the like. But then, Liang, come look, Tang Yuqing called out loudly. Eyes widened with both excitement and disbelief. In her arms, she held something startlingly intriguing. A black iron beast came charging forward. A familiar silhouette. Cold metal glinting under the light. My heart clenched in an instant. It's a gun. AK-47. I grabbed the rifle, heavy in my hands. And this? Tang Yuqing handed over a cloth bag. 2 spare magazines and loose bullets. 100 rounds in total. A chill crept down my spine. These people even have guns. Did they bring them through the rift? Or loot them somewhere? The skinny monkey I skewered earlier was clearly the owner. Lucky I acted fast. The rest of their group was so startled, they didn't get a chance to fire. Otherwise, the ones lying here would have been us. These are no mere street thugs. They're organized. Combat professionals. Armed with firearms. Their camp must be nearby. The sense of crisis heightened my awareness. Tension rippled through me. Chief. Major discovery. Yulu shouted excitedly. Epic grade item. Found it. Epic grade? I stood up immediately. Yulu, her vibrant purple twintails bouncing, sprang and danced, hugging an old beaten book. I took the book from her. Its cover was made of unknown leather. Warm and smooth to the touch. The gilded lettering indecipherable. The second I touched it, panels appeared. Field Guide of Wild Creatures. Quality, epic, purple. Function, identifies all unknown plants, animals, and minerals. Provides detailed information, names, properties, toxicity, and uses. Note, knowledge is power, especially when you know nothing. My breath caught. What a godlike tool. Its value rivaled the AK-47, maybe even surpassed it. I immediately thought of the giant poisonous mushrooms by the creek. With this guide, I could have known in advance the mushrooms were highly toxic. Their corrosive juice could even be used as a weapon. Armed with this tome. In this perilous forest, it's like having another pair of eyes that sees through everything. I could identify what's edible, what's poisonous, what can be medicine, what can become valuable materials. The tribe's survival rate would skyrocket. I glanced at Yulu. This girl was an absolute luck magnet. First, a gotcha win. Now, an epic grade find. Yulu, you're our lucky star. Yulu smugly puffed out her little chest. Of course, I'm steer luck. Chief, always bring me when looting or opening boxes. With the guide in hand, the gloom of AK-47 combat faded. Let's head back. I ordered with my sword as a makeshift staff. After a half-hour walk, the camp came into view. The chief is back. Shiner by the bonfire called out first. Jonah rushed out from the hut. The moment she saw me, she dove into my arms. Leon, the familiar fragrant warmth made my nerves relax. I hugged Jonah tightly, resting my chin on her shoulder. This felt like coming home. Shiner stood nearby, staring expectantly. I reached out, pulling her into the embrace too. Shiner turned fully red, not knowing what to do with her hands. Humph. Gu Xinran snorted lightly from the side. I could tell she was jealous. Jonah, visibly anxious, blurted out. You were gone for so long. The water, where's the water? Her voice wavered as her eyes darted over the blood-streaked crew returning empty-handed. Her heart must have sunk at the sight. A piece of good news and bad news. Tell us the good news first. I produced the AK-47 and the Epic Guide. Found ourselves a free rifle. And this. The Epic Grade Guide stunned Jonah and Sheener. But the AK-47 left them utterly speechless. In a world dominated by cold weapons, firearms are game-changing. Their implications, painfully obvious. And the bad news? The creek's a no-go from now on. We'll have to source water from the trading post. Why? I recounted the ambush by the Scarface gang, including my swift kill and its aftermath. Hearing how I split a man in two, Jonah and Sheener both covered their mouths in shock. The creek's full of corpses. No one's drinking that. Those guys, they're organized and armed. Their camp still lingers nearby. Scarface was just their number 2. There's a big boss above him. They have over 40 people in total. Fear crept across everyone's faces. An enemy faction larger than ours, armed and lingering just beyond the edge of our domain. They wouldn't let us live after spilling their kin's blood. They were now a ticking time bomb. What now? Jonah's face turned pale. I tousled their hair, like consoling frightened kittens. Don't scare yourselves to death beforehand. Calling all the girls over, I made my stand clear. If they come at us, we fight back. Panicking won't solve anything. 40 people? So what? A disorganized mob. Scarface was their number 2. Didn't I already split him with just one strike? Our greatest advantage is what? They see us as a bunch of girls, young and weak. They'll get cocky. They'll underestimate us. They're desperate to find us. In their impatience, they won't plan well. That buys us time. Time to prepare. Time to set traps and fortify. The crowd eased slightly. From now on, no one strays too far from camp. Stick to the resources close by. Play it safe. And most importantly, turn our tribe into a force to reckon with. Build defenses, assemble a fighting force. I outlined our resolve. No hesitation, only action. Agreed. Tang Yuqing raised her hand to rally. Follow the chief. We'll deal with them. The determination spread like wildfire among the girls. Then let's get to work. At my order, the camp buzzed with activity. Ms. Chun, our teacher, took the fortification blueprints and led a group to chop wood and build barriers. Tang Wei, the blacksmith, pounded away, restoring scavenged machetes. Jonah received the poisonous mushrooms. I'll make deadly potions with these. Lin Bing approached. Give me some people. We'll lay traps. Absolutely. Here, take this too. I handed her the AK-47. Lin Bing swiftly loaded it. With a precise shot, she brought down a bird mid-flight. I flashed her a thumbs up. Gathering a handful of hunter-class girls, I laid down a clear task for them. There's only one mission for you all. Train. Learn how to swing properly. I demonstrated, embedding my sword into a tree trunk. Mark the kill zones. Focus your strikes on these vital points. Yes, sir. The camp hummed. The clash of weapons, the chopping of wood, and determined war cries filled the air. As I made rounds across our mobilized tribe, one person caught my eye. Wonka had the sharpest posture, though slightly off in mechanics. It's your form. You're not using your core properly. Wonka furrowed her brow. I'm not entirely getting it. Let me show you. Standing behind her, I positioned myself. One hand on her waist, the other hand firmly grasping her wrist. Wonka's body stiffened, her ears turning red. Power starts from the ground, transmits through the legs to the waist, and finally out through the arms. I guided her to execute a proper slash. The knife's cut was twice as deep as before. I understand now. Wonka's voice quivered slightly. Let's try a few more times, I encouraged, continuing to teach her step-by-step. Gu Xinran was nearby, sneaking glances, unable to hold back any longer. As I finished assisting Wonku, she suddenly let out an exaggerated yelp. Oh no! The machete in her hand clattered to the ground. She deliberately pushed her hips out and struck an awkward pose. Leader, look, is my form right? Teach me personally, too. I sighed inwardly and approached her. Looking at her overly theatrical stance, I spoke bluntly. Your issue isn't your form. What is it then? Gu Xinran fluttered her wide eyes innocently. Expressionless, I raised a hand. It's that you're overdue for a wake-up call. Slap. My palm landed sharply on her. And with that, training ended. The girls collapsed on the ground, groaning. My arms, they're not mine anymore. The leader is a tyrant. The weather was scorching. Several of them took off their animal skin garments, revealing refreshing swimwear underneath. You ungrateful bunch. Wonka stood up, indignant. The leader trains us hard for our sake. The girls immediately began teasing. Oh, looks like our squad leader's defending the leader now. Wonku, you're acting strange. So aloof with suitors before, but now protecting the leader like this. You've fallen for him, haven't you? Better put your name down for the next wife selection. Yuri talking nonsense. Wonka's face was flushed beach red as she turned away, sulking. Watching the playful chaos, I cleared my throat. Seems like you all have energy to spare, I said flatly. An extra 50 slashes for everyone. New leader. The girls scattered like birds taking flight. After pacing the camp to evaluate our progress, I felt a sense of accomplishment. The perimeter fence had taken shape, securing an area over 100 square meters. Even better, Teacher Chen reinforced the gaps with thorny vines. Not bad, I acknowledged with a nod. In one corner of the camp, Jana was brewing a dark green liquid. She approached with a leaf-wrapped parcel. This is made with materials exchanged for those poisonous mushrooms, she explained. Simple corrosive bomb. Grade, rare. Effect, shatters upon throwing, splashing within a 1-meter radius. Applies corrosion, poison, and paralysis effects. Let's test it out, I suggested. Jana hurled one at a rock. Splatter. Green liquid burst forth, accompanied by searing sounds and wisps of smoke. The once solid rock quickly dissolved, leaving a bullseyed pit within half a minute. Hiss. The onlookers collectively sucked in their breaths. Jana, excellent work, I praised. Make as many as you can. Her cheeks flushed at the compliment. We still have enough materials, she said. I can make a few dozen a day. I was thrilled. A single poisonous mushroom that would have only been lethal to one person could now yield over a dozen bombs. Even if enemies doubled in number, we'd make sure they never left alive. Everyone in the camp was absorbed in their respective roles. Tang Wei had repaired looted weapons to like-new condition and ascended to level 2 as a blacksmith, unlocking blueprints for an actual forge. Yi Shiner led the medical team, scouring the forest for herbs and crafting an upgraded hemostatic ointment twice as effective as before. With the vibrant hum of productivity all around, people were so engrossed that they forgot about lunch. I went around distributing smoked wolf meat as makeshift rations. Under a large tree, I noticed Su Qingmei perched among the branches like an alert little cat. As I approached, she slid down, agile and nimble. You caught me, Su Qingmei said, a faint blush creeping onto her alabaster cheeks. I was scouting for signs of movement. Stand high, see far right. Clearing her throat to regain composure, her expression turned serious. I didn't see anything unusual, she admitted, but I have a bad feeling. My heart tightened. Su Qingmei's occupation as a seer lent her instincts sharper than most. Let's proceed cautiously, I reassured her, handing over some food. I'll take a look from a higher vantage point. I scaled a taller tree with ease, my enhanced strength and reflexes proving invaluable. From the treetop, the camp below resembled a neatly arranged miniature model, surrounded by endless forest. We need to build a lookout tower, I thought, making mental notes. But as I prepared to descend, a faint glimmer at the forest's edge caught the corner of my eye. Roughly 300 meters away, some bushes swayed ever so slightly. Subtly, but not naturally. With rhythm, with deliberate intent. Suddenly, the pieces clicked. People. Within moments, I spotted 2, then 3 more silhouettes breaking from the shadows. I counted 8. Could it be Scarface's crew? They found us this quickly? Adrenaline surged. I slid down the trunk swiftly, calling out loudly as my feet hit the ground. Enemy attack. Everyone, behind the barricade, battle positions. The once bustling camp froze. Fear washed over the girls' pale faces, but to their credit, training had reduced their panic. Grab your weapons. Wang Ku rallied, springing into action, helping distribute Jana's bombs. Everyone crouched low behind the fence, eyes locked on the forest edge, tense with anticipation. The woods were eerily still. Only the rustling leaves answered the heavy silence. Seeing their taut expressions, I offered in a calm tone. Stay steady. This might just be a false alarm. Could be wandering survivors passing through. The words had barely faded. Clear voices of conversation drifted from the woods. Huh? There's actually a tribe here, came a curious and youthful male voice. Another voice, calm and composed. Xiao Boyu, we'd better leave quickly. Don't meddle in things, Xiao Boyu retorted immediately. No need, right? Since we're here, we might as well meet the people here. We're all from Blue Star. Maybe we can even join forces in the future. Everyone behind the fence froze. The tone of this conversation didn't match the ferocity of the Brotherhood gang. For a moment, my guard lifted slightly. Judging from their words, this group didn't seem like they were from the Brotherhood. After all, those outlaws wouldn't have joined forces in their vocabulary. Whether they were friends or foes was still unknown. And this name, Xiao Boyu, it rang a faint bell. I motioned for everyone behind me to stay calm and got up to take a look. No way. Joanna grabbed my arm, her eyes filled with worry. She stood up and looked over to Wang Ku, who was holding a machete. Wang Ku, Gu Xinran, she called out. Let's go together. She also enlisted a few hunters and some brave young women. All right. Without hesitation, Wang Ku and the others stood by my side. Lin Bing silently followed behind, her AK slung across her back. With this powerful fighter accompanying us, Joanna felt a bit of relief. I pushed open the wooden gate. The 7 young figures standing outside were startled and immediately took a step back. 4 males, 3 females, all around their early 20s. Their clothes were tattered, their faces smeared with dirt, but their spirits were strong, each holding a weapon like a machete or an axe. The cleanest among them was a bespectacled boy leading the group. When he saw us, Xiao Boyu froze. Pushing up his glasses, he was just about to speak when his eyes landed on Joanna, Gu Xinran, and Tang Yuqing. His words stuck in his throat. Though nervous, the girls stood there dazzling in appearance. Xiao Boyu's Adam's apple bobbed as shock and envy flickered in his eyes. "Hello, I'm Xiao Boyu," he said. "Leader of Tribe 777. My special class is Fire Manipulator. Killed a giant bear with a single move before. How should I address you, brother, and your lovely companions?" I frowned. The way he spoke reeked of arrogance, especially his deliberate emphasis on having a special class and boasting about killing a giant bear with one move. A classic case of someone who just needs to show off. "Leon," I said curtly, offering just my name. "My class. That's classified information, not something I'd casually share." Xiao Boyu detected my indifference, his sense of superiority only growing stronger. In his view, someone unwilling to mention their class was likely saddled with a mediocre one. At that moment, a girl in his group suddenly spoke up. "Wang Ku. Is that you, Wang Ku?" The girl was tall, her face streaked with mud, but her eyes shining brightly. Wang Ku hesitated for a second, recognition flashing across her face. "Shen Yuxiue," she exclaimed, her face lighting up in surprise. "It's really you." The two embraced tightly, clearly old friends. Relieved, I gestured for the rest of their group. "It's not safe out here. Come in and have some water." The big guy in Xiao Boyu's team hesitated. "Boss you, could this be dangerous?" But Xiao Boyu shrugged it off. He had absolute confidence in his fire manipulator abilities. Plus, given that most of the people here were women, he felt pretty assured. With a wave of his hand, he led his group inside. Around the campfire, the two groups sat opposite each other. Wang Ku and Shin Yuxiue continued whispering as if catching up on lost time. Through their conversation, I learned that they were all students from Jiangxing First High School. Xiao Boyu, in particular, was the city's top scorer in the college entrance exam. That's why his name had sounded familiar. My relatives had mentioned it ad nauseum back then. Jiangxing First High, the best high school in the city. For the elite only, either rich or outrageously smart. During the exams, I had been placed at their test site and had gotten first-hand experience of the condescension this group carried in their bones. Suddenly, everything clicked. Xiao Boyu's smugness, pure upbringing. He took a sip of water, then began pointing out apparent flaws in our camp. "The fence is too short. You don't have a lookout tower. You wouldn't be able to react in time during a beast attack." Feigning an air of expertise, his gaze kept darting to the girls. Then, he noticed Su Qingmei in a corner. The girl bore a striking resemblance to a distinguished debutante from the Su family, someone Xiao had only caught a glimpse of once, distantly, at a gala. They hadn't even exchanged words. That memory lit a greedier glow in his eyes. His taunts grew sharper, clearly an attempt to grab Su Qingmei's attention. I remained silent, letting him ramble. Sneering at the campfire's wolf meat, he remarked, "Wolf meat? Sour and tough. What's so great about eating that? Back when I killed a giant bear, the roasted bear's paw was dripping with grease. That's what I called delicious." His teammates chimed in with praises while the girls exchanged looks of disbelief. Gu Xinran rolled her eyes so hard it looked like they might get stuck. Had I not stopped her, she would have fired a backlash right then and there. Not wanting to waste any more time, I interrupted and stood up. "Since you all have a base to return to, we won't hold you up. We can share major updates with each other in the future, but," my tone turned cold, "don't show up uninvited at our camp again. From now on, that'll count as a hostile invasion." Xiao Boyu's expression soured instantly. No one had ever dared to humiliate him like this before, not in his entire life. What infuriated him even more was how, despite his boasting about being the top scorer and having a special class, none of the women here batted an eye. Rising to match my and the girls' coordinated motion, our stance was clear. "Still not leaving?" The big guy tugged on Zhao's arm nervously. "Boss you, maybe it's time to go." Xiao Boyu's gaze lingered on the girls, particularly Su Qingmei and Joanna. Summoning his courage, he stepped past me and approached Joanna directly. "Joanna, we actually won a prize together in that essay competition before. You were the class monitor, and I was the student council president. What do you say we add each other as friends?" He reached for his system interface, intending to make the request. The girls looked at him, stunned. They weren't used to witnessing such thick-skinned behavior. Joanna glanced at me, then took half a step back. "Sorry, Leon is our tribe leader. If you need something, speak to him." Xiao Boyu opened his mouth, only for Gu Xinran to charge forward and shove him back. "Have you no shame? Can't you tell you're not welcome here?" Xiao Boyu stumbled into the big guy's arms, both embarrassed and fuming. "Girlfriend, you came to poach my people but ended up challenging the leader?" The girls instantly exploded. "Being a top scorer in the college entrance exam makes you special? With this kind of terrible character? And you're the student council president? More like the president of the Paw Patrol. Looks decent but is so off-putting. Such a disappointment." Xiao Boyu's face turned beet red. "You all." He was trembling with anger, pointing at Gu Xinran and unable to say anything. "What? Can't handle a little criticism?" Gu Xinran crossed her arms, raised her chin, and challenged mockingly. "Want to throw hands? Bring it on." I stood there with my Miao Dao sword in hand, silently exuding an intense threat. The big guy behind Xiao Boy broke into a nervous sweat, quickly holding him back. "Brother, you forget it. Let's just go. Xin Yushui. Come on, let's leave," the big guy urged. Xin Yushui hesitated, looking between Wang Ku and Xiao Boyu, before her teammates dragged her away. Xiao Boyu was forcibly pulled out of the camp, glaring back with venomous hatred, as if he'd devour me on the spot if given the chance. When they were gone, Joanna approached me. "I'm really not familiar with Xiao Boyu," she said. "Only saw him once during a competition." I ruffled her hair. "I know. All right, everyone, let's disperse." I clapped, dismissing the group. The girls scattered, excitedly chatting about the drama that had just unfolded. Wonka stayed behind, hesitant. "What's on your mind?" I asked. "Leader," she began nervously. "Just now, Yushui told me about Xiao Boyu's rules." She bit her lip, continuing. "He equally distributes all resources, and we have to complete tasks to earn contribution points. But the life professions, the ones toiling endlessly, earn way fewer points compared to combat professions, just from killing a single beast. Many people can't even get enough to eat." Joanna and Gu Xinran overheard and stopped to listen. The worst part, Wang Ke's voice began to shake with anger. "He forces women to fulfill men's needs in exchange for contribution points." "What? An animal?" The girls were shocked, turning their attention to me. They reflected on how our tribe was never treated unfairly and felt a wave of gratitude. I scoffed coldly. "Academics can weed out the underqualified, but they can't weed out scum." Wang Ke hesitated before continuing. "Yu Shui is very pretty, so she's been intentionally making herself dirty just to avoid any of their harassment." Then, as if summoning courage, Wang Ke looked directly at me. "Leader, can I make a request?" "Go ahead." Her face flushed as she trotted closer, whispering in my ear. "Leader, Xiao Boyu can't have gone too far yet. Why don't you, you know, take Yu Shui as your wife? She's not safe there. And if the leader agrees." She hesitated. "I wouldn't mind being your wife together with her." The Miao Dao sword I was holding clattered to the ground. What in the world was this bold suggestion? Seeing my stunned expression, Wang Ke hurriedly added, "Leader, I'm serious. I'd be willing to share with Yu Shui." Ahem, ahem. I quickly interrupted her, pulling her aside. "I believe you," I said, halting her further embarrassment. Wang Ke blushed furiously, stealing glances at Joanna and the others, letting out a soft sigh of relief. I forced my thoughts away from dangerous territory, triggers from my overly healthy kidney. With looming threats from the Black Mountain Gang, this wasn't the time for such thoughts. Calming myself, I acknowledged the strategic value of her suggestion. Xiao Boyu, now humiliated, would undoubtedly look to retaliate. Someone familiar with our grounds, lurking in shadows, was a dangerous enemy. Additionally, if we could bring Xin Yushui into our fold, we'd gain invaluable intelligence on their camp. "Contact your friend first," I told Wang Ke. "See if she's willing to come here. If she wants to join us, our tribe will always have a place for her," I said firmly. I added with a cheeky smirk, "But as for being my wife, that's unnecessary. There's no sweetness in something forced." Taking advantage of the moment, I slipped an arm around Wang Ke's waist, placing my chin near her shoulder. "And yet," I teased softly near her ear, "if you're interested in being my wife, I'd always welcome it." Wang Ke froze, trembling for a second, then sank into my arms as her heartbeat raced audibly. I'm willing," she mumbled faintly. For a moment, we simply stood there in silence, embracing. But then she hesitantly pushed me away. "Leader," she whispered, motioning towards her interface. "Yu Shui?" She messaged me back. Seeing nothing inappropriate, I released her, though her face was still a deep shade of red. She said, "The Black Mountain Gang is on its way here." Wang Ke blurted, "What?" "Everyone, prepare for battle." I shouted immediately. Although the girls weren't sure what had happened, they moved swiftly to heed the directive. Xiao Boyu crossed paths with the Black Mountain Gang. Wang Ku explained hastily. Mistaking his group for ours, they attacked him. To save himself, Xiao Boyu ratted out our camp and even claimed we had lots of beautiful women here. They spared him and are now charging directly toward us. "That rat bastard." Gu Xinran fumed. "He'll pay for this someday," I said, rallying our focus. "But right now, the real enemy is the Black Mountain Gang." Lin Bing. I turned to her. "What's the status of the traps?" "They're ready in all 4 directions," she affirmed. Joanna chimed in. "Mushroom bombs have been distributed. Everyone has at least 2. Medical teams ready on standby," another girl added. "Good," I acknowledged, calming slightly. But I didn't want anyone getting hurt unnecessarily. So, adjusting our positions and strategy one final time, I issued my orders. "EON, take a bow and head up to the tree line. Those good in close combat, follow me to hide in the tall grass outside the camp. The rest, defend from behind the barricades and wait for my signal." I turned to Joanna. "You'll lead the charge with the bombs. Don't hold back. Use them all if you have to. As the late afternoon chill crept in, I crouched silently in the grass some 30 meters from the camp perimeter. My body melded with the shadows alongside Wang Ku and 3 other female hunters, each armed with machetes. We were the ambush squad. While the others distracted from a distance, we'd charge in at the enemy's blind spots and strike lethal blows. From the dense forest 500 meters away, we heard the faint echo of crude voices approaching steadily. Through the dense forest, they moved. At the forefront was a muscular, bald man with a bare, scarred chest. His body screamed intimidation, with a vicious black dragon tattoo sprawling from his chest to his arm. This was Lei Kuan, the boss of the Black Mountain Gang, a sworn brother of the infamous scar-faced knife guy. Trailing him were more than 20 lackeys, exuding menace. Their bodies were inked with various tattoos, and they carried an arsenal of cleavers, axes, and 4 of them even had AK-47s slung across their backs. It was these 4 guns that cemented their confidence, making them feel invincible, even against anyone with special combat skills. Damn it, Lei Kuan growled, spitting on the ground. Those students better not have made a fool out of us. We've been walking forever, not even a shadow in sight. Just then, a slim figure darted out from the trees ahead. Kunch. The scout panted, excitement painted on his face. I found it. There's a campsite just up ahead, exactly where that kid said it would be. There's even a bonfire lit. Oh, Lei Kuan halted, rubbing his bald head. Well, seems like they weren't lying after all. Another burly man with rows of scar tissue across his chest sneered nastily. Kunch, that Xia Boyu kid also said the camp is filled with young, beautiful female students, prime targets, each one of them young and tender. This time, we hit the jackpot. The man's vulgar words fanned the group's spirits. The gang had already raided a small village once before, slaughtering all the men and dragging away women as their playthings. This time, though, the plan carried even more weight. The camp ahead was said to also house the people responsible for Lei Kuan's brother's death. Hatred and lust burned brighter within his eyes. Knife Scar and my brother's murders will be avenged tonight. Lei Kuan's voice was as cold as the steel weapon in his hand. He licked his lips, almost savoring the upcoming bloodshed. That kid named Leon. I'll chop him up myself and leave his scraps for the wolves. Swinging his machete, which gleamed menacingly under the moonlight, he barked orders. Stay sharp. Full speed ahead. Listen closely. Leave no man alive. And the women, not a scratch on them, got it. I crouched low, ears attuned to the escalating sound of footsteps and snapping branches in the distance. They're here, Wang Ke whispered as he crouched beside me, his voice barely audible. I gave him a silent nod, muscles taut as steel. Soon, packs of figures emerged from the woods. At least over 20, fewer than I expected. But those 4 AK-47s, it wasn't good. If it were just melee weapons, I could probably fight and hold my own. But once firearms came into play, it was a whole other story. I placed my hopes on our traps, praying they'd take out at least a few before anything escalated too far. The gang strolled directly toward the campsite, oblivious as to what was written ahead. Lei Kuan and his men broke through the edge of the treeline. Their narrowed eyes fell onto the crude wooden fence enclosing the encampment. The area was deathly silent, save for the quiet crackle of the bonfire. Not a single soul in sight. Where is everyone? One of Lei Kuan's men muttered, glancing around suspiciously. He furrowed his brow. The uneasy silence gnawed at him. Probably all out hunting, speculated another lackey, his tone dismissive. Good for us. Less resistance. The vulgar tone returned, as he added, leering. Who knows? Maybe a few of the women stayed behind to keep watch. Heh. Lei Kuan smirked, but remained careful. Move. Get that door open. The command cut through the still air like a cleaver. 2 towering figures rushed forward, blades ready and confidence unchecked. Neither spared even a thought that this shoddy fence might pose a problem. Laughing loudly, they jockeyed for who would have the honor of storming in first. One raised a booted foot, preparing to kick the flimsy structure wide open. But before his foot could land, crack. The ground beneath him gave out. He plummeted into a hidden pit and immediately screamed as sharpened stakes pierced through his body. His partner skidded to a stop, horrified. A heartbeat later, crack, snap. More mechanisms triggered, and a flurry of wooden spikes shot upward. A second scream ended before it even fully formed, and the man fell, lifeless, beside his comrade. Panic spread among the group, who staggered to a halt, stunned by the deaths of their companions. What the hell? Lei Kuan roared, slamming a heavy slap across the face of the smart-mouthed thug who had suggested walking in unapologetically. Didn't you say it was safe, asshole? You call this safe? It must have been old traps, for hunting animals. I swear, the lackey stammered, holding his reddened cheek, practically on the verge of tears. They're one use only, Kunch. They're spent now, really. Lei Kuan glared but pushed the matter aside, carefully signaling his crew to advance. Every step was taken cautiously, nerves stretched taut. When they finally reached the fence, Lei Kuan couldn't help but sneer. What kind of defense is this? This pitiful excuse for a barricade won't stop me. Brandishing his machete high, he struck toward the wooden posts. But before the blade could connect, shadows surged from behind the fence. 1, 2, 10, 20, over 30 girls rose up from the concealment, staring daggers at them. Lei Kuan froze, caught entirely off guard. Where had all these people come from? Throw! This sharp command, from a girl called Joanna, rang loud. The next moment filled with chaos. From every direction, makeshift bundles were hurled into the air, wet, leafy dumplings wrapped tight. Lei Kuan reacted instantly, deploying his energy shield just before the bundles burst against it. Splat! Acidic juices spilled over the shield, steaming and hissing menacingly. Some lackeys weren't so lucky. Skins sizzled, blackened, and melted as they writhed on the ground in agony. Blood-curdling screams filled the air. Lei Kuan, unscathed thanks to his shield, snarled, "Open fire. Kill them all." The men wielding AK-47s complied, unstrapping their rifles and unloading bullets into the air. Amidst the chaos, bloodstained clothes. Rat-a-tat. 3 short bursts of gunfire erupted from the corner of the camp. Lin Bing steadied her gun. Standing in the shadows of a shack, she retaliated. Her marksmanship was leagues ahead of those thugs. Gunfire cracked, and bodies dropped. 3 large men hit the ground, precise shots to the forehead, lifeless. Whoosh, whoosh. 2 sharp whistles cut through the air from the treetops. Ionia had taken aim at the gunman mid-reload. Arrows pierced through wrists. 2 AK-47s clattered to the ground. The time had come. I gestured a signal. The next second, like a panther, I sprang forth. My blade shimmered, cold and sharp, aimed straight for the enemy's flank. Wang Ku and the others followed closely behind. Lei Kuan, initially stunned by the swift takedown of his gunners, turned, only to see 5 figures emerging at his flank. It was a trap. Fury ignited in his chest. I was already in motion, charging toward the flank. 2 large men just began to react. A flash of cold steel. Squelch. A thin line of blood appeared across their throats. They collapsed. I didn't stop. The tip of my blade zeroed in on a 3rd man's chest. 3 strikes. 3 down. I stood before Lei Kuan. "You've got guts. Setting an ambush for me." Lei Kuan roared with a twisted grin. "Not just an ambush," I said, voice freezing cold. "I'm here to end you." Before the last word fell, I moved. The blade of my Miao Dao aimed straight for his throat. Lei Kuan's left hand shot up. A small metal shield unfolded. A blue energy barrier absorbed the blade's impact. Clang. Sparks flew. Numbing pain shot through my hand. But I didn't retreat. With a twist of my wrist, the blade slid downward toward his right arm. Lei Kuan's machete came slashing upward. Clang. I was pushed back half a step. What strength! His machete swung in large, heavy arcs, each strike carrying raw power. My Miao Dao was nimble and quick, searching for an opening. Blade clashed against blade. Sparks flew. "Ha! Do you think you can beat me at blade work?" Lei Kuan laughed maniacally. He was biding his time, planning to take me hostage for leverage. My hand screamed in pain. My arm felt like it was about to break. But something surged within me, a strange sensation. The deeper I fought, the more my understanding of blade techniques grew. Each movement became sharper, more efficient. The bottleneck of my mastery was loosening. Just a little more. "Let's go?" Battle intent flared to life. Behind the barricade. "Jana, quickly throw a grenade and blow him up." Gu Xinran shouted, panicked. Jana moved, but was stopped by Lin Bing's firm grip on her shoulder. "Don't." Lin Bing's tone was ice cold. "Leon needs this fight." "But what if he can't win?" Jana's voice was fraught with worry. Lin Bing steadied her gun, drawing a bead on Lei Kuan. "If he can't win, I'll take the shot. Don't interrupt him." Reluctantly, Jana hesitated, her eyes glued to Leon. Her palms were slick with sweat. Back at the battlefield. Clang, clang, clang. I transitioned from defending against Lei Kuan's assaults to deftly parrying and maneuvering. Each of his massive, crushing strikes was anticipated and neutralized with precision. In my mind, insights into blade techniques flooded in like a tidal wave. This was it. Lei Kuan brought his blade down in another fierce swing. I sidestepped, narrowly avoiding his machete. My Miao Dao lashed out like a venomous snake, tracing a deadly arc along his arm. Too fast. Lei Kuan had no time to react. The blade was mere moments from slicing his throat. Ding. Congratulations. Your blade mastery has reached perfection. A system notification chimed. Congratulations. Upgraded to level 3 Blood Warrior. Physical attributes increased. New skills available for selection. Weapon upgrade initiated. Heat surged from my chest, radiating throughout my body. The fatigue weighing me down vanished instantly. The jump from level 3 wasn't as drastic as level 2. It felt like the equivalent strength gained from slaying 7 or 8 creatures. But the transformation of my Miao Dao was beyond shocking. The silvery white blade was now etched with crimson patterns. From the hilt to the tip, faintly glowing blood red runes formed. At the base of the handle, a large blood-colored crystal the size of a pigeon egg emerged. The entire blade emanated an aura that was both ominous and exquisite. It radiated lethal energy. Blood Drinker Blade, epic, purple. Special effect, Blood Feast. The more blood it absorbs through combat, the stronger its power becomes, up to a 30% boost. Next upgrade, slay 3 elite creatures. In mere milliseconds, my blade hovered at Lei Kuan's throat. Sweat streamed down his face. His eyes darted to the eerie transformation of my weapon. Terror consumed him. Wait. Don't kill me. His voice was shrill with fear. I know the secrets of this world. If you spare me, I'll tell you everything. The blade pressed closer. It nicked his skin. Lei Kuan trembled violently. He knew begging was futile. Gritting his teeth, his right hand shot toward me. His machete swung toward my waist in desperation. I had anticipated it. Blood burst slash. The Blood Drinker blade erupted with red light. An overwhelming surge of energy coursed through the weapon. Squelch. Lei Kuan's head flew high into the air. His face frozen in disbelief. His headless body crumpled. The battle was over. From behind the barricade, cheers erupted from the girls. We did it. Leon, you're amazing. The group celebrated, exhilarated, embracing each other. Ionia leapt down from her perch in the tree. Gu Shinran tugged Yul along. Leon, over here, she called, waving. I was pulled into the crowd, squished between Gu Shinran and Yul. The scent of flowers and the warmth of proximity momentarily froze me. I smiled, basking in the sweetness of victory. But only for a moment. Clapping my hands, I called for order. Don't celebrate just yet. Search the area. Gather the spoils. The girls' eyes lit with determination as they got to work. During their cleanup, they found one scrawny man barely alive. He had corrosive burns scarring his calf, curling in agony on the ground. Don't kill me. I surrender, he pleaded, panicked. I crouched down, tapping his cheek with the blade's flat side. Wanna live? He nodded fervently. Then tell me where the Black Mountain Gang's camp is. He hesitated. If I tell you, will you really let me go? My smile widened coldly. Say it, and I'll make your death quick. I tilted the Blood Drinker blade, letting it glint menacingly under the light. The crimson runes pulsed ominously. Don't, and I'll bleed you slowly. Let you watch as the blade drains every last drop of your blood. The last remnant of his mental defenses crumbled. Tool tell you. Everything. He stammered out the location of their camp. Spoke of the 10 remaining members. And the women they had taken captive. Good. I stood. Squelch. With a single motion, his pleas were silenced. 7 kills in the bag. My strength climbed again. Lastly, it was time for the loot. I snagged Lei Kuan's metallic shield from his corpse. Energy shield, rare blue. Effect. Generates an energy barrier to absorb damage. Requires 24 hours to recharge after depletion. A potential lifesaver in critical moments. Into my inventory it went. Next, there was the machete. Blade. The Berserker's Edge. A blue elite weapon. Too heavy. Not suitable for me to wield. Opened Lei Kuan's backpack. The contents were a motley collection. Silk, women's undergarments, wood and stones, even fresh venison and lamb. I transferred everything but the women's clothes to my own pack. Seeing the fresh meat, I made up my mind. After dealing with Xiao Boyu and the Black Mountain Guild, we'd gather a team to hunt. I had enough of eating wolf meat. It was awful. The sky grew dim. The girls, under Lin Bing's direction, were dealing with the corpses. From the shacks, a few more women were dragged out. Their bodies bore the marks of brutal mistreatment. Crack. The goblin twisted their necks. These women were incredible. So pale and tender. Too bad, the priest insisted. The great winter is coming. We can't keep live prisoners. Kill them all for rations. We've already wiped out 2 human villages. Enough supplies to outlast the winter. My pupils shrank. The great winter? We've just arrived here. The newbie period is already gone. What's worse? A 2-meter-tall massive goblin suddenly froze. Its enormous nose twitched a few times. It sharply turned toward the bushes. Damn it. The gigantic goblin pointed at 2 of its underlings. I smell prey. Go check it out. Yes, boss. The 2 goblins grinned maliciously, picking up their spiked clubs, heading our way. Elonia clung tightly to my arm, trembling all over. Leon, what do we do? The 2 girls beside her were on the verge of tears. Wonka hurriedly covered their mouths. What's there to fear? It's just 2 green-skinned monsters. We've got the chief with us. The girls slowly calmed down. My earlier fierce battle against Lei Kuan had left an impression on them. Chief, what now? We'll follow your lead. The goblins drew closer. I spoke quickly. I'll take down these 2 first. When the rest charge in, we'll toss out Jonah's explosives. Relief washed over everyone. The knock-kneed goblins approached. I whispered, move. I sprung into action like a bullet. The Blood Drinker blade released an eerie crimson glow. Just as confusion spread across the goblins' faces, the blade had already struck. Splat, splat. 2 green heads soared into the air. Black and yellow blood splattered everywhere. Instant annihilation. Using momentum, I rolled and landed a few meters away. The blood drinker blade was razor sharp, but I noticed a slight resistance. These creatures' defenses were twice that of an ordinary human. From the distance, the brawny goblin saw its subordinates decapitated. It froze momentarily and then roared. Roar! Its gaze locked firmly on me. Ilonia, Wang Ku, and the others stood up. The 6 goblins got a clear look at this group of women, freezing in place, even smothered in dirt. The women's extraordinary beauty and figures shone through. Their pale skin glistened in the firelight, a fatal allure to the grotesque goblins. Women, human women, even fairer and softer than the last ones. Capture them. Drool trailed down the goblin's fangs, their eyes filled with greedy lust. The brawny goblin raised its stone axe. Go, kill the men, and seize the women. Arg! 6 goblins, swinging their weapons, charged. Throw! I commanded. Wang Ku, Ilonia, and the others hurled corrosive bombs. The bombs dropped along the goblin's path. Splat! Splat! Red liquid splattered everywhere. Yet the anticipated screams never came. The corrosive liquid only caused their skin to sizzle faintly, failing to cause any severe damage. The goblins howled in pain, hesitating for only a moment before resuming their charge. Their thick hides were resistant to corrosion. How is this possible? Wonku exclaimed. Swish. Ilonia released an arrow glowing with fire. The arrow, a skill of her second-tier ranger class, elemental arrow. The fiery arrow pierced through a goblin's hand, embedding itself in its left eye. Arf! The flame spread, engulfing its entire head. The goblin collapsed on the ground, writhing, before quickly going still. But the remaining 5 had nearly closed the distance. Forget the bombs. Engage in close combat. I shouted. Wang Ku and the 3 huntresses transitioned to blades. I confronted 3 goblins Hedon, activating Blood Mist Domain. A 3-meter radius around me filled with a bloody haze. The goblins, losing sight of their target, wildly swung their weapons. I moved like a ghost through the mist. Splat! One head flew off, with a quick counterslash. Another goblin's chest bore a bone-deep gash. Wonka faced off against another goblin, activating strength amplification. Warm energy surged through her, boosting her power significantly. Die! She swung her blade upward, meeting the goblin's stone axe in a fierce clash. Clang! Sparks flew. The force pushed against her palms, making them ache. Yet she held her ground. The goblin hesitated briefly. How is this woman so strong? Wonka sidestepped and slid, plunging her short blade into its ribs. Nearby, 3 average female hunters were being forced back by the remaining goblin. The swing of its spiked club was overwhelming, leaving them only capable of barely dodging. Their bodies quickly bore fresh wounds. As the blood mist dissipated, I re-emerged. A single strike eliminated the 3rd goblin. Just as I turned to help, the brawny goblin moved, and its target me. The worst part was, my focus was entirely elsewhere. Leah had just been struck by a spiked club, sent flying. Another girl was about to have her head smashed in. In the nick of time, I decapitated the last ordinary goblin. A warm surge coursed through me, my strength increasing yet again. Look out, Chief! Leah screamed, pointing behind me. Every hair on my body stood on end. I desperately tried to turn around. The next moment, Ilonia was sent flying, slamming into the ground. Her shoulder bore a gruesome, bone-deep wound. Blood stained her fur hide. Had it not been for her bow deflecting part of the blow, she would have been cleaved in 2. Ilonia! I roared, my eyes wide with rage. My mind went blank. She had defended me without hesitation. Bear the full brunt of the attack. It was she who had initiated our breakup. Her words resolute, our connection severed. Since we arrived in this world, her demeanor had done a complete turnaround, resembling the devotion of our early relationship. I had always assumed she was acting. If she truly cared, why break up in the first place? So I'd been indifferent. But now, seeing her lying in a pool of blood, for the first time, I wavered. Could there have been more to the story? Countless thoughts flashed through my mind, but they all faded away, setting on her pale face. She used to cry just at the sight of a needle. And now, biting down hard on my lip, I forced myself not to cry out loud. Rage surged through my chest like a wildfire. Wonku, apply the healing salve on Ione. I barked. And this lowlife, leave it to me. My eyes turned red, fury boiling inside. The goblin brute grinned wickedly, an expression of scorn spread across his grotesque face. A pitiful human like you dares to look at me like that? It sneered, as if amused. It had already decided my fate. First, sever my limbs. Next, make me helplessly watch as it tormented the women. Then, kill them one by one. Only afterward would it finish me off. It smirked wider at its cruel thoughts. But in the next moment, its grin froze. I disappeared from sight, instantaneously reappearing right in front of it. The blood-drinking blade in my hand blazed with fiery vengeance as it descended. What the hell are you laughing at? I snarled. Ugly bastard. The goblin brute's ridicule evaporated, replaced by panic. Scrambling, It raised its stone axe across its chest and activated its defensive skill. A dull yellow aura enveloped its body, hardening its skin to a rock-like texture. But against the fury of my blood rage slash, its efforts were futile. Saturated with the blood absorbed through countless slaughters, the blood-drinking blade hit its peak attack power. Crack! The stone axe splintered into pieces upon impact. The blade, gleaming crimson, tore through the faint yellow defense aura. This can't be. The goblin brute muttered in sheer disbelief. Slash! The blade cleaved from its neck down in a diagonal arc. Its bones were indeed durable. The blade got jammed midway along its ribs, and I couldn't slice it entirely in half. But it was enough. Its head hung askew, barely attached by strands of torn skin and sinew. Its gleaming yellow eyes were filled with confusion and unwillingness. How could a mere human possess such unstoppable power? The goblin's massive frame crashed to the ground, lifeless. Without sparing it a glance, I immediately spun around and crouched by Iona's side. Ione, are you okay? Grabbing the salve, I began treating her wounds without hesitation. Her leather tunic slipped off one shoulder, revealing snow-white skin and a gash so deep her bone was visible. Blood continued dripping from the laceration. Iona's face was pale, damp with cold sweat. And yet, she bit her lip hard, refusing to make a sound. She met my gaze as I rushed over, her previously dim eyes suddenly lit with a spark of hope. Her mouth curved upward into the faintest smile. Lions, I'm fine. Not gonna die. She reached out with her uninjured hand and grabbed mine. It was ice cold to the touch, and I felt my chest tighten. Iona stared into my reddened eyes, searching deeply, and mustered the strength to ask. Back there, you were that mad for me. Does that mean you still have feelings for me? The air grew heavy. I froze. What should I say? Yes? But wasn't it her who ended things? Wasn't it her who pushed me away with the most hurtful words imaginable? No. Looking at her fragile, weakened state, I couldn't bring myself to utter the words. You're overthinking. I inhaled deeply and pulled my hand back. You're my clanmate. You came out here with me, so of course I'm responsible for you. If it were Wang Ku, Leah, or anyone else injured, I'd have done the same. The faint light in her eyes instantly dimmed. Her hand fell limp back to her side, and her smile turned forlorn. It's okay. As long as there's still a little bit of space for me in your heart. That's enough for me. I sighed, at a loss for words. Just then, Leah's voice broke the silence. Chief, come quick. There's something glowing in these monster corpses. Walking over to the goblin brute's body, I spotted the source, a fist-sized glow emanating from its chest. Cutting through its torso with my blood-drinking blade, I pulled out a dull yellow, diamond-shaped stone radiating a soft light. Ding! Congratulations on obtaining your first elite-grade mana core. Elite-grade mana core, an energy crystal formed within the bodies of elite-tier creatures and above. A vital strategic resource in this world. Ranks include Common, Elite, Commander, and Monarch. Usable by the blacksmith profession for synthesis. Combine 10 low-tier cores to forge 1 higher-tier core. Note, can be used to upgrade skills, enhance buildings, enchant gear, and more. Don't miss your chance. My heart raced. Upgrade skills. Instantly, I thought of Wang Ku and the others. With ordinary classes, skill slots were precious. Every level up meant rolling for a new ability. But a bad roll, a useless skill, wasted a permanent slot forever. Now, with mana cores, we could gain a redo option. Mana cores were absolute game changers. Chief, Wonka called excitedly. The smaller goblins have them too. They just glow weaker and are smaller. The other girls had already dissected 8 goblin corpses, collecting faintly glowing common-grade mana cores. Great job. Elite creatures dropping elite mana cores. Common creatures dropping common mana cores. Fairly logical. Looking around at the blood-soaked battlefield, I recalled Jana's corrosive bomb. Don't waste any of the corpses. Bag everything, including their weapons. At my command, the group began gathering up goblin remains, stone axes, wooden clubs, and anything else of use. Meanwhile, Leah emerged from the goblin hut with something in tow, 3 sheep and a yak. Chief, she pointed toward the broken doorway behind her. The goblins went into this cabin, but they left these animals untouched. The air grew still. Wonka's lips trembled. They only eat humans? I nodded grimly. Seems likely. After counting the spoils, we prepared to set off for home. Leading the livestock ahead, the girls moved steadily. Ione, however, hobbled over to me. Her large, watery eyes fixated straight on mine. Our gazes momentarily locked. I held the silence, then sighed softly and walked back toward her. Hop on. I'll carry you, I said, crouching low. The facade she'd been holding up shattered. Tears threatened to spill from her reddening eyes, but she held them back, responding instead with a glittering smile. Without hesitation, Ione climbed onto my back, wrapping her arms tightly around my neck. Her soft body pressed against mine, and the sweet, familiar scent of her filled my lungs. My muscles briefly stiffened, especially feeling her unmistakable curves press firmly through the first stitching. Iona deliberately shifted slightly. There was no doubt in my mind she was doing it on purpose. Taking a deep breath to steady myself, I adjusted her weight, supporting her by her thighs. Hold on tight. Got it, she murmured contentedly, her face nestling into the crook of my neck. Wang Ku, Liya, and the others quickly picked up their pace, putting distance between us and creating a bubble of space. Snow began to fall gently, then progressively heavier. The wind carried snowflakes that stung where they landed on exposed skin, chilling all of us to the bone. It's snowing. Wonka pulled her furs tighter around herself. I frowned. The great winter those goblins spoke of. It was coming far too swiftly, too suddenly. Snowflakes blanketed the ground in patches, leaving an eerily peaceful silence where chaos once reigned. Cold quickly drains energy. The tribal fire can already be seen from a distance. After walking for a few more minutes, finally back at the camp. The tribal fire burns fiercely, melting the surrounding snow, forming a warm place. Girls tied the livestock to the fence. I carried Ioina and pushed open the shack door. Who? The chief is back. Panic turned into joy. The girls gathered around. It's snowing so hard outside. Come in and warm up. The team leader is crazy. Suddenly someone shouted. Ioina is injured. Everyone looked at Ioina's pale face and the bloodstained shoulder, full of shock, carefully placing her on the grass mat. The girl who practiced the physician's craft immediately gathered around. Leon, Joanna grabbed my hand. She was initially jealous seeing me carry Ioina, but touching my cold hand. All that's left is heartache. Coming back safely is more important than anything. Joanna stuck my ice-cold hand under her animal skin coat to warm it. How long did you go for? Can't contact. As soon as I sat down, my shoes were taken off. What are you doing? Gu Xinran tucked her tongue out. She pulled open the animal skin coat. She stuffed my purple foot into her arms. The chief. I'll warm it for you. Your feet are frozen like this. I wanted to pull my foot back, but Xiao Na beside me blushed and gasped. My cold hand moved in her arms. It froze. It tacitly accepted Gu Xinran's behavior. She told everyone about what happened tonight. And the worst news. When I mentioned the goblins, everyone was shocked but could accept it. But when I uttered the 3 words, Great Winter, the tent instantly fell silent. All the girls' faces turned deathly pale. It's already winter? What about food? We'll freeze to death without thick clothes. Panic spread, looking at everyone. Don't panic. It's not too late to know the news. We can prepare in advance. She took out a dozen animal skin suits and had the tailor turn them into blankets, distributed the captured weapons among everyone. Let them go to the exchange to trade for food and warm supplies. Understood, Chief. The women immediately took action. Opened the building panel. The tribal capital can be upgraded to a level 3 stone house, consuming 300 wood and 500 stones upgraded directly. A flash of white light. The stone house appeared. The walls were thick. The roof was tight. Completely windproof. Much warmer inside. Upgrade requirements. 800 stone, 5 ordinary magic crystals, seeing that level 4 unlocks a fireplace. Heartened. A fireplace in cold weather. Temperature can be greatly improved. Upgraded again. The white light dissipated. A fireplace appeared on the stone wall. Wow, what is that? A fireplace. It's really a fireplace. Cheers erupted in the shack. Yu Lu and Gu Xinran jumped excitedly. One kissed my cheek. Everyone looked at me admiringly. Once again, this man creates miracles in moments of despair. New features unlocked with level 4 stone houses, he explained with a smile. Long live the chief. With a fireplace, we won't freeze to death. The girls gathered around the fireplace. Opened the chat channel. This snow came too suddenly, instantly from summer to winter. Almost froze to death in a short-sleeved shirt. Should it stop soon? By then, the snow will melt into fresh water, and we can even pick up frozen animals. It's too cold right now. The wind can't even be blocked inside. It seems it will be tough. Most people were discussing this heavy snow. Many were quite optimistic, completely unaware of the severity of the situation. How long will this heavy snow last? They guessed it wouldn't be too long. Goblins should have experience with the harsh winter. Assuming their tribe has around 40 or 50 people. They only hunted 2 human tribes for food. It means it won't be too long. But for how many days? A week? Or longer? Hard to say. I hope it doesn't take too long, she silently prayed. Suddenly, someone poked me. It was Leah. She gave me a knowing look and pointed to the girls nearby. To the chief. They're selecting who will accompany you in the next round. Shouldn't I go see? With some confusion. Following the order, last night, it was Joanna's turn. Tonight it should be Yishiner. Walking over, she didn't even get a chance to speak before understanding. Turns out they were discussing the spots for the next day's evening event. Gu Xinyan took the lead. I want to sign up. Chief, let me go first. As Yu Lu, who was roasting by the fire, quickly thought of something and raised his hand too. Is it the second round of sign-ups? Then I'll sign up too. Gu Xinyan exploded. Slapping Yuli's, but with a slap. What do you think you're doing? I'm truly in love with the chief. And you? Yulu covered his butt, looking completely innocent. There aren't any men in this good place. I don't even get a chance to date. I can only settle for the chief. Yulu is a shootin'. If I hadn't been transported, I would never have dated in my life. There are already enough paper husband figures online. Other things can also be solved through videos and an electronic boyfriend. Although her profession isn't a minor, but on lonely nights, she often becomes one. Now she feels perfectly justified. Besides, becoming the chief's wife means I can enter draws, right? What if I get lucky and draw a legendary item? This is contributing to the tribe. That's just because you're addicted to draws. You're slandering me. The two started wrestling. It drew laughter from the crowd, lightening the tense atmosphere. On the other side, Wonku was surrounded by a few sisters trying to persuade her. Kiki, if you like him, just go for it. Look how proactive Shinran is. If you don't act soon, the chief will be snatched up by others. Wonku's gaze drifted to it finally landed in her calloused hands. She shook her head. No, I'm the tribe's main melee fighter. The chief asked me to lead the training. Having a child will affect combat. You can't be a burden. At that moment, a thin figure stood up from the corner, limped to my back. It was Epona. I rejected her last time. This time she wouldn't give up. If still refused, then sign up next time. Until agreement. Skip the girls. Gu Shinran was not surprised. Already showed feelings during the day. Yulu, however, surprised me. The two weren't very familiar. Far from sleeping in the same bed. Looked at Yuli's affinity. Only 70 points. Far behind Gu Shinran's 90 points. As for Ion, seeing her pale face and stubborn expression, heart softened. Didn't refuse this time. Nodded silently. Then let's draw lots to decide the order. Okay. Gu Shinran was so excited her heart was pounding. Yulu stroked his chin, calculating. Hope not to draw first. Still wanted to see Gu Shinran unable to stand the next day. Ion saw me nod. All strength instantly collapsed. Tears swirled in her eyes. Barely held them back with all her might. Night grew deeper. Wind and snow raged, howling like a razor. In some places, the sky did not fall snow, but hail. At the bottom of the deep mountains, the existence that should have been asleep was awakened by the cold. Deep in the cave, scaled claws scraped over the rock. A pair of eyes suddenly opened. Hibernation was forcibly interrupted. Hunger is the only instinct after waking up. Goblin tribe. In the cave, the entrance was blocked by boulders. The goblins trembled around a weak fire. Deep inside, an old goblin in ragged robes, holding a bone staff. His eyes were cunning far beyond his kind. A goblin ran over, rolling and crawling. Lord Shaman, the Akis haven't returned from hunting. We only have the food supply of one human tribe left. The shaman turned to look at the goblin leader. His cloudy eyes were full of contempt. Fool, what are you panicking about? His voice was dry, like dry leaves rubbing together. The shaman has calculated it. This winter will be unusually short. At most a week. Its thin claws stroked the human skull on the staff. A strange smile appeared on its face. But the temperature will keep getting lower. Lower than any winter before. Endure these few days. And you can go out hunting. Inside the tribal stone house, nightfall covered everything. The temperature dropped sharply, urging the women to sleep. Dozens of girls huddled together, covering themselves with large animal skin quilts to stay warm. I was covered with a wolf skin blanket alone. Yi Senora lay in my arms. Her body trembled uncontrollably. Her teeth chattered. I held her tighter. Senor, if you're scared, just sleep in my arms tonight. I won't do anything to you. The girl in my arms suddenly froze. She buried her face in my chest. Chief, am I too timid? Her voice was as soft as a mosquito's buzz. Holding on like that, wouldn't there be no rewards? A warmth spread in my heart. That's not what I mean. I'm just afraid you'll be nervous. Why don't you go join the girls? Should I call Gu Shinran over to switch shifts? As soon as the words left my mouth, I regretted it. Yi Zinyer hugged my waist tightly. Chief, don't leave. Don't replace me. Her voice was filled with tears. I'm ready. I can do it. I said no more. Lifting her body, I lowered my head slowly to kiss her. Yi Zinyer's lips were the most delicate, slightly pouted, sweet like a ripe cherry. In the moment of the kiss, her trembling body fog relaxed. Closing her eyes, she responded awkwardly. In the darkness, only the crackling of firewood and the howling wind and snow could be heard. After a while, a muffled groan was heard. The other girls maintained their silence in unison. Only the breathing rhythm was off by a beat. The system prompt sound played. Congratulations on completing, with Yi Shiner. Random reward obtained. Drawing. Obtained purple epic item. Stone War Armor. Stone War Armor quality. Epic, purple. Provides strong physical defense, significantly reduces bludgeoning and slashing damage. Active skill. Stone Firmness forms a rock armor hard, but limits speed lasts 10 minutes. Cooldown 12 hours. A note. Crafted from Earth Spirit Essence and Obsidian Indestructible, it's a defensive armor. My heart raced. It's not an item to help survive the winter. but it's quite good. I'm currently in the most need of defensive measures. The small round shield I confiscated from Lei Kun before. It's not bad in terms of defense, but the spear needs to be held with both hands to maximize damage. Lei Kun used one shield and one spear that if you hold a knife in each hand, I'm not sure I'd win that easily. Now with the bedrock armor, my survival skills have skyrocketed. Leon, Yi Xinya in my arms endured the initial pain and asked weakly, "Did I get something good? Is it useful to you?" What she cared most about was whether she had been of help. "It's incredibly useful." I stroked her back. "Xinya, you gave me the most needed thing. Defense equipment. 100 times better than the shield I had before." Yi Xinya finally showed a relieved smile. She rubbed against me in my arms, like a satisfied little cat. She soon fell asleep in exhaustion, but it was tough on me. Looking at her innocent sleeping face, I couldn't bear to disturb her anymore. Just now, to take care of her, I had only given her a light touch. I could only shift half my body out of the bedding to let the cold help me cool down. The wind was biting cold. The effect was outstanding. I adjusted my breathing, preparing to sleep. Suddenly, a faint footprint sound echoed in the darkness. The wolfskin blanket was lifted at one corner. A soft and warm figure slipped in. I froze, nervously glanced at Yi Xinya in my arms, afraid she'd be woken up. Who dared so much? I lowered my voice. Who? No response. The figure under the blanket squeezed closer to me. The anger I had just suppressed flared up instantly. I gently pushed the uninvited guest with my elbow. "Is this Gu Xinya? Didn't you sign up for the days after? Get out quickly." A hand with a cool touch reached out from under the blanket, grabbing my arm. A head carefully poked out from the edge of the blanket. In the dim light of the fire, it was Eponine. My mind went blank. Eponine, how could she be here? Her stunningly beautiful but pale face was so close. The movement pulled at her shoulder wound, making her frown slightly. I wasn't asleep. Eponine whispered the message. "I heard everything just now." "What did you hear?" I was dazed for half a moment before realizing. "You heard what you heard. The stone house is almost soundproof. Several dozen girls are under the same roof. Who can really sleep soundly?" But she heard it. Then sneaking over is what's the meaning? The Ioni in memory wasn't this bold. From confirming the relationship to the first handhold, it dragged on for almost a year, until close to graduation for the first light kiss like a dragonfly touching the water. Just the right chance to ask what happened when they broke up. I was about to open my mouth. Ioni asked first with an extremely soft voice. "You're not feeling very well, are you?" "Me?" I was stunned for several seconds before realizing the hidden meaning in her words. "Uncomfortable? Of course, it's uncomfortable. Yi Xinya is the first time. How could I dare to let go?" The result was that I was teased to the point of being unable to stop. Relied on willpower and the cold wind to barely hold back. Now Ioni, this mature temptation, crawls back under the covers again, looking at me with eyes mixed with concern, heartache, and tenderness. Asking such a deadly question. Who can stand it? Yi Xinya let out a soft groan, unconsciously twisting her body. I instantly sobered up. It's bad. If Yi Xinya wakes up and sees someone stealing her time, won't she start crying on the spot? As the clan leader, unity is the top priority. Internal conflicts must not arise. Nonsense. I forced the words out. I'm already fine. Go back to sleep quickly. Don't move around, or you'll tear the wound. I reached out to push Ion away, but as soon as my hand touched her shoulder, Ion let out a whoa of pain and her body jerked. I froze, no longer daring to move. Ion's wound was on her shoulder. This push might add a new injury to her old one. Seeing me freeze, a mischievous smile appeared on Ion's face. "You're lying," she said firmly. "Your body is much more honest than your mouth." Her hand was still gripping my arm. I could clearly feel the tension in my muscles and the warmth of my skin. Is this called calming down? As if. I was speechless for a moment. I really was stubborn. "Don't worry about me. Your own injuries." The words were left unfinished. Iona suddenly made a gesture that stunned me. Not only did she not leave, but she actually seemed to have made up her mind. Suddenly burrowed back into the wolf skin blanket. A rustling sound came from under the blanket. Then, "Leon. Wake up, Leon." Early the next morning, I was poked in the face and woke up. I opened my eyes wide. My first reaction was to check beside me. Good. Yi Xinya was still curled up in my arms like a kitten. Iona was already gone. I breathed a sigh of relief. Last night that girl was fussing to squeeze onto my other side. Said she just wanted to lie down for a bit. I checked her affinity, and it had skyrocketed to 100 points. The highest among all the girls. I softened up. Let her lie down. Intended to let her hold me for a while then kick her out. Ended up falling asleep myself. I looked up. Realized it was Su Qingmei poking me. "What's wrong?" I asked in a low voice. It was snowing outside. Couldn't go out. I had informed everyone last night to sleep in. Su Qingmei blushed. Looking at the exposed collarbone of Yi Xinya, quickly averted her gaze. "Chieftain, I used the divination opportunity. I saw some scenes." "What kind of scenes?" Su Qingmei's expression turned serious. "Scenes I couldn't understand. Let's go talk outside." She leaned over and spoke into my ear while kneeling. The posture was a bit suggestive. I nodded, carefully moved Yizinser aside, tucked in the corner of the blanket, climbed out of the bed. I just stood up. Su Qingmei screamed. "Ah, Chief, put on your clothes first." "Forgot." I turned to apologize. Found Su Qingmei covering her eyes with her hands, but the gaps between her fingers were wide. Watching her about to scream again, I quickly covered her mouth. "You go out first. I'll find you when I'm dressed." "Woo-woo." Su Qingmei pointed at her mouth, then gnawed. Su Qingmei nodded frantically. I finally let go. I quickly got dressed, left in a hurry. The cold wind outside instantly cleared my head. It was a white expanse outside. The snow was up to my ankles. The fire of the tribe was still burning. 3 sheep and a cow were huddled by the fire to warm themselves. I saw they were all alive. Relieved. This is the future mobile dairy. Far more valuable than meat. I saw Su Qingmei huddled in the corner, wearing a thin animal skin, shivering from the cold. I took the wolf skin and put it on her. Su Qingmei blushed at the sight of the wolf skin. She remembered the sounds of last night. She shook her head. "Let's talk about the main thing. Chief, my divination showed me a vision of the future." I listened seriously. "I saw this snow will last for 3 days. Today is the first day. At night, the snow will be as thick as my calves. This is the only chance to go out in the 3 days. Most of the tribes are optimistic. They think the snow will stop. Everyone is resting in the camp." I was shocked. Only 3 days. I thought it would be months. Yesterday we sold all our low-level weapons, exchanged for meat and bear pelts, also exchanged firewood for fire extinguishing. We were all prepared for a protracted war, but the result was only 3 days? Su Qingmei nodded heavily. The snow was even worse the next day. Temperatures dropped sharply. People without warm clothing. Going out was like walking to death. Food, wood, and clothing prices soared. Clans that ran out of supplies were forced to go out to find food. The very next day, someone discovered colorful fruits. Eating them can enhance physical fitness. They can even change careers. What? My heart raced. Career-changing fruits? Priceless. That's right. Su Qingmei's expression was grave. As soon as the news spread, all the clans went crazy. No matter how cold or dangerous, they sent people out to find the fruits. I saw many people fighting over the fruits. Blood flowed like rivers. I gasped for breath. This is an opportunity to change the game. Special professions and combat professions are the most valuable. A few miners and lumberjacks in the tribe have leveled up to level 2. It's just an increase in collection efficiency. Level 3 has skills, but I guess they're work skills. But combat professions are different. Get more fruits before others react. You can then build a combat team. The tribe's strength will undergo a qualitative change. What about the 3rd day? I suppressed my excitement. Su Qingmei's face showed fear. Her voice trembled. The temperature drops to an unimaginable low on the 3rd day. Everything is frozen in solid ice. Deep in the dark cave, underground, blood-red eyes opened. Each eye is bigger than the head. The monster broke through the ground. It's going crazy, hunting humans. It's treating us as prey. Dark monster? I clenched my fists. Su Qingmei's divination won't be fake. I understood. These days of peace are the last moments of breathing room. Most people are still fighting in the tribe, or they're staying in their huts, being lazy. The real threat has arrived. With the combat power they have now, any monster could flatten the tribe. Su Qingmei forced herself to calm down and analyze. "Chief, didn't we exchange a lot of food yesterday?" I nodded. Su Qingmei's eyes lit up. "The temperature will drop tonight. Then everyone will realize something's wrong. A food panic will break out. Food prices will soar. They'll reach their peak the next night. The 3rd day, monsters will attack. Only then will people realize how important weapons are. All weapons will be in short supply." She got more excited as she spoke. "Tomorrow, take advantage of the food shortage. Sell the accumulated food at high prices. Buy weapons and combat items. The 3rd day, weapon prices will soar. Then sell them." Su Qingmei held up 2 fingers. "Improve strength at the lowest cost. Can make a big profit. Cheap food for rare resources. Kill 2 birds with 1 stone." A glimmer of brilliance flashed in my eyes. Perfect plan. Both enhances strength and makes a fortune. I looked at this girl with a red face, but clear thinking. I couldn't help but laugh. "Qingmei, you are truly a genius. No wonder she is the daughter of a wealthy family. Her business acumen is sharp. I was only thinking about dealing with crises and enhancing strength. I didn't think about this. After Su Qingmei reminded me, I realized I could make a big profit. This idea is too important." I excitedly grabbed Su Qingmei's hand. "I'll hand this over to you. I believe you." I opened the system and transferred all the food in the tribe to Su Qingmei through the gift function. Su Qingmei was stunned. In her life, it was the first time a boy grabbed her hand like this. My palm was broad and warm, making her feel at ease. She wanted to pull her hand back, but seeing my trusting gaze, she stopped. What does food mean? It goes without saying. It's the life of everyone in the tribe. entrusting such important resources to her. This trust, overwhelming, she thought. Unlike other girls, giving her body to me, she would be ignored. Now it seems, completely misunderstood. What I value is not just those. Her face grew even redder. Warmth surged from the bottom of her heart. Her father had extremely high standards. Never praised her. Unexpectedly, this recognition was found in me, heavy in her chest. Responsibility and trust. She turned and grasped my hand. Chief, rest assured, I won't let you down. Her hand was cold. It's too cold outside. Come inside. I pulled her towards the stone house. Her mind went blank. Why hasn't he let go? Could it be he likes me? Her heart skipped a beat. But she didn't like me. What if Joanna and the others saw? Just a few steps away, she had already thought about having a child. Names have been chosen. Click. The stone gate shut. Only then did I realize. I quickly let go. Will she misunderstand? I checked her affinity. I froze. 80 points. It was 60 points just now. How did it increase by 20? It must be a sign of trust. As long as it didn't decrease. Her face was red as if it could drip blood. White steam rose from her head. Are you okay? Feeling feverish? I reached out to touch her forehead. I'm fine. She dodged my hand like a startled rabbit. Ran back to the corner and sat down. My hand froze in midair. Forget it. The young lady has thin skin. Noisy chatter came from the girls' dormitory. Gu Shinran and Yu Lu are fighting again. I walked over, lifted the blanket. The two were wrestling, pulling each other's cheeks, and hitting each other's chests. Stop it all. I grabbed one by each arm. What's the rush so early in the morning? We're sisters. If you have a problem, talk it out. I put on a stern face. Tone was serious. Unity is most important. This trend must be snuffed out. Gu Shinran hugged my arm. Eyes teary. Chieftain, did Yu Lu secretly visit you last night? She asked me this morning. Did she sneak out for 2 hours? I slept like a dead pig. She must be guilty. Gu Shinran covered her chest. Yu Lu, you know I like the chieftain. To sneak out so late from home. Unethical. Yu Lu panicked. She just wanted to tease Gu Shinran, who knew the reaction would be so big. Last night, in a daze, she did indeed feel someone climb out of the bed. She didn't come back for a long time. There were still noises over there. She originally thought it was Gu Shinran. Seeing her reaction, Yu Lu knew she was wrong. She must have been telling the truth. It wasn't Gu Shinran. Besides this good sister, who still has the guts for this? Yu Lu can't wrap her head around it. Looking at me for help. All the girls in the stone house. Gossiping glances. Focusing all on me. Even Joanna in the corner couldn't help but cast a glance. My scalp tingled. Glancing at the culprit. Iona was lowering her head. Indifferent. Staring at her own toes. Acting. You're acting again. My mouth twitched. How didn't I notice before? Iona actually has talent for acting? I averted my gaze. Feigning confusion. Last night. Yu Lu, you had a nightmare? I was with Exiner last night. She fell asleep in my arms. I was afraid of waking her up. I didn't move all night. There's no way anyone else could have been here. I passed the hot potato. Ask Exiner if you don't believe me. All the glances turned to Yi Exiner. Yi Exiner had just woken up. Her face instantly flushed, grasped the wolfskin quilt to cover the spring light. To maintain my innocence. She spoke softly. That's right. Last night, I was always with the chief. The chief's arms are very warm. I slept very peacefully. No one disturbed me. The girls made meaningful sounds. Huh, Yushiner screamed. Buried her head under the quilt. Yu Lu doubted his life. Could it really be a dream? Good for you. Gu Shinran was furious. So it turns out, this dead girl woke up because of a dream. Cha her awake. Gu Shinran raised her hand to strike. Caught her wrist. Don't move. Yu Lu looked at me blocking in front of him. His heart warmed. Affection points secretly increased by 10. Gu Shinran's eyes reddened. Chief, you're protecting her. Each of you are equally important to me. I scanned everyone. I will never allow the tribe. This must not happen again. I let go of my hand. Now, both of you will face punishment. Punishment. Both spoke in unison. A smirk played on my lips. It's simple. Both of you. Now. Immediately. A 10-minute hug face to face. Huh. A 10-minute hug. Are you kidding? That's punishment for elementary school kids. I stood with my arms crossed. My expression said it all. Consequences for rebellion. Gu Shinran gritted her teeth. She hugged Yu Lu tightly. Oof. Yu Lu nearly choked. Gu Shinran was being rough on her. Yu Lu lifted her head. If you want a hug, take it. Who's afraid of who? Although they often held hands, and even slept in the same bed sometimes. But this tight embrace, staring into each other's eyes. Both their faces flushed instantly. The girls burst into laughter. I nodded in satisfaction. It was already 10 o'clock. The wind and snow still raged. Elia led people to dig snow against the wind. They brought it back to the house to boil and filter. Su Qingmei instructed the chef to prepare the ingredients. I picked a piece of pork from the pile. It was a mix of fat and lean. The young chef chopped it with skill. The meat pieces were evenly sized. They skewered them on branches and placed them over the fire. Following the guide, They gathered wild vegetables as seasonings. The grease dripped onto the charcoal fire, sizzling. The aroma instantly filled the stone house. I walked to the lottery machine, pressed the button. The wheel spun. The pointer stopped on the bottle icon. Congratulations on winning. A case of high-proof liquor. It was actually liquor. The roasted meat was ready. The girls gathered around to share. I took out the liquor. Who wants some? I do. It's cold. Drinking will warm you up. The girls eagerly raised their hands. I poured a small half cup for each of them. The strong alcohol went down smoothly. A warm current spread through my body. Take a bite of sizzling, greasy grilled meat. Feel completely at ease. No need to work outside today. Everyone is huddled in warm houses, eating meat and drinking. It's almost like being heavenly. But unfortunately, this world doesn't allow us to live too comfortably. After lunch, I was about to hug Yishiner to sleep when Wangke came over and patted my shoulder. Chief, Wangke whispered. Yushui replied. She agreed to help. She will tell you all the intelligence from the Xiaoboyu tribe. I sat up instantly, the alcohol fading. What did she say? Wangke leaned in. Xiaoboyu's tribe. The strongest isn't him. Xiaoboyu can control fire. High damage in mid-range. But he's done for in close combat. That big guy beside him has a skill that's invulnerable to blades and bullets. And he's eaten a mysterious fruit. Infinite strength. Lei Kuan is afraid of both of them. That's why he let them go. I frowned. What did she say today? The one who really counts. It's Xiaoboyu's older brother. Xiaoyun. Wangke's expression was serious. He used to be a delinquent. Stronger than Xiaoboyu and Wang Jian. Together they're even stronger. And he's especially lecherous. He's harmed several girls. Xiaoboyu can't stand him. But he can only endure it. Yushua doesn't want to please them. She deliberately dirted herself. As a result, she was deducted food. She's almost starved to death. Wangku added. Yushua also said. Xiaoyun raided a tribe a few days ago. She brought back a large batch of equipment. If we help. I laughed. Your friend is quite the businesswoman. Using equipment as bait. This actually made me more interested in cooperating. Wangka laughed a little awkwardly. But soon he looked at me seriously. Chief, don't misunderstand. Whatever you decide, I'll support you. It won't be because she's my friend. That puts you in a difficult position. Seeing Wangke's 90-point affinity on his head, my heart warmed. I patted her shoulder. Don't worry. I promise to reserve a spot for her. I won't regret it. Besides, Xiaoboy will be a trouble sooner or later. It's better to strike first. My gaze became sharp. Qingmei's divination. You know already. Wangke nodded. Colorful fruits will appear in the snow tomorrow. You can change careers. Once this thing comes out, all tribes will go crazy. A cold smirk played on my lips. Opportunity has arrived? I leaned close to Wangku and whispered in her ear. Tell Xin Yushui like this. Make her tomorrow. Oh, first, give her something to eat. Eat it secretly, since she's joining us. She can't be hungry. After hearing the plan, Wangku's eyes widened even more. Too ruthless. This is to goo the Xiaoboyu tribe into the ground. She looked at me. Suddenly, she realized her own clan leader was darker than anyone else at her core. But she liked it. I'll tell her right away. Wangka's heart raced. She turned to send a message. Watching Wangka leave, I hid my smile. I don't enjoy killing. But in this world, being merciful to enemies is just being cruel to yourself. Xiaoboyu, since you've developed inappropriate thoughts about my tribe, then prepare to pay the price. In the afternoon, there was no laziness in the stone house. I directed all the girls in physical training. Frog jumps, push-ups, making the girls groan. But no one dared to slack off. Lin Bing took 4 girls with hunter professions, and me, wearing wolf pelts to practice shooting outside. Hold steady. 3 in a line. Spit out your last breath before firing. Lin Bing's voice was cold. Bang. Wangka pulled the trigger. The bullet hit the tree trunk steadily. She was the best trained. 9 out of 10 sure within 10 meters. Kiki is really amazing. Her knife and gun are both excellent. Everyone praised her. I held my breath. Aimed at the mark 50 meters away. Bang. Bullseye. Lin Bing showed approval on her face. The other girls cast admiring glances. The clan leader is truly omnipotent. Training is over. Teacher Xiao Chun said the chat channel. Saw new herbs grow in the snow. The two put on wolf pelts. Searched through the snowstorm for a while. Collected quite a bit with the guide. After coming back, teacher Xiao Chun immediately made 10 healing ointments with Yi Sinuor. The ointments were still warm. I held a bowl. Walked over to Iona. She had an injury on her shoulder. It was inconvenient for her to apply it herself. I pulled down her clothes. Applied the dark green ointment carefully. A cooling sensation came. Iona's body relaxed slightly. A few hours later, the fierce wound had already formed a scab. It will be healed tomorrow. This means tomorrow's operation. We'll add another sharpshooter. Night fell. The temperature dropped sharply. The chat channel was filled with lamentations. Said the river surface was frozen several feet thick. Ice fishing became a luxury that I watched the livestock huddled by the fire, trembling. I immediately ordered Tang Wei to build a smithy. A stone building with a furnace appeared. The livestock now had a warm place to stay. Next, I spent 300 stones to expand a separate room next to the main house. The girls were happy with their independent small houses and had no complaints. Now, with limited resources, it's only natural for the chief to be special. This is not just about privacy, but also a symbol of status and authority. More importantly, I finally don't have to stream live anymore. Actually, it's not just me who feels awkward. The girls are also uncomfortable. No matter how much they try to control themselves, they always make noise, making the girls feel physically heated. They're sleeping together, but it's not easy to make a scene. Late at night, the girls crawled into the warm communal bed. Good night, Chief. Good night, Chief. Use the new room with care. Don't work too hard. Good night, Teacher Chun. Only the crackling of the fire remained in the room, and the sound of steady breathing. I came to the new room, laid down the straw, hadn't even enjoyed the new bed. Dang dang. The stone door was gently knocked on. I opened it. Standing outside, the figure standing at the door surprised me. A purple-haired girl, Yulu, lowered her head. Her hands intertwined. Awkwardly, I raised my eyebrows. I actually drew Yulu today? Yulu stood at the door, not daring to look at me. Her face was as red as if on fire. Just outside, she and Gu Shinran, I&E, argued noisily, used all sorts of methods, like rock, paper, scissors, and drawing lots. Every time, it was her, the lucky one, who won. She even crossed her arms back then, mocking those unlucky ones. Now it was her turn. Yet she was so nervous, she couldn't speak. Clan leader, good evening. Have you eaten? Ah no. The weather is really nice today. No, not really. Yulu was at a loss. He froze in place. I almost laughed out loud. I shifted to let her in. I couldn't help but think. It said that many girls in the class are dating. Yulu is always the one giving advice. Joanna even secretly mentioned. Yulu often dragged his roommates to watch anime from island countries, to get up at night, still hearing the creaking of her bed. I thought it was a theory practice. Such a rich king. Didn't expect her to be so innocent. I couldn't help but exclaim, what a character. After bringing her in, Yulu still stood there like a log. I had to break the awkward silence. Sit down. The two sat facing each other on the straw mat. I looked for a topic. I heard girls in class used to date. Were you the matchmaker? Once we started, Yulu relaxed a bit. That was all just talk. She scratched her purple hair. I have so many paper husband. Changing one every day wouldn't even fit in a list. How would I have time for real-life dating? I was surprised. Then how can you be a matchmaker? Mentioning her area of expertise, Yulu got energized. She leaned in mysteriously. Chief, you don't know. I'm a seasoned gal game player. Too bad I don't have a time machine. My 700 plus GB installation package and study materials. Give you the whole thing. I guarantee you'll become a master in love in minutes. The corner of my mouth twitched. Over 700 G? What kind of stuff does this girl have on her hard drive? Cough, cough. I coughed dryly. So, in your opinion, what type am I? Yulu pouted and studied me. Her gaze became professional. The clan leader is usually gentle, like a neighborhood big brother. But in critical moments, he's extremely reliable, with a domineering boss vibe. And he, good-looking and in great shape. Simply in your game SSR male protagonist template. She got more and more enthusiastic. In a game, he'd definitely be the most popular. All players would fight to pursue him. I felt embarrassed just listening. The atmosphere was right. I leaned close to her ear. My voice lowered. So, you, my love strategist, can you teach me how to pursue you right now? Yulu froze instantly. I stared at her delicate face. This girl was actually very beautiful, too abstract usually. Makes people ignore her looks. After makeup in her cosplay photos, she's definitely on par with the 3 top school flowers. With her signature purple hair, it's a blessing for purple hair fans. Yuli's face flushed red. She never expected I'd suddenly be direct. No one had ever said such a thing to her. She didn't realize her charm. 700 G of theoretical knowledge instantly formatted. Her brain went blank. The chief was confessing to her. How to respond? Damn, why isn't there an option dialogue? Can't see the affinity. Gal games aren't like this. Yuli's CPU was about to overheat. The prompt sound in my head rang crazily. Affection +1, affection +1, affection +1. Yuli's number on her head rocketed. From over 60, it skyrocketed. 70, 75, 80. It stopped at 80 points. I was stunned. What's going on? I asked a question following the game's logic. How is Yuli's affection like a floodgates opening? I haven't even done anything. Did she guide herself? Unbelievable. Too unbelievable. Yulu finally reacted. She looked up abruptly. Her face was flushed, but her eyes were surprisingly serious. I'll tell you. She stammered, as if encouraging herself. Follow the normal procedure. If I hadn't crossed over, you should chat with me more, increase affection, send small gifts occasionally, hit the mark, trigger special plots on Valentine's Day and birthdays. Finally, fill up the affection, find the right time to confess. That's how to complete it perfectly. She said it all in one breath. Her whole body relaxed. I was stunned. Eula shifted the topic. But her voice became softer. Yet she bravely met my gaze. Things are different now. There's no time for procedure. Yuli's voice trembled but was firm. So, as long as the chief is willing, you have already. The guide succeeded. I was completely stunned. Watching this shy but brave girl, warmth surged in my heart. For a girl obsessed with gal games, ritual is very important. In an apocalyptic environment, complicated procedures are impossible. But the words I just said happened to give her the respect she craved. I didn't see her as a prize, but seriously asked for the guide method. This action directly hit the softest part of her heart. Guide. The words I just said were already the strongest guide. Eula looked at me, moved to tears. Damn, how can this man be so good? It's almost foul. The atmosphere became incredibly intimate. I looked at her shy and expectant expression, slowly approached. Just as the two were about to touch, Eula suddenly reached out, pressing against my chest. That I stopped. I looked at her in disbelief. I saw Eula with a flushed face. That, Chief. She looked up. Her eyes were filled with mischief. You've already unlocked my special CG. Want to watch now? Dang dang dang. The stone door was knocked on. I had just opened a crack, and Gu Shiner's head squeezed in. Her eyes were darting around. She was trying hard to peek inside. I shifted to block her view. Under the wolfskin blanket behind me, a pale calf was still twitching slightly. Cough. I wanted to push Gu Shiner out. Chief, you. Gu Shiner's gaze fixed on my face. Her words trailed off. She poked my eye socket. Wow. Chief, you went coal mining last night. Dark circles were darker than pandas. Chief, you all didn't sleep all night. Gu Shinran was full of shock. I covered her mouth. A bit awkward. It's about right. I even found this line ridiculous. Who knew Eula would be a completely different person after unlocking? After unlocking, she hadn't wasted the 700G worth of theoretical knowledge she'd learned. Thinking back to last night's special CGs, my heart was still a bit fast. Luckily for the branch and bud aura gifted by the system, with a super kidney attached. Otherwise a normal person would have couldn't even get out of bed today. I pushed Gu Shinran out the door. There's still a tough fight today. I need to restore my energy. Go get some pick-me-up medicine from Teacher Chun. I really got carried away last night. Gu Shinran saw my drained appearance. Her feelings were complicated. Okay, you wait. She stamped her foot running towards the main stone house, mumbling to herself. Really? Too good to that purple-haired girl. I breathed a sigh of relief. Sat back down on the ground, washed face with snow water. The chill made me a bit clearer. Then took out the roasted wolf meat and tore it into mouthfuls. Replenished my strength. My consciousness sank into the system panel. Star Core Guardian, Golden Legend. Quality, Golden Legend function. Consumes energy, generates energy barrier, resists multiple types of attacks. Note, clan leader exclusive permission. Can freely turn on and off Golden Legend. On the system panel, Star Core Guardian shone with golden light. My heart pounded. Yuli's luck was heaven-defying. Last time epic. This time directly Golden Legend. And it came at the right time. Su Qingmei predicted a huge monster attack on the third day. We had guns and potions, but facing unknown behemoths, we had no confidence. Now with the golden defense barrier, survival rate skyrocketed. It's practically a life-saving talisman. I suppressed my overjoy, noticing the energy consumption issue. This thing must be a big energy consumer. Need to stock up on wood today. Must test consumption tonight. At this time, Gu Shinran came running with Xiaoqin teacher and Yi Shiner. Yi Shiner touched my dark circles. Chieftain, didn't you rest well last night? It was quite cold last night. Then let's sleep with everyone tonight. There's a fireplace outside. It'll be warm enough if we huddle together. Let's talk about it tonight. I felt awkward. Gu Shinran and Xiaoqin teacher could tell at a glance what caused the dark circles. Only Yi Shiner naively thought I didn't sleep well. Everyone held back their laughter. Yi Shiner blushed in confusion and stamped her foot. Xiaoqin teacher broke the awkwardness. Leon, good news. Xiner and I leveled up to level 2 physicians. Oh. Unlocked new skills and 2 recipes. Xiner's concentration skill can heal mental damage, recover energy, perfect for you. I'll go to the trading post for materials. To make the energy recovery pill, Xiaoqin teacher was decisive. Start trading immediately. Physicians are rare, but herbs are abundant. She easily exchanged for materials. Yi Senior walked behind me. Chief, did I start? She placed her small hand on my shoulder. Concentration technique. Cool energy surged in, like jumping into ice water on a scorching day. Fatigue vanished instantly. Thigh pain eased. The mind became clear. I took a deep breath. The dark circles were still there, but the weakness was greatly reduced. Chief, how are you? Very comfortable. Thank you. Yi Senior's face was flushed. Teacher Xiao Chan was already grinding medicine by the fireplace. The scent of medicine filled the air. She kneaded out small black pills. Obtained common grade pill. Essence strengthening pill X10. Effect. Consolidate the foundation, cultivate the origin, nourish yin and replenish yang, quickly restore energy and strength. Note: the secret of the dragon's essence and the tiger's might. You deserve it. But young people, remember not to overindulge. I blushed. With my super kidneys. Besides the extreme situation last night, I don't need them for daily use. However, on the trading floor, men would fight for it. Leon, try too, Xiao Chen teacher whispered. The effect is strong. Don't eat too much. She glanced at my lower body. Your super kidneys are already amazing. If you eat this too, I'm afraid I won't be able to sleep tonight. Full of energy with nowhere to release it, my need to fight someone has increased dramatically. Xiao Chen teacher saying such things to her student. She was extremely embarrassed. I have super kidneys to propagate for the tribe, but I'm still under 20. Full of energy without restraint. There are many beautiful girls in class. She felt it was necessary to remind me to take care of my health. The girls next to me were confused. What fighting? I understood the underlying meaning. Blushing slightly. Cough, cough. I understand. Thank you, Teacher Xiao Chen. Teacher Xiao Chen. Stay in the tribe today and make a few more batches. I will list them on the trading post. All right. Teacher Xiao Chen turned and left. I directly pinched 2 black pills. Threw them into my mouth. The pills dissolved the moment they entered my mouth. A warm sensation flows down my throat, spreading throughout my body. Instantly, explosive strength surged up from deep within my body. The exhaustion from not sleeping all night vanished instantly. My spirits instantly soared. The effect is even stronger than energy drinks. But I hadn't been happy for a few seconds. A scorching flow exploded from my lower abdomen's dantian. My body tightened instantly, breathing heavy, as if a blazing fire had ignited inside me. Thirsty, overheated, and hard to bear. Luckily, I only ate 2. It doesn't feel too intense. I forcefully suppressed my anger. Walked to the door. The biting cold wind made me completely calm. Today is colder than yesterday. The snow has frozen into a hard shell. The sun has just risen. The temperature is starting to rise. According to Su Qingmei's prophecy, the colorful fruits have already grown in the snow. We must set off immediately before everyone realizes this great opportunity. Try to find more colorful fruits. After finishing breakfast, the atmosphere in the stone house changed. I counted the supplies for the expedition. 2 bear pelts were processed overnight into 8 thick coats. The stitching is fine, enough to withstand the cold wind. Myself, Wang Ku, 3 female hunters, the archer Iona, the mechanic Lin Bing, and Gu Xinran with music enhancement. An 8-person elite exploration team is formed. There are exactly enough bear pelts coats for everyone. Take the dried meat strips. Take half of the healing and styptic ointments. What about the fire starters? Joanna held out a rough stone jar. Inside the jar was hardwood charcoal, filled with dry sand around it. The lid had an extremely small ventilation slit. The charcoal burned slowly, keeping the embers alive. An excellent outdoor fire starter. The methods from the books. Don't put it in the spatial backpack. There's enough oxygen. It can last a whole day without going out, Joanna said. I nodded in satisfaction. Put the water bags made of tied large leaves into the spatial backpack. Walking towards the corner to check the firearms, Lin Bing. Bing. Sister Lin Bing, is there anything else missing? Lin Bing pulled the bolt. The metallic sound echoed. You're well prepared. We can leave 5 AK-47s from the tribe. Take 2 with you. Leave the remaining 3 for Su Qingmei and the others for self-defense. Even if you're not good at shooting, you can spray a crowd to create chaos. Hold them back until we arrive for backup. Everyone started putting on their equipment. Oh my God, put on the bear fur coat. I've gained 50 pounds. I'll have to roll, Gu Xinran wailed. It's better to be ugly than freeze to death. Besides, even if you're a ball, you're the most beautiful ball, I said. Gu Xinran choked on her complaint, her cheeks flushing. You're so sweet. Ioni froze mid-action. She was the most beautiful ball after all. She was the second school flower. I was the most extravagant. First, I put on the clothes-fitting animal skin suit. Then, I wore the heavy stone warrior armor over it. Icy and hard scales are worn close to the body. They bring a heavy sense of security. The armor makes unenhanced girls unable to stand straight. But after 2 enhancements and multiple strength enhancements, I only feel it's a bit heavy. It slightly restricts arm movement. Compared to the defense provided by the stone battle armor, this restriction can be ignored. With Joanna's help, a bearskin coat is put on over the battle armor. I am completely transformed into a walking giant bear. At 185 centimeters tall, I look incredibly sturdy. Standing there, I look like a small mountain. Huh. The girls cover their mouths and laugh secretly. I don't care. Instead, I feel grounded. Laugh away, even though you laugh. It's best if the enemy also laughs at me. Wait until the real fight starts. An enemy sword comes cutting. It doesn't even pierce the bear's hide. See if they can still laugh. I push open the stone door. Cold wind rushes in. Turning around, I looked at the people seeing me off. Faction leader, goodbye. Make sure to come back safely. I hugged Joanna and Yashiner tightly. I didn't say much. I closed the door. Looking up, I faced the direction of Xiao Boyu's camp. Su Qingmei divined the location of the colorful fruit. It was near Xiao Boyu's camp. Let's go. I stepped onto the snowfield. Inside the stone house, Teacher Xiao Chun and Yi Shiner were making medicine around the fireplace. They had advanced to level 2. Other physicians were envious. The girls trained under Joanna's supervision. Sweat soaked their forelocks. Creak, my door opened. I pushed the doorframe out, wrapped in wolf skin. My purple hair was damp against my face. Yuli's legs were weak, and she leaned against the wall, barely standing. Lulu. I thought it was a zombie. One girl was so scared she sat on the ground. Yuli's eyes were deep-set, without dark circles, her gaze scattered yet filled with satisfaction. She looked at Teacher Xiao Chun. Teacher Xiao Chun supported her, instantly understanding how I got my panda eyes. Can I boil some hot water? I want a bath. Yuli's voice was light and hoarse, her face flushed red. Teacher Xiao Chun sighed, taking out 3 essence-replenishing pills. I had a super kidney, only eating 2 last night. Yulu, 3 weren't enough like this. Open wide. Teacher Xiao Chun pushed in 3 pills. Essence-replenishing pills. 3 at once. The chief is too fierce. Does this count as work-related injury? The stone house burst into laughter. The expedition team on the road. The snow had frozen into ice shells, smooth as mirrors. Ouch! Gu Shinran fell down, like a turtle flipping its shell. What kind of place is this? Walking is like ice skating. Except for Lin Bing. Every girl fell more than once, and I also fell once. It's really embarrassing. A dozen minutes walk took an hour. Complex terrain appeared ahead. On the left, coniferous forest. On the right, rocky hills. The rocks protruded abruptly from the snow. A small path wound between the forest and the hills. Finally, we didn't have to walk on the ice. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief. We were very close to the location Su Qingmei had divined. I raised my hand to signal a stop and cautiously scanned the surroundings. Leah suddenly stopped, closed her eyes to sense her level 2 skill hunt, with a perception range of 100 meters, able to sense traces of biological activity. After a moment, she opened her eyes and quickly walked over to my side. Chieftain, I sensed something. My spirits lifted. What's the situation? 3 powerful biological presences in the 100 meters ahead. Li Ya's expression was serious. Their activity traces are concentrated, staying in a very small area, not moving. She paused, as if guarding something, Great joy surged in my heart. There's an 80% chance it's the colorful fruit. Looking in the direction Leah pointed ahead was a rocky ridge overgrown with shrubs and weeds. The scene was heavily obscured at a 100-meter distance. Walking boldly would definitely alert the guardian beast. It must be approached silently. I quickly made a decision. That's the target ahead. There are 3 guardians. Everyone lies down and suppresses their aura. Prepare to stealth. Lin Bing's sister. Ayani finds sniping points. Ready to support at any time. The others follow me. Everyone acted immediately. Lin Bing and Ayan detached from the group and moved toward the higher ground on both sides. I was the first to crouch on the ground, feeling the chill of the cold ground through my bare fur coat. I cleared away the weeds and crept forward toward the rocky ridge. The 6 of us climbed for over 10 minutes before finally reaching the target area. Through the gaps in the grass, I could see the scene ahead clearly. It was a natural depression surrounded by boulders. In the center of the depression, 3 fruit trees radiated 7 colorful glows. They swayed in the wind and snow. Each tree bore 5 or 6 fruits the size of fists, with surfaces flowing with red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple colors, brilliant in their light. These were them. My heart jumped. These colorful fruits could allow people to change careers, equivalent to a second-choice opportunity. Their value was immeasurable. The fruit should not be ripe yet, which is why the monsters are guarding this place. Their attention is drawn to 3 monsters by the fruit tree. 3 huge creatures are positioned in a triangular formation, lying around the fruit tree, motionless like stone statues. The one on the left is covered in gray scales, with thick limbs like stone pillars, a head with a spiral horn, and a body as large as an adult wild ox. Its breath exhales white mist. The one in the middle is completely black, with a slender body but unusually short limbs, a row of bone spines on its back, and a tail tip that is a huge bone hammer covered in sharp spines. The one on the right is the most exaggerated, over 2 meters tall, covered in long white fur, with an ape-like body and thick arms hanging by its sides. Fangs protrude from its lips. The 3 monsters are staring at the fruit, guarding against other creatures, while also being wary of each other. The 3 sides maintain a delicate balance. They have agreed to share the fruit, but do not fully trust each other. This mutual restraint made them highly focused, unaware of our approach. I held my breath and quietly took out the field wildlife guide. The distance was still some way off, but I wanted to try this epic item. I opened the guide and aimed it at the 3 monsters. Instantly, text appeared. Mutant Unicorn, Elite Level. Skills, Charge, Trample. Weaknesses, thin scales on the abdomen, Slow Speed Mutant Spike-Tail Beast, Elite Level. Skills: Venom Spray, Bone Hammer Heavy Strike. Weaknesses: Short Limbs, Weak Jumping Ability. Mutant Snowstorm Ape, Elite Level. Skills: Ice Breath, Massive Force. Rip. Weaknesses: Slow Movement, Afraid of Fire. My eyes widened. This guide could actually identify skills and weaknesses. It was practically a bug. With this information, my chances doubled. 3 elite monsters. I sucked in a breath of cold air. Last time that strong goblin was also elite, but obviously a fake. The 3 in front of me, just lying there, already felt very oppressive. What's worse is that each one has 2 skills. Open the expedition team. Chat: this is the function Gushinran reminded me of. Take a screenshot of the catalog information and send it to the group. Gushinran: Chief, this catalog is too amazing. Lin Bing: They are slow-moving and dare not leave the fruit trees. This is our advantage. Ioni: I learned double shot, with a 4 out of 9 chance of firing rockets. Hand it over to me to deal with the white-haired monkeys who are afraid of fire. Wang Ku: Chief, give the order. I quickly thought 3 elite monsters, 6 skills. Heating confrontation will inevitably result in casualties, but I found the key. The monsters are mutually wary of each other. They are not companions. They are competitors. If you only attack one, the other 2 will most likely watch coldly. Give the order. Leon: Melee Group, hold position. Lin Bing, and Ion focus fire on the Snowstorm Ape. It fears fire, so rockets and AKs can deal extra damage. Leon: I want to test my hypothesis. These 3 are in competition. As long as the other 2 don't help, we can take down one with minimal cost. Instantly, the group responds. Wang Ku: Understood. Gushinran: The leader is so cool. I love it. Want to give you guys buffs? Leon: Yes. Find the farthest rock and hide well. Start playing as soon as the fight begins. Ion: Ready, 90% sure of the hit. Watching the replies, he feels relieved, takes a deep breath. Icy air fills his lungs, eyes locked on the depression, the 3 monsters unaware. He silently counts 3, 2, 1. Leon: Go. Instantly, the flute sound plays. Gushinran's buff music. Musician profession. Instruments as blades. Rhythm as ability. Initial passive. Allies hear music will calm. Enemies will get agitated. Meanwhile, Ion suddenly stands up. Longbow full moon. 2 arrows knocked. Breathing calm to the extreme. Snowstorm Ape looks up, alert. It's now? Ignite. Ion releases the bowstring. Swish. Swish. 2 arrows fly through the air. One explodes into flames, turning into a meteor, straight at Snowstorm Ape's chest. Puff. White fur instantly ignites. Roar. Snowstorm Ape screams, wildly beating the flames. The other poison arrow embeds into the shoulder. Black mist spreads, movement noticeably delayed. Lin Bing and I stood up at the same time, and the AK-47 fired. Rat-tat-tat-tat-tat. A gunshot pierced the silence, and a storm of bullets rained down on the Snowstorm Ape. The other 2 elite monsters, the mutated unicorn and the mutated spiketail, merely stood up alertly. Seeing that the attack wasn't aimed at them, they had no intention of helping. Their eyes showed only indifference and greed. Plan successful. Over 200 spare rounds. We brought half, and at this distance, most would hit. The Snowstorm Ape's white fur was stained red, already severely wounded. The 3 of us were exposed, while the other 2 monsters continued to guard the trees, waiting for the fruits to ripen. The Snowstorm Ape screamed desperately, but no one paid attention. It looked at the 3 of us, its eyes filled with hatred. Wicked humans. Why are you only attacking me? At this point, it had given up on hope. Even if it didn't die by human hands, it would die by the hands of the other 2. The Snowstorm Ape turned to pick the colorful fruit, planning to regain its strength and compete for the fruits from the other 2 trees. This move instantly disrupts the balance. It wants to pick the unripe fruit ahead of schedule. Roar. Hiss. The mutated unicorn and the mutated spine-tail beast roared simultaneously. They can compete, they can be wary, but they absolutely must not break the rules. The unicorn stomped its hooves on the ice, cracking at the spiral. Unicorn aimed at the back of the Snowstorm Ape and launched a charge. The spine-tail beast charged, gathering power with its tail, sweeping across. The 2 monsters cooperate perfectly. The Snowstorm Ape wanted to turn to defend, but it was too late. Puff. The horn pierced its waist, splattering blood. The bone hammer struck its ribs. Roar. The Snowstorm Ape screamed, its body flying out, rolling in the snow until it hit the black rock, which stopped at the blood hole in its waist, the collapsed chest. Even standing was difficult, its aura rapidly weakening. The other 2 monsters retreated after one strike. Indifference. Glanced at the Snowstorm Ape struggling for breath, and they regarrisoned each other. The Snowstorm Ape completely lost the qualification to fight. I was instantly bright with opportunity. The Snowstorm Ape failed to get up several times and finally gave up. It glared resentfully at the 2 treacherous companions and then looked at the fruit tree just within reach, its eyes full of unwillingness. The instinct to survive overcame anger. It dragged its wounded body and limped away, just ran a few steps, four figures rushed out from behind the rocks. Me, Wang Ku, and two female hunters. The snowstorm ape abruptly stopped looking at the humans before him like ants. Reason was instantly overwhelmed by anger. It's enough to be severely injured by a monster. Now, even the weak humans dare to block the way. Roar. The snowstorm ape roared into the sky, its voice full of madness. It gave up running, its bloodshot eyes locked on the four figures, its huge body charging again. I am unusually calm. This beast is already at its last legs. Gunshot and arrow wounds on its body, plus large holes in it. It's a miracle it can stand. It's no use wasting ammo skills to deal with a low-health monster. Just perfect for training. Wong growled, low strength enhancement activated. She swung her mountain-splitting axe, blocking behind the snowstorm ape. Two female hunters scattered, holding their hatchets to flank. I stood in the front. Clang. The spear and giant claw collided, metal against metal. The immense force came, and I stumbled back 7 or 8 steps before stabilizing, but I blocked it. The snowstorm ape didn't expect this little human to have such strength. I gasped for breath, judging the elite monster's strength. A level 2 occupation clearly cannot match the elite level to solve an elite monster alone. At least a level 3 special combat occupation is required. Ordinary combat occupation need at least level 5. The snowstorm ape paused, and the two girls had already circled to the side. The cleaver swung towards the leg and side wound. Puff, puff. The wound was torn again, and the intense pain slowed the snowstorm ape's movements. It roared in anger and turned around. Wang Ke charged forward again, swinging the Kaishan knife directly at the back, forcing it to defend. The force surrounded the giant beast, continuously tiring it out. The snowstorm ape's roars gradually weakened, its movements becoming slower and slower. Blood flowed like streams, and its massive body swayed, ready to fall at any moment. Finally, when Wang Ke once again distracted it, the snowstorm ape showed a flaw in its side rear. It was now or never. I turned into a blur, silently entering the battlefield. Both hands gripping the knife, I poured all my strength into it. The meow knife traced an arc, fiercely piercing the blood hole from the back waist. No skills used, but the blade tip reached the vital spot. Puff, puff. The blade tip shattered the internal organs. The snowstorm ape's body froze. It couldn't believe it, looking down, the blood color in its eyes fading into deathly gray. Thump. A mountain-like figure crashes to the ground, sending a shower of snow and ice into the air. Quietly. Congratulations, you have completed the level 4 Blood Warrior upgrade quest. Kill 3 elite-level creatures, 2/3. I draw my sword, blood flowing down the blade. A warm current flows through my body, my strength increasing once more. 2 monsters remain. With the snowstorm ape as a precedent, these 2 won't be divided. Facing 2 elite monsters at once doubles the pressure. A glance. Instantly decided. First, kill the spined beast. That thing's venom is too disgusting. Leaving it alive could lead to a surprise attack. Wang Ke, I shout. You 4, hold back the unicorn. Focus fire on it from a distance. Its weakness is the belly. I'll handle the spined beast. Giving the order, everyone moves into action immediately. Wang Ke still has a power enhancement. Both hands gripping the Kaishan knife, he charges Heaton. Leah throws down her hatchet, replaces it with. I picked up the captured small shield. Sticking close to Wang Ke, ready to block the unicorn's charge. The 2 female hunters moved around the flanks, looking for an opportunity to ambush. The high-up ion turned direction, and arrows fell like rain. The unicorn would expose its belly if it raised its front legs, giving the ranged attackers a chance. The other side, I faced the mutated hedgehog alone. With a kick, I swung the Jiandao, cutting through the wind. Clang! What the hell? The blade struck its head, like cutting into an oiled iron plate, sliding right off without even leaving a white mark. So hard. A dark shadow, accompanied by a fierce wind, crashed down. It was a bone hammer. Thump! I was sent flying, carving a long trench in the snow. Leon, chieftain. Wang Ke was distracted, and the unicorn grazed his shoulder, causing blood to flow profusely. Don't worry about me. I got up. I'm fine. The rock armor and the bearskin coat protected me. The hedgehog's eyes flashed with surprise. This human is so tough? Lin Bing suddenly appeared beside me, switching her AK-47 for finger gloves. I'm out of ammo, she said. Come down and help. Great. You've attracted attention. I'll find an opportunity to finish it quickly. Lin Bing's figure instantly blurred. Like a phantom, she flashed towards the spined beast. Dodging, sidestepping, pivoting. She always managed to narrowly avoid at the last moment. It was all thanks to her combat instincts, and that pervert's anticipation. I seized the moment. The bloody blade tore through the snowstorm. Puff! The spined beast's head was split in half. Blood and brain matter gushed out. Lin Bing flipped and mounted the remains. Her knuckle, clad in finger gauntlets, slammed hard into the eye. Bang! 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 Sister Lin, I shouted. Let me handle it. I can upgrade by killing it. Elite Monster Task Progress February 3rd. Just one more. Lin Bing immediately stopped. I raised my blade to land the final blow. Suddenly, things took a turn. The spine beast's tail swung fiercely. Bones shot out. Black venom followed closely. Lin Bing sensed the danger. Her instinct told her to dodge. But she suddenly stopped. If she dodged, I would hit. Puff. The bone spike pierced her side. The venom splashed onto the bare hide. Some entered the wound. At the same moment, my blade fell. The stinger beast's head rolled far away. You have met the upgrade requirements and leveled up to LV. 4. Beep. You have successfully leveled up to level 4. The system notified me that I had leveled up. I can choose 2 new skills. The upgrade conditions have become stricter. It requires a 100-year-old bloodlingshi, and to kill a leader-level creature. After level 5, I can upgrade skills to silver level. Just as I wanted to choose skills, I noticed Lin Bing staggering. Black bone spikes were stuck in her ribs. The black liquid was corroding the bare hide. Don't worry about me, Lin Bing said weakly. First, deal with the unicorn. I helped her to the side of the stone. Take off the bare skin coat and cover her with it. Immediately open the skill panel. Blood warning passive skill. 70% chance to warn of attacks during combat. Successful dodging increases 2% physical fitness. Can stack up to 10 times. This is exactly what I need. Like Lin Bing's combat intuition. After level 5, it upgrades to silver rank. The chance will be higher. Choose blood warning. Soul-grabbing blood chain mark the target within 10 meters. Can pull it to your side. Forget it. Control skills are not very useful now. If you are weaker, you might be pulled over. Blood Shadow clone summon 2 30% strength clones. They will only attack normally. 30% strength is just cannon fodder. A slap would shatter them. I shift my gaze to the skills I previously gave up. Blood Domain Perception perceive all creatures within 50 meters. Increase damage by 50% against critically injured targets. Used to dislike it because it could only see, but not fight. Things are different now. I have a breakthrough method. The killing effect perfectly supplements the output. 1 warning defense. 1 perception attack. A perfect combination. The skill activates instantly. The world changes completely in my perception. I can see, without turning back. The faint life force of Lin Bing is being eroded by black mist. Wonka's chi and blood has dimmed. The heartbeats of the other 2 girls are filled with exhaustion. Only the unicorn's chi and blood remains mighty, but it's filled with restlessness. All 4 girls are injured. The unicorn's combat power is almost untouched. Ion's arrows can only cause minor injuries to the abdomen. Chief, Wonka shouted. I can't hold on anymore. Her power enhancement is almost over. Get out of the way. I warned. The 4 girls immediately scattered. I stomped my feet and leaped upwards, landing directly on the unicorn's back. Blood Mist Domain, activate. The blood-colored mist exploded, instantly covering a 3-meter range. Outside the mist, Wang Ku and others could only see a crimson red. Inside the mist, the unicorn saw a blood-colored world. All scenery became blurred. What terrified it even more was that the scent of the human on its back disappeared. The stealth effect of the blood mist domain was triggered. The flute sound of Guzinarin in the distance was still distracting it. Attacked from both inside and outside, the unicorn went completely wild. It felt something on its back, yet it seemed like there was nothing. This fear drove it to run madly. Bang! Clang! The unicorn scrambled wildly in the blood mist, sometimes hitting rocks, sometimes nearly falling into an ice hole. I stuck close to its back. My internal organs felt like they were about to be shaken out. I'm gonna throw up. The blood mist domain moved with me. The unicorn could never escape this red world. 2 minutes later, the giant beast exhausted all its strength, hit the black, giant rock, crashed down. Now, I pulled out the poison dart I had pulled from Lin Bing. The black poison fluid was still shining. Grip the poison dart tightly with both hands. Aim at the unicorn's eyes. Die. I used all my strength. Stabbed it hard. Puff. The bone dart accurately pierced the eye. A foul-smelling liquid exploded. Splashed all over my face. I felt so nauseous. Roar. The unicorn let out a mournful howl. The pain made it unleash its last strength. It raised its head fiercely, swung wildly. My invisibility effect disappeared, flung away by the immense force, crushed heavily into the snow pile. The unicorn also exhausted its life force. The poison pierced deep into its brain. The venom raged and destroyed everything. The giant beast shook a few times. Thump down. Quick. Wonka roared. Finish the job. She was the first to rush forward. Raised the Kaishan knife to strike the unicorn's abdomen. The other 2 hunters immediately followed. I climbed out of the snow pile. Spat out blood-stained saliva. Chief, are you alright? Ion ran over. I waved my hand. Looking at her said, you go finish the job. Ion was stunned. Your upgrade task is also 1 elite monster short. I continued. Wonka can complete the task by killing ordinary creatures. No need to waste an elite monster's head. Ion nodded, drew the bow, and notched an arrow. Wonka heard my words. Stopped immediately. Snap. An ice arrow shot into the unicorn's other eye. The giant's body trembled violently. It was completely silent. The battle was over. Wang Ku and the others collapsed to the ground, gasping for breath. Gu Xinran peered out from behind a large rock. All eyes were drawn to the center of the depression. Those 3 colorful fruit trees. The radiant fruits glowed brilliantly in the snow. This is the prize we fought so hard for. I didn't even glance at the fruits. At the moment Ion drew her bow, I had already turned and sprinted towards Lin Bing. My mind was focused on one thing. Rescue. I rushed to the side of the large rock. My heart sank instantly. In just a few minutes, Lin Bing's condition had worsened. The bear fur coat had been corroded by venom, leaving large black patches. Her face was without color, her lips tinged with blue, her breathing weak. Her chest barely showed any rise and fall. Lin Bing. I trembled as I checked her pulse. She was still breathing. Lin Bing struggled to open her eyelids. The poison has spread. Her voice was as thin as a mosquito's buzz. Don't waste time. Use the knife. Carve out the wound, and all the rotten flesh around. Then, let out the blood. I instantly understood. Scrape the bone to drain the poison. There was no antidote. The only option was to remove all the flesh corrupted by the poison. I looked at the wound. The bone spikes were very deep, located near the left side of the chest. To treat this wound, I had to. Lin Bing noticed my hesitation. Hurry up. Without shame. Only the will to survive. I no longer hesitated. Wang Ku, go get the fire-starting pottery jar. Make a fire. I knelt down. Removed the bear pelt coat covering Lin Bing. Spread it under her. Took a deep breath. Forced myself to calm down. My hands were steady. Without trembling, I undid Lin Bing's bear pelt coat. Unraveled the leather short-sleeved garment inside. A trembling, massive lump emerged. I swallowed hard. Forced myself to avert my gaze. Lin Bing handed over a dagger. Use this. I threw away the axe. Took the dagger. Stared at the wound. The venom had turned a large area of flesh a dark greenish-black. Still eating away. Sister Lin Bing. It will hurt. Bear with it. Go ahead. Lin Bing was as calm as if she wasn't the one being cut. I no longer hesitated. The dagger cut into the edge of the wound. Gah! Lin Bing's body trembled violently. Clamped her teeth shut. Suppressed the groan of pain. Dark, toxic blood dripped onto the snow. Eating away, creating small pits that emitted black steam. I moved with extreme speed. One cut. Another cut. With each cut, Lin Bing spasmed. Cold sweat rolled down her temples. Soaking her temples. She never made a sound. Just the knuckles of the fingers gripping the snow were turning white. Sister Lin Bing, hold on. I freed one hand, wanting to wipe the sweat from her forehead. Don't touch me. Lin Bing jerked her head back sharply. Her tone was filled with annoyance. Focus. My hand froze in midair. I pulled it back as if electrocuted. Taking a deep breath. Concentrating on the blade in my hand. The 7th cut came down. Fresh blood gushed out. The blood was clean. I quickly pulled out the healing ointment. And the stop the bleeding ointment. I mixed the two together. And applied a thick layer to the wound. As soon as the ointment touched the wound, Lin Bing's body relaxed slightly. I tore off some animal hide. And pressed it against the wound. Taking a deep breath. Damn it. These few minutes were too exhausting. More exhausting than fighting elite monsters alone. My back was drenched in sweat. Once wrapped up, I helped Lin Bing up. Helped her put on the animal hide lining. Then wrapped her tightly in the bear fur coat. Her expression eased slightly. The purplish hue was fading. She had survived. Wonka built a fire. The orange-earth flames dispelled the cold. Chief, Sister Lin Bing, Wang Ku and a few others came over. She's fine. Let her rest. I picked up Lin Bing. Laid her by the fire. Letting her lean against the rock. Glanced at the others. How are your injuries? Just superficial. No harm done. Leah and the others shook their heads. Tending to their wounds. Wonka blushed. Hesitated before walking over. Chief, here on my shoulder. It's not convenient for me. Can you help me apply medicine? Sure. I lowered my head. The wound was in the armpit. A deep cut. Wonka sat on the rock. Without a word, started taking off his clothes. Wait. What are you doing? I jumped. Wonka's face was red. Stiffened his neck. Better put on the medicine now. Just pull up the collar. I was both laughing and crying. It's so cold. Do you want to catch a cold? Chief, quickly. Wonka muttered softly. I took the ointment. My gaze fixed on the wound. I didn't dare to shift even a little. That girl. After applying the medicine, Wonka quickly pulled up her clothes. Turned her back. Her ears were even red. Everyone sat around the fire. Wang Ku and Leah dropped the jerky into boiling water. To make soup. The aroma spread in the cold wind. I looked at the center of the depression. 3 fruit trees. Got up and walked over. 17 fruits hang on the tree. The colorful glow has already been restrained. It has turned into golden fruits. Only the tip of the fruit and a faint 7-color halo remain, emitting a strange fragrance. It's ripe. I quickly picked the fruit. The last one left the branch. The 3 fruit trees quickly withered, turned gray, turned into flying ash and merged into the frozen soil. I looked at the empty space, stared slightly, held the warm fruit, took out the identification manual. Seven-colored divine fruit, fruit of the seven-colored divine tree, given by heaven for vitality in harsh environments. If consumed by monsters, under leadership they can advance by one rank and understand new skills. If consumed by humans, their profession will be refreshed, with a high probability of obtaining a stronger profession and a slight enhancement of physical fitness. I raised my eyebrows slightly. So it's called the seven-color divine fruit. No wonder the monsters wanted it desperately. Humans consuming it can change professions, and there's a high chance of obtaining a stronger profession. Chief, the stew's ready. Come warm yourself. Leah's voice came from the fire. Beside the fire, Wonku was stirring the clay pot. I walked over, took a bowl, drank it down in a few large sips. A warm current spread from my stomach, spreading to every limb. Looking at Lin Bing leaning against the rock. Pale face, poured another bowl and walked over. Drink some. Lin Bing opened her eyes. Looking at the bowl offered to her lips. Frowned and tilted her head. I didn't speak, just held it there. The two of them stared at each other for a moment. Lin Bing gave in first. Her lips opened, dry and cracked. The warm stew slid down her throat. Her tense body relaxed slightly. I opened the chat channel. It was 10 in the morning now. The starving tribe should have been out fighting by now. Since the rainbow divine fruit was a gift from the heavens, it wouldn't just appear in one place. Indeed, the channel exploded. Screams echoed everywhere. An image popped up, filling the screen. It was a fruit tree with a rainbow glow. Everyone, do you know what this is? The message filled the screen. Golden fruit? Where did you get it? It's clearly not ordinary. It grew right outside our tribe's gate. The chief originally wanted to take us to kill the big guy guarding it for meat, but it turned out to be an elite level dot. The chief and 7 brothers died before we finally managed to kill it. If this fruit is useless, our tribe is doomed. Below, people urged him to eat it quickly. To see the effect, I was eager, wanted to add him as a friend. After a long time, didn't receive an approval notification. In the chat channel, the man sent a message again. Haha, fuck, this thing can convert professions. I was originally an ordinary combat profession. Now I'm directly a special combat profession. The chief is dead. I'm the only man in the tribe. The woman who inherited from her older sister and brothers, awesome. For left, who wants to buy the price PM. The seven-colored divine fruit exploded the entire chat channel. I was looking at Chao Rishan's message. A corner of my mouth twitched. Too late. This guy already knew the value of the seven-colored divine fruit. It's impossible to pick up cheaply now. I don't lack seven-colored divine fruit. There's no need to trade equal conditions. However, Chao Rishan's tribe is also down to just one man. This script is too familiar. I remembered this name. Chao Rishan. This surname. This name. Very fitting for his style. The chat channel went crazy. Fruits that can refresh professions are too rare. Strong tribes started demanding high prices. But no one responded. Either no one has them, or like me, they don't want to sell. The channel suddenly went quiet. Everyone organized people to go out to look. Some even started selling coordinates. Selling the multicolored fruit at a low price. There's an elite wolf guarding it. We can't beat it. I realized I underestimated the appeal of the multicolored fruit. But it's perfect. This will lure Xiao Boyu into the trap. The plan is simple. Let Shin Yushue use the multicolored fruit as bait. Lure Xiao Boyu out. Then ambush and eliminate him. I calculated the odds. Ion just leveled up to level 3. Chose a powerful skill. 3 arrows combined. Cooldown of 1 hour. Doesn't consume arrows. Condense 3 energy arrows. Fire, ice, poison effects. The first arrow has extremely high penetration. Level 3 Ion. Her physical fitness is greatly enhanced. Her melee is stronger than a level 1 hunter. Currently only Wang Ku and Li Ya are level 2 hunters. But they've been trained in actual combat. They can handle normal combat professions. Xiao Boyu's tribe has 3 strong combat professions. Ion takes 1 down. I take care of the other 2.2 AKs and full magazines. Not a big problem. Xiao Boyu tribe. Shin Yushue curled up in a cold corner. Wang Ku's dried meat had already been divided with her sister. The feeling of hunger was temporarily suppressed. But now what made me most anxious was Leon's plan. To lure Xiao Boyu. Thinking of my older cousin Xiao Yun's actions, I couldn't imagine the consequences of failure. Just received Wang Ku's signal. The plan is starting. My heart was pounding. I looked for my sister, ready to take her with me. But Shin Rubing was gone. An ominous feeling rose in my heart. Bang! The stone door was roughly pushed open. Cold wind mixed with snowflakes rushed in. Xiao Yun dragged Shin Rubing to the doorway. With a casual flick, he threw Shin Rubing to the ground. Getting brave? Starving to death yesterday. Having enough energy to wash your face today? Xiao Yun stepped over Shin Rubing. Speak. Did you sneak a snack? Shin Rubing shook her head crying. I didn't. I rushed up and hugged my sister. Damn it. I used mud pot ash before. Covered my sister's face black. Just didn't want Xiao Yun to notice her appearance. This place. Pretty faces are more dangerous than monsters. Didn't expect Rubing to secretly wash her face anyway. Didn't. Then where did you get the strength? Xiao Yun was ready to scold her, but her movements suddenly stopped. She stared at Shun Rubing's face. Though covered in mud, she remained pure. Breathing became rough. Oh, our poor place. There's such a little beauty hiding. So tempting. Xiao Yun's eyes moved up, staring at me, protecting her sister. As an older sister, she must be good too, right? The tribe actually has this pair of sisters? I froze all over, like being stared at by a venomous snake. Instinctively, I protected my sister behind me. Xiao Yun laughed even harder. What are you hiding from? Come over. He reached out his dirty hand to grab my hair. Let me clean it up. Let's see what you look like. Today, you two sisters will serve me. All the girls around lowered their heads, too afraid to speak. Zhang Heng, the big guy, wanted to stop, but thinking Xiao Boyu would help his older brother, he could only stomp the ground in anger. Pretending not to see, despair overwhelmed me, just as Xiao Yun's stinking hand was about to touch me. Wait. I suddenly stood up and shouted. I have information about the rainbow fruit. Xiao Yun paused. Rainbow fruit? He sneered. Not even 10 rainbow fruits can save you today. Xiao Yun had just woken up. Didn't check the chat channel. Thought I was making things up. He reached out again. Brother, wait. Xiao Boyu's voice came from behind. Xiao Yun impatiently put his hand down. Xiao Boyu walked up to me, his face grave. Do you have information about the rainbow fruit? Where did you get it? Xiao Yun impatiently. Boyu, this bitch is lying to us. Do you believe her? Xiao Boyu stared at me fiercely. He was the clan chief. Had already noticed the information in the chat channel. Change profession. If he gets the fruit, turn all loyal brothers into combat professions. He won't have to endure his cousin's attitude anymore. I held my trembling sister and began reciting the lines I had prepared long ago. It's Leon and his tribe. Remember the chief? Last time we went to the ice tribe. The sisters I spoke to? She's one of Leon's girlfriends. But that scumbag slept with her and then cheated on her. He neglected her. She wants revenge. Leon brought his people to look for food today. They found 3 rainbow fruit trees. They fought monsters. Every one of them is resting with injuries. My sister told me the news. She said as long as we go and capture Leon completely, give her 1 fruit, she's willing to be an inside informant. Xiao Yun wasn't interested in the fruits. He was only thinking about the good things being delayed. But Xiao Boyu's eyes were shining terrifyingly. The story was reasonable, especially the point about multiple serious injuries, that it's exactly what he wanted. He was almost ready to leave immediately, but reason kept him alert. Show me the chat logs. My heart leaped to my throat, but I breathed a sigh of relief. Everything was on schedule. Wang Kuo and I had been ready long ago. Falsified chat logs. I pretended to nervously open the system panel. Xiao Boyu went through them one by one. When he reached the last picture, he paused. The image showed 3 radiant fruit trees standing side by side, emitting a dreamy glow in the snow. Meanwhile, among the rocky terrain, we had rested and returned to combat readiness. Wang Ku and a few female hunters had their wounds bandaged. Lin Bing had collapsed, but the team's combat power remained unaffected. All skills had cooled down. I leaned against a rock, making a final check. What's the situation with Shun Yushua? She just sent a message, Wang Ku whispered. Xiao Boyu has been convinced. She's bringing all the tribe's combat personnel. She reports her location every few minutes. Then she deletes the message immediately. I dare not reply to her. Xiao Boyu is very suspicious. He might check her phone at any time. I nodded. Scan the ambush point ahead. Make Yushua pay attention to safety. Move the ambush position back 100 meters. Wonka froze. Xiao Boyu isn't stupid. I explained. Even if he believes 7 or 8 parts of it, he will keep a backup plan. The worst-case scenario, Shin Yushua has been betrayed, united to deceive us. Wangku's expression changed. Retreat 100 meters. Hide behind the ridge. This way we can observe their movements first. Xiao Boyu ultimately couldn't resist the temptation. The colorful fruit was too fragrant. Convinced by his firm persuasion, Xiao Yun, who was only interested in women and pleasure, reluctantly followed along, complaining. The team stumbled through the snow, deep and shallow steps. Snow not reaching the ankles. Shin Yushiwe and her sister were pushed to the front to scout. The biting wind stung their faces painfully. Their thin cloth shoes were already soaked. Their ankles turned red from the cold. Damn it, Xiao Yun cursed from behind. This lousy weather. A few broken fruits, and my legs are about to freeze. Better stay inside, roasting by the fire and playing with women. Xiao Boyu ignored him, catching up to the 2 sisters. Shin Yushiwa. Shin Yushiwa's body trembled. Tell me about the composition of Leon's team. 7 women. Shin Yushiwa hugged her sister, her voice trembling. 1 man. 4 of the hunters are injured. An archer. A flute-playing support. And there's a woman with a special combat profession. The most injured. She has no combat ability left. Just as before. Xiao Boyu asked the key question. What is Leon's profession? Shin Yushue bit her pale lips. My sister Wangka said, it's something like a warrior class. Very good at melee combat. But she isn't sure exactly what it is. Leon only told a few of his closest female friends. Xiao Boyu relaxed slightly. A melee class. They'd just come off a grueling battle. His men were all wounded soldiers. What kind of threat could they possibly pose? He glanced back at his own team. Confidently. Himself, a level 3 fire controller, capable of conjuring fireballs the size of a wash basin. His older brother, Xiao Yun, a level 3 telekinetic. Telekinesis, mental blasts. His brother Zhang Hong, a level 2 steel man. After skin hardening, bullets can't hurt him. Just the three of them could sweep across most tribes. He brought all the combat power of the tribe. 9 people. Except for the 3 of them. There's also a level 2 female assassin. 3 hunters. 2 lumberjacks with extraordinary strength. This lineup. To deal with a group of teams who just finished a tough battle. Everyone is injured. It's a crushing victory. Thinking of the rainbow fruit. Xiao Boyu's heart burns with desire. Leon, you've worked hard for this fruit. I won't be polite to take it. And your woman. Your tribe. Soon, it will all be mine. Someone. Ayan lowered her voice. Leon, they're here. I saw them too. In the snow. A group of figures were walking, stumbling through the snow. Damn it. Gu Xinran couldn't help but curse. Xiao Boyu is truly a piece of work. At the front of the group, Xin Yuxue and her sister were forced to lead the way. A few girls clenched their fists in anger. Xiao Boyu and his group entered the prearranged ambush zone. Xin Yushue's pace noticeably slowed. With an imperceptible hesitation, Xiao Boyu stepped forward, roughly pushing her. Xin Yushue flinched. She could only pull her sister forward. Seeing this, my doubts vanished. Xin Yushue hadn't betrayed us. I made a gesture. Everyone lowered their bodies. Stay hidden. Wait for my command. I said calmly. Prepare to act. Focus fire on Xiao Yun. Both he and Xiao Boyu are ranged professions. But the Mind Master poses a greater threat. If he dies, attack Xiao Boyu next. As for the tanky brute, I'll deal with him last. He's tanky. My bloodburst slash can cut through anything. Let's see who's tougher then. Soon. Within my blood domain perception range, 11 life signals appeared. Only the sound of wind and footsteps in the snow. The 11 life signals are getting closer. The front pair, Xin Yushue's sisters, are already weak as if dying in the wind. Behind them, the blood-pumping Zhang Hong is following closely. When they step into range, my eyes sharpen. Act. Ion springs up abruptly. Draws an empty bow. Buzz. 3-colored energy arrows gather out of thin air. Fire, ice, poison. The death ray heads straight for Xiao Yun, still complaining about the weather. At the same time, rat-tat-tat-tat-tat. My AK-47 and Wangka's gun spat out a barrage of fire. I kept Xiao Boyu firmly in my sights. It's an ambush. Xiao Boyu roared. Too late. Xiao Yun hadn't reacted yet. A bullet pierced his chest. Thud. The flames exploded. The ice froze. The toxins spread. He looked down at the bullseyed hole. He fell without a word. The strongest Xiao Yun. He died without even using his skills. Damn. There's a trap. Brother Yun is dead. In the chaos, bullets reaped lives. The lumberjack and the hunter fell on the spot. The female assassin flashed. Entered stealth. Find death. Zhang Heng's body glowed with metal luster. He charged towards the ridge while bullets hit him. Only sparks flew off his body. Xin Yushue hugged her sister and rolled into the grass, ducked down flat. Leon. Xiao Boyu was shot and hid behind a rock. His eyes were bloodshot. You dare cheat me? He was filled with boundless hatred. The top science student in the province. He was actually played by a loser from the second high school. He scanned the battlefield. His heart sank. Xiao Yun was dead. 11 people. The Xin sisters were missing. 4 others were down. Leon and his group had guns. Xiao Boyu suddenly remembered Lei Kuan. Lei Kuan was looking for trouble with Leon. Yet Leon was unharmed. It meant Lei Kuan had already been taken care of. This tribe was far from weak. Regret washed over him. But it was too late. Zhang Hong. Xiao Boyu roared. Kill Leon. He gasped for breath, clutching his wound. His eyes were crazy. I'm not defeated yet. Chao Meng is invisible. He can kill them silently. My fireball hits, they all die. I watched Zhang Hong charging. Put away the AK. This guy is tough. Take this charge. Zhang Hong used the charge to add brutal charge. Like a truck crashing. I looked at the stone war armor. Still chose to dodge. Just a moment before the crash. I dodged to the side. Boom. Zhang Hong crashed through the giant rock behind him. I was startled. This was really like a car crash. Only dodging? Are you a man? Zhang Heng's words were cut off. It went black in front of my eyes. I kicked the ground. Dust and snow flew up, covering Zhang Heng's face. You're not following the rules of martial arts. Zhang Heng's eyes were blinded. Tears streamed down. He rubbed his eyes hard. Just as his vision cleared, several black balls flew towards him. My eyes. The corrosive bomb hit him in the face. The acid burned his eyes. Zhang Heng rolled crazy in the snow, clutching his head. I raised my knife and advanced. I swung it several times. Clang. Clang. Sparks flew. Only white marks remained. I quickly changed my tactic. While Zhang Heng rolled, Some parts of his body lost their metallic luster. That was his weak point. Blood glowed on the blade. I gripped the knife with both hands and swung with all my might at Zhang Heng's neck. Bang! Metal clashed. Crack! The blade tore through his metallic defense. Blood seeped out. The wound quickly expanded, deep enough to see the bone. Zhang Heng's body twitched. The metal faded. He became still. I panted heavily, shaking my numb arms. Just about to continue the fight, I sensed a faint blood aura moving within range. It was close. Right nearby? I looked up. No one was there. Did I there an invisible one? I quickly scanned the battlefield. Xiao Boyu was hiding behind a rock. Aion and her team were suppressing the remaining enemies. Number of corpses on the ground. Xiao Yun, Zhang Heng, 2 lumberjacks, a hunter. Wait. Xiao Boyu brought 9 people out. Adding Xin Yuxue and her sisters makes 11. 5 dead, 3 alive. Only 8. 3 are missing. The small, black-clad woman is gone. In blood domain perception, invisible blood chi is moving towards me. I pretended my arm was injured, waving my arm, walking in another direction. Qiao Meng held her breath. The level 2 assassin stealth made her completely invisible. No active attacks, no sound. No one could detect her. Xiao Yun and Zhang Heng, 2 level 3 strongers, were killed instantly. Too scary. She hid to the side waiting for an opportunity. Now, Leon seems injured. Staggering forward. Attention on Xiao Boyu. Qiao Meng's heart raced. Lying motionless on the snow. A little closer. She was sure she could pierce his heart with the venomous dagger. Oof. A large foot stepped on her chest and crushed her. Qiao Meng froze. Did he notice? Impossible. Coincidence? She clenched her fists tightly, pretending nothing happened. I was stunned too. In the blood domain perception, a clear bloody humanoid outline was visible. Even the hand movements were visible. His foot crushed her repeatedly. Still enduring without moving? So determined. Unfortunately, I overpowered him. I raised the Miao Dao. Cold light flashed. The blade flashed. Straight at Qiao Meng's throat. The cold blade touched her skin. Qiao Meng only reacted suddenly. Her pupils constricted violently. Did you realize I was here? You're toying with me. The sound was cut off by the blade. My blade had already pierced her throat. A moment later, Qiao Meng's figure slowly appeared, lying in a pool of blood. I turned and walked towards the battlefield. 3 enemies at Xiao Boyu's side had already been dealt with. Wang Ke led 4 hunters in a pincer attack. With perfect coordination, Ayani provided long-range support and suppression. The entire process went smoothly. No one was injured. I looked around. Where's Xiao Boyu? Ayani walked over with her bow and arrow, pointing to a nearby rock. He's still hiding behind that. I felt the fluctuations of blood and chi behind the rock. A cold smile curled my lips. Xiao Boyu, aren't you the pride of the heavens? How did you become a coward, hiding behind the rock? Xiao Boyu trembled all over. All over. He admitted he had chickened out, seeing Wang Ku approaching with a few girls like starving wolves. He instantly lost his composure. In the blink of an eye, 3 of his subordinates were swiftly neutralized. What terrified him even more was that there was no movement from Qiao Meng. Her invisibility skill had actually failed to affect Leon. Xiao Boyu felt utterly powerless and desperate for the first time. Fear engulfed him. What kind of monster was Leon? They had clearly been able to cooperate peacefully back then. Why did he have to provoke him? Regret gnawed at his heart like a venomous snake. Clutching his bullet-ridden shoulder, blood soaked his clothes. Leon, don't forget I'm a fire controller. I learned the self-explosion skill after reaching level 3. Come any closer, and we'll both perish. My pupils shrank. Unable to verify the truth of the self-explosion skill, I quickly pulled the girls back. Wonka's gaze was resolute. The chief. Let me take a look. My power enhancement hasn't fully ended yet. Melee can solve him. I grabbed Wang Ku. There's no need to take the risk. He was injured. Hiding behind the rocks wouldn't last long against us. Just then, bang, the gun fired. A muffled sound came from behind the rocks. A thin figure fell down. Xiao Boyu. A blood hole had opened on his forehead. Fresh blood stained the snow. Who shot him? Lin Bing, who was supposed to be resting, had been helped by Li Ye to come over. Li Ye explained. Lin Bing's sister struggled to come. I just helped her. Lin Bing's face was pale. I did it. Passive skill. Passive skill. Everyone was shocked. I froze. You're like Xiao Yun a telekinetic? Not really. Aren't you a mechanic, Lin Bing's sister? Lin Bing nodded. Yes, I'm a mechanic. You can only control mechanical items remotely. Like guns. Accuracy isn't great. I haven't used it before. I finally understood that the mechanic's potential this strong. Even with critical injuries, he can shoot remotely. Awesome. Leveling up to level 2 requires crafting weapons. Needs metal and power. We don't even have ores. Suddenly thought, there's no iron ore in the market. But we have weapons. Knives, axes, AK casings. Melted, they're metal. Power can only be gambled in the trading post. A flash of inspiration. We'll try one back. Let Lin Bing break level 2 soon. Time to collect loot. The girls dragged the corpses together. Found a huge alloy shield in Xiao Yun's backpack. Looks tough, but just a rare level. No skills. Can melt it for Tang Wei. Use it for Lin Bing's mission. Put it in the backpack. Luckily, Xiao Yun wasn't alert. He has to hold the shield. Ion might not succeed in sneaking attack. Xiao Boyu's backpack. Thousands of pounds of meat. 7 or 8 animal hides. Dense and tough. A good material for bedding and clothing. Basic supplies ran out. More than 3,000 sets of wood and stone. My backpack instantly filled up. More than 5,000 sets of wood. 4,000 sets of stone. Enough to expand 10 or so rooms. Plus herbs and strange fruits. Back home to identify with the guide. All weapons gathered. Outerwear on the ground stripped. Pretty thick. Wash clean for warmth or to sell. Suddenly 2 mud figures rushed out of the bushes. Shen Yuxue and her sister Shen Rubing. Wang could quickly help them up. The two were wrapped in thick coats. Covered in mud. Faces obscured. The older sister was still calm. The younger sister trembled like a startled rabbit. Shen Yuxue mustered her courage. Gave a deep bow. Thank you. If it weren't for you, we would definitely have been ruined by Xiao Yun. Her voice choked before she could finish. Shen Rubing heard this. Her body trembled again. She had been allergic to dirty things since childhood. She couldn't stand not taking a bath for 2 days. These days, trying to survive, not only couldn't she take a bath, but she also had to put mud on her face. This morning, she couldn't resist washing her face and accidentally encountered Xiao Yun, that beast. Leon brother. Shen Rubing timidly looked up, revealing clear yet fearful eyes. If you're willing to take me in, I can do any kind of work. I felt nothing in my heart. This time's plan succeeded. They have done an invaluable job. At least they're not ungrateful. No need to work like a slave. I wave my hand. This time we can resolve Xiao Boyu smoothly. You have the biggest contribution. Without your inside help, even if we win, we'll have casualties. Since you're joining, follow the rules. Tell me about your professions. Shen Yushue's spirits lifted. I'm a plant accelerator. I can accelerate plant growth. Helping plants mature allows them to level up. My sister is a poison immunity specialist. Born with immunity to toxins. Level 1, no skills. To level up, you need to consume 2 different types of toxins. Her voice got softer and softer. She looked at me nervously. Plant accelerator? Poison immunity specialist? I was stunned. How could 2 special professions be neglected? Shen Yuxue explained. Xiao Boyu thinks I'm useless in the early stages. My sister has no attack power at level 1, and she has to find toxins to eat. I understood. You can't farm in ice and snow. Plant accelerators are useless. Poison immunity specialists are even worse. That a level is just a whiteboard for immune toxins. In Xiao Boyu's eyes, these are 2 dead weights. Anyway, they can't escape. Use them later. But I don't think so. Spirit planters. Accelerate plant growth. The great cold winter is almost over. With the help of 6 farmers, we'll soon be able to eat wheat and rice. Thinking of steamed buns, my heart beats faster. A toxinator's toxin upgrade? I glanced at Ioni. She has a 1/3 chance to shoot a toxin arrow. This is a type of toxin. This witch, Joanna, can definitely create a lot of toxins. Shen Rubing will level up quickly here. The look I gave the 2 sisters changed. These aren't dead weights. These are 2 precious jade pieces. The 2 sisters joined smoothly. The 40th and 41st girls of the tribe. Chief, Gu Xinran suddenly asked. What about the remaining people in Xiao Boyu's tribe? The smiles on everyone's faces faded. Cut the grass and remove the roots. Everyone understands that I swept over the corpses on the snow-covered ground. My brow furrowed slightly. There must still be people in Xiao Boyu's main base. The main force was completely wiped out. But who knows if there are any loyalists who might stab in the back later. It's definitely not the right time to pursue now. Just finished fighting. Both physically and mentally exhausted. All skills are on cooldown. Lin Bing is still injured. Need to get back and deal with it quickly. Chief, can I say something? Shen Yuxue raised her hand timidly. Her voice was as soft as a mosquito's buzz. I nodded. Actually, most people in the tribe hate Xiao Boyu and Xiao Yun to death. Shen Yuxue gathered her courage. Her pace quickened. Those who are truly loyal to them. Besides today's people, there are only 3 or 4 men left in the camp, and 2 girls who were ruined by Xiao Yun, and even helped him commit evil. Evil. The rest live in fear every day. They just don't dare to resist. Gu Xinran listened. The fierce look on her face softened. In the end, we are all students. Just charge ahead like this. That doesn't seem right. She scratched her head. She had just wanted to eliminate all evil. Now she was thinking about harming peers. It was hard for her to get past that point. What if the chief takes them into the tribe? Shen Yuxue asked tentatively. No. The other girls immediately objected. They didn't want more men in the tribe. We won't recruit a large number of people for now, I decided. But my expression relaxed. I had already thought of a solution. Shen Yuxue, you contact the people from the original tribe. Tell them Xiao Boyu and his group were killed by us. But they must kill all of Xiao Boyu's close associates. I can lend them weapons if they need them. Afterward, They can elect a new chief or join another tribe. It's better than being exploited. If they refuse, I will attack personally. Then it won't just be a few people killed. Shin Yushua turned pale. Make her convince those people and have them kill with their own hands? I saw her idea. Do you think they dare to act? Shin Yushua nodded. Then they should act. My tone was frighteningly calm. They don't even have the courage to avenge themselves. People like that are a harm. Today they dare not resist Xiao Boyu. Tomorrow they won't dare resist others. The day after tomorrow they might become the next Xiao Boyu, a few girls thought. And I changed the subject. Weapons have to be paid back. If they dare to act, then there's still hope. Perhaps we can cooperate in the future. If not, then they've already been tamed. They're a hidden danger. Shin Yushua trembled all over. This isn't just clearing the remnants. It's a selection. Selecting people with spirit. Eliminating numb people. I understand. She took a deep breath. Her eyes were determined. I'll contact them now. She opened the chat interface. Shin Yushua, Xiao Boyu is dead. Xiao Yun is also dead. Everyone they brought is dead. The other side was silent for a few seconds. Li Wei. Is it true or not? Shin Yushua, I'm in the lion team, just finished killing. Don't believe me. I'll take a photo. She took a photo of Xiao Boyu's body and sent it over. Li Wei, wow. It's really Xiao Boyu. The beast is finally dead. Shin Yushua mentioned my request. Li Wei started to hesitate. Li Wei, but there's also Zhang Ming and others. They have weapons. We can't fight. Shin Yushua, Lion said they'll lend you weapons. If you don't dare to act, they'll personally lead people over. It won't just be a few people getting killed then. The other side was silent even longer. It replied after 2 minutes. Li Wei said she would discuss with others. Shin Yushua put down her phone and looked at me. Give them half an hour, I said. If there's no news, just go directly. Girls skillfully handle the corpses of 3 elite monsters. I opened the trading post. Under the harsh winter, food is life. The thousands of caddies of meat in my backpack are now the most valuable. I quickly filter the trading information. A line of text makes me pause for breath. Greenhouse Blueprint, 800 caddies of meat exchange publisher, Zhao Dahuang with this. Combined with Shin Yushua's spiritual plant cultivation skills. Vegetables can be eaten soon. I start haggling. I finally haggle it down to 400 caddies. Zhao Dahuang sends a message. The blueprint has been up for several days with no takers. He and a few brothers are injured and dare not go hunting. There are still a few high school students in the tribe. They are almost starving to death. My fingers freeze. Looking at Zhao Dahuang's honest face, I think of my parents. I delete 400. Change it to 600. Click send. Zhao Dahuang explodes. Brother, you sent too much. I'll refund you. No need. Live well. I closed the chat box. Chief, they replied. Shin Yushua's voice trembled. Li Wei, everyone agreed. Zhang Ming and his gang were drinking and didn't notice us. I sent AK-47s and a few knives. Forwarded to Shin Yushua. 5 minutes later. Li Wei, we killed them all. Zhang Qi and Jin Ling tried to strip and seduce, but we killed them. Thanks. Shin Yushua watched as her classmates were saved from suffering. Feeling relieved, Li Wei returned the weapons. Also sent photos of the corpses. I nodded in satisfaction. The remnants of Xiao Boyu's faction were completely eliminated. More importantly, indirectly controlled that tribe. Equivalent to setting up a sentry post 2 kilometers away. Go back. I led the team back. On the way, I kept thinking. Xiao Boyu was dead. The biggest threat was eliminated. Next, we could focus on building the tribe. Shin Yushua was a plant growth expert. Could accelerate plant growth. Shin Rubing was a poison healer. Requires consuming 2 toxins to upgrade. I remember the laxative fruit Gu Shinran mistakenly ate before. Gu Shinran, give me your fruit. The chief has constipation. Gu Shinran handed over 2. Don't eat too much. I had diarrhea all night. Your butt itches again? Gu Shinran quickly covered her butt and ran to the back of the line. I first had Shin Rubing eat the fruit. Then I had Ayani make a poisoned arrow. Shin Rubing did as I said. She licked the tip of the arrow. The next second, her little face was wrinkled. This is too bitter. But soon, her eyes suddenly shone. Upgraded. I got a new skill. Myriad toxins return. I raised my eyebrow. She immediately continued. Can store different types of toxins. And shoot them all at once. The more toxins stored, the greater the power. But for the next level, you need to gather 7 types of toxins first. I listened and had only one thought. This skill, the ceiling isn't low. As long as the toxins behind are comprehensive enough, her outburst will be very dramatic. We returned to the tribe. As soon as we entered, a group of girls surrounded us. Did Xiao Boyu die? How did Sister Lin get hurt like this? Quickly, let's help her inside. I waved my hand. The matter with Xiao Boyu has been resolved. Also, we brought back 2 new members. One is a spirit plant master. One is a poison healer. They are both special professions. As soon as this was said, a group of girls in the room had their eyes brightened. Special professions. Scarce anywhere. Welcome. Your family now. Xiao Na was even more direct. She went up and held the hands of the two sisters. Go wash up. Then change into clean clothes. The two sisters were moved to tears on the spot. Being able to take a bath. Being able to change clothes. For them now, it was almost like a dream. I didn't waste any words. I made the decision directly. Extra meal tonight. Take out all the captured meat. Let's celebrate properly. The moment the words were spoken, the entire cabin buzzed with activity. Those who needed to boil water started boiling water. Those who needed to cook began cooking. Everyone moved swiftly. I took this opportunity to chat with Su Qingmei about the weapon smuggling business. Once the matter was settled, a prompt popped up on the system side. On the system side, I glanced at it, and my entire demeanor became energetic. New profession. It had arrived. Profession, Lightning Mage, level 1. Seeing these words, a single word popped into my mind. Awesome. Finally, I have a ranged ability. My melee is already strong enough. What I lack the most is stable ranged output. With this profession here, my weakness is directly addressed. I continued to read further. 99% lightning immunity. The moment this appeared, I couldn't help but smile. From now on, if I ever encountered lightning-based monsters, I'd basically be invincible. Moving further down. Skill, Lightning Bolt. Concentrate electrical arcs at your fingertips to fire. Includes paralyzing and burning effects. Cooldown, 10 minutes. Upgrade condition. Defeat 10 units above normal level. I spread my right hand. The next second, zap, a blue electrical arc directly formed in my palm. The cabin instantly lit up. Many people looked up. I walked to the door, flicked my hand. Bang! The electric ball hit the snow instantly, creating a small black crater. Still smoking. I narrowed my eyes. The power isn't particularly impressive, but the point isn't the damage. The point is the numbness. And fast. Very fast. Almost there with a flick of the hand. 10-minute cooldown. Not long either. The upgrade condition is simple. This is quite comfortable. Looks like there's something to do in the afternoon. I've already decided. Take people out to grind. First, get the Lightning Mage to level 2. Soon. Lunchtime arrived. Honestly, this meal, it's a bit too extravagant. Most of the meat from the three-headed elite monster was sold by Su Qingmei. She exchanged it for quite a few weapons and ammunition. But we also kept a lot for ourselves. 1,000 caddies of unicorn meat. 1,000 caddies of spiny tail beast meat. And 3 elite magic crystals. As for the white ape, it was all sold. Humanoid creatures are indeed too tough for anyone to bite into. The table was soon filled with meat. The roasted unicorn meat was crispy and greasy. The spiny tail beast meat was made into sashimi. The texture was completely different. One was chewy, and the other was both fresh and springy. Even more incredible was that the 2 girls in our group who were in charge of cooking had both leveled up. One unlocked Sichuan cuisine mastery, and the other unlocked Cantonese cuisine mastery. Looking at the full table of food, I couldn't help but sigh. The tribe's rations had literally ascended. There was even alcohol on the table. Yulu drew 3 more 36 bottle packs of cola today. I thought for a moment and directly approved. Half a cup for everyone today. Celebrating a great victory. The words barely left his lips. Cheers erupted in the room. The aroma of meat. The scent of wine. The warmth. The entire log cabin was filled with warmth. Shen Yuxue and Shun Rubing, the 2 sisters, had barely eaten a few mouthfuls when tears streamed down their faces. I used to eat moldy bread with my sister at Xiao Boya's. We only ate moldy bread. Shen Rubing still had meat in her mouth as tears fell drop by drop. Shen Yushue's eyes also grew red. She kept adding food to her sister's plate. Xiao Na felt heartbroken. She gently tapped me with her arm. The 2 of them are too thin. They need to eat more in the future. I looked up. The sisters had already changed into clean clothes. Shen Yuxue, the older sister, was tall and had a quiet demeanor. But it was obvious she had been malnourished for a long time. Her face was still yellow. Shen Rubing, the younger sister, was even more striking. She was clearly an adult, looking still small. Extremely thin. I casually picked up a large piece of meat and put it in her bowl. From now on, this will be your home. Eat as much as you want. No one will dare to bully you anymore. Shen Rubing looked up at me immediately, nodding frantically. Her eyes even turned red. I casually glanced at the affinity. Shen Yuxue, 70, Shun Rubing, 75, it's okay. After the meal, I clapped my hands. Are you all done eating? We're done. The group of girls responded in unison. I didn't waste any time. I directly took out 17 colorful divine fruits. With a rustle, they were all poured onto the ground. The colorful fruits rolled all over the floor. The room immediately fell silent. Everyone stared at the ground. Their breathing even lightened. This thing, the World Channel had already gone crazy. Everyone knew. It could refresh professions. Truly a rare item. But now, I directly poured it all out, like pouring beans. The effect of the rainbow divine fruit. You should have all heard of it. I scanned the crowd. It can reset your profession. Now, who wants it? Come get it yourself. Several girls gasped in shock. But I quickly added, don't get excited yet. If you eat the fruit, you have to accept the consequences. Lifestyle profession reset to combat profession. From now on, you'll be like Wang Ku and the others, charging forward. Combat profession reset to lifestyle profession. From now on, you'll just have to stick to logistics. The opportunity is here. Choose or not. You decide. I paused. My voice turned cold. But there's one thing. If anyone holds a combat profession but dares not fight, or holds a lifestyle profession and still shirks all the time, I'll kick them out directly. I scanned everyone. One last question. Who? The log cabin fell silent. Only the crackling of firewood could be heard. Those girls with life occupations. Almost all lowered their heads. After all, chopping trees and mining are tiring. But it's better than going out to fight monsters. But at this moment, Wonka stood up first. Chief, I'll come. She didn't hesitate at all. Directly walked to my face. I wasn't surprised at all. This girl had been eyeing this fruit. She wanted to get stronger. And it was a very obvious want. We're willing to. The other 3 girls with hunter occupations also stood up. I smiled. Gave each of them one. Soon, Wang Lin also pushed his way out from behind. Chief, I want to try too. I don't want to only know how to farm for my whole life. As soon as this was said, the atmosphere was immediately energized. That's right. 2 more girls stood up. 1 farmer. 1 miner. We don't want to be protected forever either. We also want to fight. Even Xiao Yi stood up. I glanced at her. Are you sure? Physicians are important. She pushed her glasses up and spoke seriously. I've always wanted to learn martial arts since I was young. More than saving people. Actually, I just wanted to fight people. As soon as she said this, everyone in the room laughed. I didn't stop them anymore. I gave the fruits to them. 9 people, 1 fruit each. Their hands holding the fruits were trembling. It was a lie to say they weren't nervous. The fruits melted in their mouths the moment they entered. The next second, a burst of rainbow light suddenly erupted from Wang Ku. Her whole body was like being wrapped in a glowing cocoon. The light lasted for about 10 seconds before gradually fading. Right after that, she was completely excited. Excited. My profession has changed. Monster Hunter. With a thought, the original axe directly transformed into a huge warhammer. Wow, Gu Xinran's eyes lit up instantly. Wang Ku, you're so cool. The other 3 female hunters also completed their refreshes one after another. Chief. Leah's voice trembled with excitement. I'm a jungle hunter. Only 2 girls left. They were actually the same profession too. I watched this scene. I had a pretty good idea. Profession refresh. Indeed, it had a certain correlation with the original profession. Hunter class to grind. Most likely still the agile route. But the branches would be more refined. Like Wang Ku, he clearly prefers direct combat. Meanwhile, Leah and the others are better suited for stealth, reconnaissance, and guerrilla tactics. This made me satisfied. A combat team couldn't be all the same template. The richer the profession, the better the coordination. I looked at the remaining life professions again. Except for Lu Xiaoyi, the other 3 were also finished. The biggest change was with the miner Gung Rue. She was already strong originally. She was even more exaggerated after the refresh. Her leather armor was almost bursting from her muscles. She had grown a full size. New profession. Knight. A standard melee profession. Weapon is a short spear, not weak in power or defense. But the farmer Lu Shi and Wang Lin both transformed into archer. Although it's just an ordinary combat profession, for them who originally had no combat ability, it's already a great surprise. Finally, I looked at Lu Xiaoyi. She was the one who wanted to fight the most just now. But after the light faded, she was completely deflated. Chieftain, I turned into a priest. Why is it still a support profession? She looked utterly hopeless. I had to comfort her. Priests are more inclined towards mages. Maybe there will be attack skills at a higher level. The Rainbow Divine Fruit can only refresh professions, not Dingsheng refresh. There's no way. The few girls rushed to comfort Lu Xiaoyi. After the disappointment, they could only accept. Chieftain, thank you for giving us the Rainbow Divine Fruit. Gung Rue and the others said gratefully, their voices trembling. From a lifestyle player who could only mine and farm, they suddenly became combat personnel. This change made them grateful to me to the utmost. You're welcome. I waved my hand. This is what you fought for. Remember what I said today. In the future, you will also follow us when hunting. Yes. The 3 replied in unison. I looked at the remaining 9 colorful divine fruits. Decided to store them away first. This is strategic material. Maybe it will be very useful in the future. Looked out the window. The sun had risen higher. The temperature was a bit higher than in the morning. Time to level up the new profession. Wang Ku Ioni. Leah Lu Shi. I called each name one by one. Divided all combat professions into several small teams. Ioni led the archers Lu Shi and Wang Lin, responsible for ranged attacks. I personally led the melee team. Members are the monster slayer Wang Ku, 3 jungle hunters, and knight Gung Rue, Gu Xinran, Yu Lu, Shen Rubing, and Lu Xiaoxi who wanted to fight, but became a priest. Assigned to the logistics support team. Pack up everyone. Let's get going. The team, consisting of 8 early morning expedition members, were still wrapped in thick bear fur coats. The newly joined girls, however, looked slender. They wore thick clothes seized from Xiao Boyu's camp, with rough animal pelts draped over them, barely resisting the cold. Today's destination was the southern forest. Unlike the primitive dense forest in the northwest where they were logging, this area had much fewer trees. Before the severe winter, it had been a paradise for wildlife. Now, except for snow, there were only withered branches, a scene of death. I wasn't sure if there would still be any wildlife here under the extreme cold. The team walked for nearly half an hour, going at least 2 kilometers deep. I raised my hand, and the team stopped instantly. 100 meters ahead, on the snow that hadn't fully frozen, a group of life signs appeared. They were over a dozen gazelles. They frantically pawed at the hard snow crust with their front hooves, trying to dig out the grass roots beneath. I'd heard about these creatures mentioned in the World Channel. Their speed was astonishing. Even agile class abilities couldn't keep up with them in a direct chase. They could only trail behind and get covered in snow. Only ranged attacks could effectively threaten them. My gaze swept over the alert gazelles, then returned to the group. I lowered my body and signaled to Ian and the others. The group immediately stopped. The ranged squad moved silently to the front. I half-crouched on the ground. My right palm spread open. Dangerous blue arcs of electricity began to gather and jump. Zzz. The faint sound of electricity, almost inaudible in the wind and snow. The gazelles clearly detected the intruder. Several sentinels lifted their heads. Their black eyes watched this side warily. But they didn't flee immediately, perhaps the experiences of this time. Let them look down on humans. They have seen too much. Even the snow dust raised could not keep up with humans. Let alone, under the snow layer that was painstakingly cleared, is the food that sustains their lives. They are unwilling to give up easily. Right now, a cold glint flashed in my eyes. I took the lead. With a flick of my finger, the thunderball in my palm was released. The blue lightning did not make any sound of breaking the air, but the speed was extreme, leaving a trail of afterimages in the air. Boom. The thunderball hit the gazelle. The gazelle froze. Its hair stood on end. It convulsed and fell to the ground. The afterglow of the lightning struck 2 companions. They let out a mournful cry and fell limp to the snow. The flock panicked and leaped up, turning around and running frantically. Shoot arrows. Ion shouted. Whiz, 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 whiz. 4 arrows chased the flock. 3 hit. Ionia hit both arrows. The rookie Lucier nervously hit the belly of a sheep. The gazelle screamed and fell to the ground, struggling in the snow. Wanglin's arrow missed. It went into the snow pile. Her face flushed as she lowered her head. Sorry, I didn't hit. Ionia patted her shoulder. It's normal to miss the moving target the first time. Your stance is fine, you just lack experience. I'll take you all for practice when the winter passes. I didn't mind. It was training anyway. The melee group handle it. Wang Ku, Gung Rui, and 3 hunters rushed forward. Swings of blades. Terminating the prey. Skilled butchering. Packing into backpacks. Ion let Lucier and Wang Lin finish the kills. Killing ordinary beasts was useless for her level up. Same for me. Lei Fa just needed to mix dugong. First hunt was a complete victory. Newcomer's confidence soared. Wang Lin gripped her longbow. Next time I'll hit. Next time I'll hit. Gung Rui held her short spear. Not enough. Chief. Next time find one thick-skinned and slow. Let me stab a few times. I laughed. Don't hurry. Wishes will come true soon. Just as I said that, smiles froze. Sense of danger exploded. Within the blood domain perception, 10 or so powerful signals, rushing fiercely from the southern dense forest. What's wrong? Prepare for battle. I growled. Something's coming a lot. The girls gripped their weapons. Back to back forming a defensive circle, the snow forest is silent. Dark shadows dart out. Brown spots. Long fur on the cheeks. Vertical cold eyes. About a dozen giant beasts surround us. It's a wildcat. Wongku's face turns grim. No, wildcats are solitary. How could they gather? I stare at the back of the herd. That wildcat is 3 meters tall. Like a tiger. Emitting a sense of oppression. I bring up the guide to take a look. Mutated wildcat ability. Stealth state. Fur armor. Description. Colonial predator. Kill the mother. The pack collapses. Mutated wildcat king. Elite level. Ability. Stealth state. Fur armor. Howl enhancement. Description. The mother of the pack. Howl strengthens all offspring. So the little ones are all its cubs. My heart skips a beat. This is a family centered around the mother beast. Stealth raids turned them into shadow hunters. But they were starving mad. Couldn't care less anymore. I chose to go heathen. The lynx pack was furious. Their vertical pupils locked onto us. Low growls of threat from their throats. Melee group, move up. 5 newly promoted girls stood with me at the outer circle. Keep the ranged and support covered. Don't let them charge in. Yes. The 6 of us instantly formed up. I was in the center. On either side were Wang Ku with their horse-slaying swords, and Gung Rui holding their shields. 3 jungle hunters moved among them. Roar. The mother lynx let out a howl. The sound was like a drill to the head. Fierce malice eroded willpower, making one feel weak at the knees. The surrounding lynx's eyes turned red. Their bodies swelled. Completely feral. A crisp flute sound echoed from behind. It was Yulu and Gu Xinran. The flute sound was like clear spring water washing away the chaos. It negated the howling's effect. Everyone's spirits lifted. A dozen brownish lightning bolts rushed over. A foul wind hit them in the face. Disperse. Fight separately. Don't let them find an opening. I roared, charging towards the two wolves. Clang. My spear struck the wolf's forehead. A dull metallic sound. The skull was incredibly hard. Not one kill with a single strike. But the blood warrior's strength was fierce. The wolf was sent reeling. The other one seized the chance to rush in. It tore a bloody gash on my arm. I swung back and sliced its throat. Fresh blood gushed out, staining the snow. Wang Ke wielded his horse sword with great skill, forcing the wolves to retreat repeatedly. How much strength is that? Just scratching the itch? Gung Rueduan knocked away one. A short weapon pierced the eye socket of another. 3 jungle hunters helped cover the blind spots. 6 people formed an impregnable defense. The archer squad of Ioni in the rear kept providing support. The pressure was greatly reduced. Although they were all wounded, it didn't affect the battle. The number of lynxes decreased rapidly. The mother lynx king couldn't sit still, seeing her children lying in the blood. Panic flashed in her eyes. The next second, her huge body turned into a blur, rushing straight towards me. Catch the bandit first, are we? Chief, be careful. Wang Ku and Gung Rue were entangled, unable to break free. At the critical moment, Ioni fired 3 arrows at once. Shen Rubing spread her small hands. A black ball gathered in her palm. Threw it with all her might. There was no panic on my face, always waiting for this guy to come knocking. Slowly lifting my left hand. Blue lightning gathers in the palm. The electric ball slips from my hand. Strike first, meet later. Ioni's rapid arrows follow closely. Shen Rubing's black ball arrives too. Puff. The electric ball hits first. The Lynx King's body stiffens. First stands on end. Lightning arcs surge wildly. The killing intent instantly dissipates. It crashes heavily into the snow. 3 arrows land precisely. The black ball explodes too. Arrows rip through the fur. The venom turns the wounds black and rotting. The black ball explodes into black mist, covering the Lynx King's head. The howl becomes even more desperate. Now's the time. Blood burst slash. I leap high. A crimson blade glow traces a shocking arc savage strike. Puff. Blood and internal organs flew into the air. The mother Lynx King was cut in half. The mother beast fell down. The remaining 5 or 6 collapsed instantly. They turned around and ran. Leave none alive. Go. I waved my hand. A few new female combat professions rushed out. I didn't strike again. These ordinary lynxes were left for them to practice on. The dying elite Lynx King was given to Iona. Upgrading was important. A major crisis is coming tomorrow. Enhancing the team's overall strength is the key. The battle ended. The girls collapsed in the snow, panting heavily. If it weren't for the bodies all over the ground, the fierce battle would seem like a dream. Come here. I'll heal you. Priest Lu Xiaoyi pushed her glasses. The wounded sat in a circle, leaning back to back. Lu Xiaoyi shook her head. No. You need to be closer together. I have limited skills. Then let's hug. After Wang said that, he hugged my waist from behind. Night Gung Rue directly took my arm, leaned against me. The other 3 girls also imitated one after another. Surround me in the middle. Tight and solid. I am stiff all over. Too scared to move. What's going on? A golden halo envelopes everyone. Warm energy flows. Wounds heal rapidly. It's so unfair. Gu Xinran shouted beside me. Chief, I'm hurt emotionally. I need a hug to heal. Yula licked his lips. Flirting with me. All of you, be serious. Ioni kicked one person with her foot. After resting, we continued on our way. The bloody smell attracted wave after wave of beasts. They were easily dealt with. The sunset descended. The sky turned dark red. 2 elite-level tigers ambushed us. They had been tracking us for a long time. Attacked only when we were exhausted. They were counter-killed. But I was also hit by the tiger's claws on my back. Even through my battle armor, I was shaken so hard my vital energy surged. I can't go on. I can't even lift the gun anymore. Gung Rue collapsed onto the snow. Everyone huddled together again to receive treatment. Lu Xiaoyi fainted after being treated. Drained. Not a drop left. It was completely dark. The wind and snow raged. Temperature dropped rapidly. The disaster of the cold front tomorrow. This is just the beginning. Damn it. We wasted time. My heart sank. The wind and snow were so fierce that it was hard to stand. Voices were instantly swallowed up. I sent a message in the group chat. Everyone hold hands. Don't let go. Ion, lead the way. The way. Ion replied. Roger that. I remember the markers from the way here. Stay close to me. The team moved quickly. Wang Ku was at the forefront. She held the alloy shield from Xiao Yun's back, braving the wind and snow. Her cold hands tightly held Ion. Ion pulled Gu Xinran. Everyone formed a chain of life in the white world. Yu Lu, Lu Xiaoyi, and Shun Rubing were at the rear. 3 petite girls. I held Shun Rubing's hand, staying at the back to guard. The wind and snow obscured the view. The world was left only in a chaotic white. The only sense was the pull from my companion's hand through my palm. After walking for an unknown amount of time, my limbs were numb. My consciousness was hazy. At that moment, the group chat rang. I&E, we're just a few hundred meters from home. Like a stimulant injected into a frozen heart. We're almost there. Come on, someone roared. Everyone gritted their teeth and moved. After about 10 minutes, the light of the tribal fire pierced through the wind and snow. Captain, the elders have returned. Su Qingmei screamed. Xiao Na and Yi Shiner rushed out, draped in animal pelts. Everyone rushed to the fire, trembling violently. Where's Rubing? Where's my sister? Shin Yushua's voice cracked. The rear was empty. Shin Yushua fell to the snow. I shifted to the side. Put down Shin Rubing on my back. Sister, I fainted. The chief will carry me back. Shin Yushua hugged her sister, kowtowed to me repeatedly. I saw the pregnant Joanna, frowned and pulled her inside. It's windy outside, quickly come in. The stone gate shut with a bang. The world instantly fell silent. Ice and snow melted. The wet clothes stuck to my body, freezing to death. Quickly take off the wet clothes. Teacher Xiao Chun brought over hot soup. The girls looked at me. I took off the battle armor in 3 seconds. Left only shorts. Moved closer to the fire. The smooth muscle line stood out under the firelight. Gu Xinran, Yu Lu, Wang Ku, and Ayani exchanged glances. They also took off their clothes. Covering their chests, they moved closer. Oh, you guys. Teacher Xiaoqin couldn't help but laugh. Xiner, get the blanket. A huge animal skin blanket was brought. Yi Shiner Chaona wrapped me and 4 girls like a sushi roll. With coverage. The remaining girls also took off their clothes and squeezed in. Gung Rui was the first, revealing her fitness physique. A dozen people squeezed under the blanket. Skin pressed tightly. The scent of the girls mixed with the wood smoke hung in the air. This scene, finally warm, Gung Rui said. Wang Ke, don't leg drum me. Hate being crowded? I'll kick you out. Wang Ke retorted while grabbing Gung Rui's. Oh crap. Chieftain, Yulu puffed breath like orchids near my ear. How does it feel to have so many sisters warming you? Aoni harshly pinched her soft waist. Everyone teased and drank ginger tea. The chill faded. I leaned against the human pillow, feeling the warmth after surviving. Coming to my senses, I brought up the profession panel. I leveled up to level 2 Lightning Mage. The system popped up 3 skill options. First, Chain Lightning. After hitting a target, all creatures within 1.5 meters are electrocuted. It can continue to chain. Thinking of today's Lynx pack, an idea sparked. If I had this skill, 1 lightning ball could paralyze a dozen lynxes. Easy to solve. Second, Lightning Storm Bomb. Place an invisible bomb at a designated location. The longer it waits, the more powerful it becomes. Up to a maximum of 12 hours. Can place up to 4 at once. This looks like a dead end. It only explodes when the enemy steps on it. Third, Flash Disrupt. Counter Control. Immune to all damage within 1.5 seconds. Leaves lightning trails to paralyze enemies while moving. I held my breath. Counter Control, Invulnerability, and Reverse Control. All in one. Can save lives in critical moments. Even turn the tide. But tomorrow the clan will face an unknown giant beast that I originally wanted a long-range, high-damage skill to deal with powerful enemies. None of these 3 fit the bill. Should I refresh? I checked my backpack. 9 elite magic crystals. Over 50 ordinary magic crystals. Calculating, I can refresh at most twice.